As long as you cripple your cultivation, I will definitely forgive you for stealing my foundation establishment pill, Cairo Annan said earnestly, as if she were shouldering the entire burden alone. Junior sister is so kind. She even chose to forgive that demoness after losing her foundation establishment pill. Having such a kind junior sister is truly a blessing I must have accumulated over 3 lifetimes. It is truly a blessing for our Yunshin sect to have a junior sister join us. To have met such a kind and lovely junior sister, I have no regrets in this life. Compared to our senior sister, who is already at the mid-nascent soul stage, she still covets junior sister's foundation establishment pill. She is a beast in human form and a disgrace to our generation. We're better off without this kind of senior sister. Under the combined influence of the brain-degrading aura and the abstract setting, the disciples of Tian Yunshin all spoke up for their junior sister, Cairo Annan. His words were filled with disgust for Chu Yangtze. Defying the heavens, he. The NPCs in this level are really disgusting. 2 traitors, a sinister lackey, a betrayer of humanity, disgusting, The audience was truly speechless at Lu Exing and Cairo Annan's actions. The way to pass the level is to find irrefutable evidence to bring down the senior sister. They didn't even bother to investigate. They just went ahead and framed Chu Yangtze with the ugly NPCs. They're not even as good as those foreigners. Seeing this scene in the live stream, the elders of the great Xia dynasty grew even colder. Old Master Lu felt his scalp tingle. This grandson was a real bastard. Chu Yangtze had swept away the strange things in Daxia and was riding high. This bastard actually framed Chu Yangtze in front of the whole world. He was really pushing the Lu family to the brink of disaster. He's utterly useless, good for nothing, a complete waste, Lu Guan roared inwardly. Chu Yangtze, the tens of thousands of cultivators in my Yunshin sect are full of pride. Even if they perish, they will not bow down to you, you female demon. Senior brother Lin Dong is right. If we all rush at her, the female demon might not be able to kill us all. She devil, accept the judgment of justice. Chu Yangtze sighed softly, her eyes gleaming with excitement. In that case, fellow Taoists, please join my human emperor's banner. Chu Yangtze lightly raised her jade hand, and in an instant, the human emperor banner shone with a brilliant light. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Symbol 335, Chapter 137. The 2 main characters die and the ultimate mission appears. A mysterious and profound black light suddenly enveloped the entire Yunshin sect. In just an instant, tens of thousands of ants were wiped out and turned into nourishment for the human emperor flag. The mystical light of the human emperor's banner became even more dazzling, and its level instantly jumped 2.5 ranks, becoming a true low-grade spiritual treasure. The host has killed 11,036 low-level monsters from the Tianyun sect, gaining a total of 3,123,100 villain points. The first elder's eyes reddened with rage as he glared at Chu Yangtze and shouted, Chu Yangtze, what are you doing? They are your junior brothers, junior sisters, senior uncles, and senior aunts. His voice was filled with anger and resentment. I know, Elder, don't you often remind your disciples to think more about their fellow disciples? Now that I've arranged for them to stay by my side with my main spirit treasure, I certainly haven't let them down. Chu Yangtze looked at the elder with her cute big eyes and winked playfully. By the way, Elder, I see your lifespan is nearing its end. Why not join my human emperor banner? Firstly, you can spend your remaining years in peace, and secondly, if I encounter danger while traveling, Elder can also do your part to help me and bring glory to the sect. Chu Yangtze sincerely extended the invitation. The Grand Elder trembled with rage. Beast, you beast! My Tianyun sect has been established for over 1,000 years, and I never expected to produce such a traitorous scoundrel as you. Human Emperor's banner, go! Chu Yangtze's expression turned cold. The human emperor flag, hovering high in the sky, unleashed its divine power. The next second, the Grand Elder successfully joined the human emperor flag, contributing his meager strength to Chu Yangtze's cultivation. The host has killed the level 7 bizarre creature, the Grand Elder of the Tianyun sect, and gained 150,000 villain points. The third elder shielded Cairo Annan behind him, looking at Chu Yangtze with a serious expression. Chu Yangtze, haven't you caused enough trouble? The human emperor flag emitted a dark divine light, and the third elder was gone too. The host has killed the level 6 bizarre creature, the third elder of the Yunshin sect, and gained 100,000 villain points. Looking at Chu Yan, whose personality had changed drastically, the remaining people in the hall, strangely, finally felt fear. They never imagined that their senior sister, who had always been gentle, kind, and patient, would be so ruthless and merciless in killing her fellow disciples. Some of the more timid disciples were so frightened that they collapsed to the ground, trembling all over, and didn't even have the courage to run away. Other, more courageous disciples hurriedly fled the main hall, but as soon as they stepped out, they were blasted into black mist by the powerful mystic might emanating from the human emperor's banner, and completely refined. The entire hall was filled with an aura of death, which sent chills down one's spine. The sect leader watched this scene in silence. Compared to other strange entities, the sect leader clearly knew what he was. The more than 11,100 cultivators of the Yunchen sect were all transformed from the strange and corrupted. The real Yunchen sect cultivators had all perished in the battle against the strange and ominous. The main hall, the sect, and even more than 80% of the living beings on this cultivation planet are all strange combinations of the original corpses that were transformed in their previous lives. However, these low-level anomalies are unaware that they are anomalies, and their memories remain outside the world that has been invaded. Sect Master, what do you think? Chu Yangxi's divine sense locked onto the strongest anomaly in this instance. Chu Yangxi, what exactly do you want to do? The eerie sect leader stared at Chu Yangxi with a livid face. The mysterious sect leader knew that this matter could not be resolved peacefully. Nothing much, I just wanted to know what the highest level of strange creatures is, Chu Yangxi commanded calmly. You don't even know this. The mysterious sect leader looked at Chu Yangxi in confusion. Chu Yangxi knew, of course, she was just asking for fun. The mysterious sect leader had initially thought this woman was a vassal cultivated by that giant, but now it seemed that this crazy woman was just a clueless idiot. It was just luck that he obtained the relics arranged by that great man, and thus accidentally gained this strength. Thinking of all this, the strange sect leader couldn't help but feel a kind of emotion called jealousy. Since you want to know, I might as well tell you. The strange world is mainly composed of this cultivation planet, with the ordinary world as its subordinate. Based on strength, it is divided into 4 tiers and 12 levels, corresponding to the 4 major realms of Qi refining, foundation establishment, golden core, and nascent soul on this planet. The highest level, level 12, is equivalent to the late nascent soul stage. However, at the same level, a strange being is weaker than a cultivator. The sect master of the strange beings honestly stated the information he knew. Chu Yangxi nodded, and with a gentle flick of her jade hand, she captured the eerie sect leader instantly and began soul-searching. A second later, Chu Yangxi slapped her jade hand hard, and the strange sect leader died on the spot. His strange soul was refined into the human emperor flag. What the sect master of the mysterious sect just said is true. The mysterious sect is divided into 4 tiers and 12 levels, which correspond to the 4 major realms of this cultivation planet. However, the 4 tiers of the strange creatures are 1 level lower than the cultivation realm, and their actual combat strength is much weaker than that of cultivators of the same level. However, the strange soul is very special and extremely difficult to kill. If scattered, it will quickly condense and recover. This is truly an excellent material for refining 10,000 ghosts. No, it's an excellent material for refining the human emperor's banner. Having grasped part of the truth about the strange world, Chu Yangxi activated the human emperor flag without hesitation. Endless divine power surged, and the strangeness in the entire hall was instantly destroyed. Cairo Annan was also killed in the process. Ding, host has slain the Lady of Destiny, Cairo Annan. Main quest completed 1-3. Received Slaying Gift Pack X1. What, Cairo Annan is dead? Chu Yangxi was instantly dumbfounded. Wasn't it said that Cairo Annan could resurrect infinitely in the supernatural world? How could she just die like this? What's with the main quest 1-3? Besides Cairo Annan and Lu Exing, there's also a protagonist with destiny. Ding, host, Cairo Annan's luck halo has shattered. Her cheat ability of infinite resurrection has disappeared, and she can no longer be resurrected. Upon hearing her system's explanation, Chu Yangxi immediately recalled the system's reminder during the 7 days she returned to reality. Cairo Annan, the Lady of Destiny, has seen her luck value drop to below 1/10 of her total luck, reaching the perfect kill threshold. Please kill her as soon as possible. Cairo Annan, the Lady of Destiny, has reached 0 in luck value, reaching the perfect kill threshold. Please kill her as soon as possible to prevent future troubles. Lu Exing, the Chosen One of Destiny, has seen his luck value drop to less than 1/10 of his total luck, reaching the perfect kill threshold. Please kill him as soon as possible. Recalling the system's previous reminder, Chu Yangxi immediately understood. It's only natural that the luck value is reset to 0, the luck halo is shattered, and the golden finger disappears. Chu Yangtze hadn't considered this point beforehand, and wanted to keep Kyo Anon around for the time being to hunt down the strange creatures and earn villain points to increase her strength. The chosen one you are watching has died. The live stream will redirect automatically in 10 seconds. The viewers who were still insulting Kyo Anon were startled by the sudden death notice. What? Kyo Anon is dead. Isn't she capable of being resurrected? How could he have died so suddenly? Countless viewers were filled with doubt, completely unable to understand why Kyo Anon would suddenly die in front of them. Could it be that there's a limit to the number of times Kyo Anon can be resurrected? This question lingered in everyone's minds. In that case, it makes sense that Kyo Anon was accidentally killed by Chu Yangtze. Chu Yangtze knew that Kyo Anon could be resurrected, but she didn't know that Kyo Anon's resurrection times were limited. She wanted to kill Kyo Anon a few times to vent her anger, but she didn't expect Kyo Anon to be uncooperative and die directly. Once they deduced the truth behind Kyo Anon's death, everyone felt relieved. Kyo Anon brought this upon herself. Kyo Anon wanted to use the supernatural to kill Chu Yangtze, and Chu Yangtze sought revenge on the spot, which was understandable. If a guy who can resurrect wants to kill you, anyone would choose to kill him a few times to vent their emotions. Unfortunately, Kyo Anon was unlucky. She used up all her resurrection attempts and failed to revive. Chu Yangtze didn't think as much as the audience did. Killing Kyo Anon was inevitable, and Chu Yangtze didn't care what others thought of her at all. As a nascent soul heavenly lord, she cultivated both body and magic, and no weapon on Azure Star could harm her in the slightest. If anyone is ungrateful, Chu Yangtze will use force to show them what truth is. Even a clay bodhisattva has some fire left, let alone a nascent soul cultivator. Ah, Chu Yangtze, you killed Anon, you demon isle. Bang! Before Lu Xing could finish his harsh words, he suddenly exploded into a cloud of blood mist. Ding, the host has slain Lu Xing, the chosen one of destiny, and obtained all of Lu Xing's remaining destiny points, totaling 13,000. The host has also obtained 130,000 villain points. Ding, host has slain Lu Xing, the chosen one of destiny. Main quest completed 2-3. Received Slaying Gift Pack X1. Ultimate Main Mission. Eliminate the remaining Eerie Power. Time Infinite. Mission Reward. Immortal Combat Power. P.S. Happy National Day, everyone. Chapter 130 ate a side story of the world of rules and strange tales. Chu Yangtze's chapter. A brief explanation. Nightmare Level Ultimate Dungeon T0 Junior Sisters Frame-Up of the Administrator. Dungeon cleared. All surviving chosen ones cleared. Everyone returns to reality in 3 minutes. After Lu Xing also died, Chen Zhou calmly released a new announcement for the live broadcast room. 3 minutes later, all the chosen ones were kicked out of the bizarre world by Chen Zhou, and the rules of the strange world live stream was permanently shut down. After returning home, Chu Yangtze spent a month with her family, clearing out the strange creatures from all over the world. After a brief farewell to her family, Chu Yangtze returned to the ravaged and bizarre world. Her mission was to eliminate the remaining strange creatures. Upon learning that Chu Yangtze was leaving, Chu Xingyun cried his heart out, but he didn't cling to her leg to stop her from leaving. Chu Xingyun knew that this was an opportunity for his sister, and he couldn't stop it. The Chu family knew this, and could only hold back their tears and tell Chu Yangtze to take care of herself and come home to visit if possible, as the Chu family would always be her home. Chu Yangtze wiped away her tears as she said goodbye to her family, promising that she would definitely come back to visit again if she had the chance. After saying goodbye to her family, Chu Yangtze tore through the void and, through system teleportation, returned once again to that ravaged world. The day Chu Yangtze left became a New World Peace Day. After Chu Yangtze left, the world slowly returned to normal. Chu Xingyun studied diligently in Lingnan, moving step by step towards becoming a qualified family heir. 5 years after Chu Yangtze left, Chu Xingyun married a woman from a scholarly family in Nanling. 7 years after Chu Yangtze left, Chu Xingyun's first child was born, a daughter. 8 years after Chu Yangtze left, Chu Xingyun became the head of the Chu family. 9.5 years after Chu Yangtze left, Chu Xingyun's second child was born, a girl. 11.5 years after Chu Yangtze left, thanks to Chu Xingyun's hard work, his third child, a boy, was born. 20th year after Chu Yangtze's departure, people seem to have forgotten the horror of 20 years ago. But global history has not forgotten Chu Yangxi's great contributions to mankind. Everyone who reads must learn about the deeds of Chu Yangxi, the savior of the human race, and participate in prayer ceremonies on World Peace Day. Chu Yangxi was mythologized and became a new mythical celestial ruler. Some religions even created legends about Chu Yangxi descending to the mortal realm to undergo tribulations and save the world. Because of the trend, many people really believe in these myths and legends. After all, the video of Chu Yangxi breaking through the void 20 years ago is a real recording that is played every year. With the official leadership, no one doubted this fact. The story of Heavenly Lord Chu Yangxi returning to the immortal realm after saving the world has become deeply ingrained in people's minds. Chu Yangxi returned twice during this period, but only secretly spent time with her family and did not appear in the public eye. The last time she returned was when Chu Yangxi completed the mission to eliminate the strange entities. After that, Chu Yangxi went to various realms to carry out missions and never returned. Senior Chen Zhou, I've extracted the essence of the live stream. The quick transmigration system, Xiao Qi, dragged a bunch of essences to Chen Zhou in a silly manner. Chen Zhou patted Xiao Qi's adorable pink pig head and nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. This is what a junior should do. The wild system Xiao Qi nodded shyly. It turns out that before leaving, Feng Ziyu came to find Chen Zhou and entrusted the wild system Xiao Qi to him. She also told Xiao Qi that Chen Zhou was a system of the Time and Space Administration Bureau and a friend of hers, and that he could recommend Xiao Qi to join the Time and Space Administration Bureau. Following his pre-planned words, Chen Zhou told Xiao Qi that he did indeed have a recommendation quota, but the assessment task had to be completed. At first, Xiao Qi hesitated and didn't want to be separated from Feng Ziyu. With Feng Ziyu's encouragement, Xiao Qi finally chose to pursue his dream and become a member of the Time and Space Administration's Quick Transmigration Department. After arranging things for the system Xiao Qi, Feng Ziyu left this vast world. As for where she went, Chen Zhou didn't know either. Anyway, the deal is done. Chen Zhou obtained a massive amount of chaos origin, and in exchange, Chu Yangxi became the next host of the system Xiao Qi. 3 months later, the nascent form of the heavenly Tao, corrupted by something eerie, has reformed. Little Yangxi, I'm leaving. Chen Zhou suddenly said goodbye. Leave why? Chu Yangxi asked dejectedly. Xiao Yangxi, all good things must come to an end. You have a long road ahead of you, and I have other things to take care of. It's time for our story to come to a close. System, is it because I didn't complete the task well enough that you don't want me anymore? Chu Yangxi lowered her head dejectedly, heartbroken like a child. Little Yangxi, don't cry. Your phoenix eyes will look swollen and red from crying. System, you really? Chu Yangxi's composure crumbled instantly at the comforting words from the Destiny villain system. I was feeling really sad, but then the system said something and the mood was ruined. Chu Yangxi wiped the small pearls from the corner of her eye, her words full of hope. Then will we be able to see each other again? Ding, the Destiny villain system has added you to a group chat. Chu Yangxi looked and realized that she had entered a group chat called Chat Group of All Realms. Villainous robot at Heavenly Emperor Chu Loli, Chu Yangxi. Newbie asking for photos. Zhao Zilong, who charged in and out of Changbin Slope 7 times. Oh, another newcomer. Welcome, welcome. Saving Lord Li Feiyu. Heavenly Emperor Chu Luoli Chu Yangxi. Welcome, little Loli. Show me a picture. Excited JPG. Starry Sky Ice Queen Chu Ci's widow. Hello. Super Genius System at Heavenly Emperor Chu Loli Chu Yangxi. Hello, newbie. West Heaven War Emperor Wang Heianen. Heavenly Emperor Chu Luoli Chu Yangxi. Newbie here, post a picture. A lone person crying, he chunk you. Heavenly Emperor Chu Luoli Chu Yangxi. Welcome, welcome, a warm welcome. Heavenly Emperor Chu Luoli Chu Yangxi. Hello. Looking at the people in the group, Chu Yangxi's disappointment vanished. Xiao Yangxi, I recommend a junior to you. Junior, Chu Yangxi asked, somewhat puzzled. Hello, host, I'm Peiki, the new intern system of the Quick Transmigration Department. You can just call me Xiao Qi. Xiao Qi, excitedly, greeted the Quick Transmigration System. Xiao Qi also respected her senior's host. The senior's host was naturally her senior as well. As a new system, building a good relationship with her senior host was the first lesson. Hello, Xiao Qi. My name is Chu Yangxi. Nice to meet you. Your mission is to clear out the weaklings in this world. This is also your internship assessment. After passing, you will become official members of the Time and Space Administration's Quick Transmigration Department. Another department? Chu Yangtze's eyes gleamed with eager anticipation. Don't worry, Senior. I will definitely complete the assessment with Senior Chu and become a member of the Quick Transmigration Department. Don't worry, System. I will definitely do my best and live up to your expectations, Chu Yangtze confidently assured. With a goal to strive for, Chu Yangtze's spirits improved considerably. Keep up the good work. Chen Zhou nodded in satisfaction, then pulled the Quick Transmigration System Zio Qi into the group chat. The Destiny Villain System invites Zio Qi, the Quick Transmigration System, to join the group chat. The Destiny Villain System at all members. This is the newbie system, Zio Qi, from the Quick Transmigration Department. I charged in and out of Changbin 7 times, Zhao Zilong. Holy crap, a new system. So many systems. Quick Transmigration System Zio Qi. Hello everyone, I'm Zio Qi, Chu Yangtze's new system. Please take good care of me from now on. West Heaven War Emperor Wang Heianen. What? Chu Liuoli's system. The group admin is giving the host a new system now. Lai Feiyu, the savior from suffering. Honestly, I'm crying my eyes out. Starry Sky Ice Queen Chu Ci's widow. Can you recommend jobs? Super Genius System. Hello Zio Qi. I am a member of Information Processing Division 1363 of the Quick Transmigration Department. Welcome to the Quick Transmigration Department. Quick Transmigration System Zio Qi. Greetings, Senior. Little Yangtze, I will now raise your cultivation level to the mortal-immortal realm. Use your remaining villain points to find the cultivation techniques, mental cultivation methods, and spiritual treasures you desire, and try to use them all. Villain points and system points from the Quick Transmigration Department are not interchangeable. Chu Yangtze nodded obediently. System, please recommend one for me. Grand Celestial Immortal Technique. 1 billion villain points. A top-tier immortal cultivation technique in the Great Thousand Worlds, seizing the creation of heaven and earth, encroaching upon the mysteries of the sun and moon. Once mastered, even ghosts and gods will find it intolerable. The Great Celestial Immortal Technique. Chu Yangtze exclaimed in amazement as she looked at the information about the Great Celestial Immortal Technique. 300 billion villain points. Luckily, she killed enough weirdos, otherwise she really couldn't afford it. Nightfall Robe Skirt. 300 million villain values, low-grade defensive all-around amplifying immortal artifact. Wind and Fire Treasure Emperor Fan. 200 million villain values, low-grade offensive immortal artifact. Great Wilderness Imprisoning Heaven Finger. 5 million villain values. 3,000 Thunderclaps, 3 million villain values. Fiery Golden Eyes, 10 million villain values. Chen Zhou quickly introduced a series of main cultivation techniques that Chu Yangtze could use in the future, as well as various spiritual skills and weapons. Of course, these things are just content, and you need to cultivate them yourself, especially the Great Celestial Immortal Technique with 300 billion points. Once you cultivate it to the great perfection, you are guaranteed to become a Taiyi Golden Immortal. With 300 billion villain points, how could you possibly reach the Taiyi Immortal Emperor realm? With 300 billion villain points, one can barely reach the realm of immortals. Chu Yangtze was able to become a mortal immortal mainly because Senior Feng gave her too much, and part of the immortal king's corpse was also given to Chu Yangtze. That's why Chen Zhou didn't set an exchange limit for the strange creatures. Even if Chu Yangtze killed all of these 50 billion strange creatures, they wouldn't have as much energy as the toenail of the immortal king's corpse. Moreover, Chu Yangtze hadn't finished killing them all yet. Those immortal artifacts, immortal techniques, spiritual skills, and profound-level cultivation methods were all given to Chu Yangtze by Chen Zhou. Immortal artifacts and other physical items require real villain points, while cultivation techniques and spells, if only the content is taught, do not require much source points at all. It's cheap because it covers instruction, but not guaranteed learning. After redeeming the rewards, Chen Zhou returned to the anchor point space and began submitting the mission. Volume 5, The End. P.S. Happy National Day, everyone. Black Circle v. Black Circle. Please urge me to update and support me with your love. Letter 2C9, symbol 348. Grav, symbol A4B3, letter 2C9, symbol 348. Chapter 139, Yunshin Sect. After submitting the task settlement, Chen Zhou began to select the next task. They found that they were all ordinary tasks, but suddenly, a task that was flashing gold appeared. Chen Zhou quickly opened the mission introduction and checked the combat power classification. The highest realm was Mortal immortal. A fantasy world, Chen Zhou murmured to himself, fearing that other systems would beat him to it. Chen Zhou clicked the accept button without hesitation. Confirm. A prompt box popped up on the screen as Chen Zhou pressed the confirm button. Task accepted successfully. Seeing that the mission had been successfully accepted, Chen Zhou began to learn about the character's details. This world is a fantasy world with a complete cultivation system. Yi Ziu, a great emperor, was betrayed by a woman and reborn as a useless young man from an insignificant family in the lower realm who was jilted by his fiancée. He made a 3-year promise, which shocked everyone. He met the eldest daughter of the everlasting Green family in the upper realm during his travels. After undergoing great trials, he went to their door to show off and slap them in the face, thus avenging his previous humiliation. People from the upper realm arrive, and the beauty is captured. He cultivates diligently, slaying numerous prodigies. Upon learning of his birth mother's capture, he storms the Holy Land to rescue her, temporarily reuniting the family. Prodigies from the upper realm descend to the mortal world to vie for opportunities, leading to another great battle with them. He finally obtains the inheritance, ascends to the upper realm, and along the way displays his power, slaps faces, rescues his beloved, builds a harem, and ultimately reclaims his title as emperor. He battles against all races, enters the mortal realm as an immortal, and becomes all-powerful. After reviewing the mission details, Chen Zhou immediately opened a dimensional portal. Mission world successfully locked. Dimensional anchor point successfully deployed. A spatial passage appeared, and in an instant, Chen Zhou arrived in the world of the Great Emperor Reborn. One hand covers the sky. Beep, a healthy and fit individual has been detected, meeting the system binding requirements. System binding is 100%. The Destiny Villain system has been successfully bound. Host Ao Yuan. System, why are you toying with me, senior? Ao Yuan asked cautiously. Chen Zhou directly grabbed the intelligence-lowering halo above Ao Yuan's head and refined it in an instant. Ding, infinite heavenly venerable, this system is not toying with you. I have come here to bestow upon you a great fortune and help you overcome this great tribulation. A great calamity? Senior, what does this mean? Ao Yuan asked in confusion. He was the imperial son of the Taixu ancient dragon clan. At the time of his birth, 10,000 paths roared and 10,000 beasts bowed. Even the great emperor exclaimed that Ao Yuan of the Taixu ancient dragon clan was destined to be an emperor. Chen Zhou didn't explain much, but directly transmitted the cause and effect of Ao Yuan's death and the destruction of the Taixu ancient dragon clan into Ao Yuan's sea of consciousness. A moment later, Ao Yuan unleashed a terrifying killing intent. Yi Ziu Jai Ryuoxi. Jai Ryuoxi is the current imperial daughter of the Jai family, a great imperial lineage in the southern region of the eastern lands. The blood and energy of the Jai family's great emperor have been depleted, and no one in the Jai family will be able to become the great emperor within 10,000 years. In order to protect themselves, the Jai family's great emperor personally visited the Dragon Palace 30 years ago, promising a wealth of resources and a marriage alliance with the Taixu ancient dragon clan. Jai Ryuoxi was Ao Yuan's fiancée. In the future trajectory given by the system, Jai Ryuoxi was unwilling to be a tool for her family's arranged marriage, but she was powerless to refuse. In a fit of willfulness, she went down to the mortal realm alone, where she met the reborn Emperor Yi Ziu. Later, she was captured and brought back by the Jai family. A feud has been formed. Later, Yi Ziu ascended to the upper realm and set up a great formation to kill Ao Yuan during the battle of the 10,000 races. He was then ordered to be hunted down by the Taixu ancient dragon clan and the Jai family, and fled to the central plains to lie low. Jai Ryuoxi has been placed under house arrest by the Jai family. Under the influence of the IQ-reducing aura, the repeated pursuits not only failed to kill Yi Ziu, but instead repeatedly brought him to the brink of death, allowing him to seize opportunities and turn the tide. After a long while, Ao Yuan gradually calmed down and asked, System, can I kill Yi Ziu now? Ding, even if the host gets the great emperor to take action, it won't be able to completely kill Yi Ziu, and a large amount of villain points will be lost. Villain value, what's that? Ao Yuan asked in confusion. The villain value is the embodiment of the chosen one's destiny, which can be used to purchase various great Emperor Dao techniques, supreme emperor weapons, special physiques, magic arrays, elixirs, supernatural powers, and many other cultivation resources. So that's how it is, Ao Yuan murmured softly. Extreme imperial weapons and great Emperor Dao techniques. These are treasures that even great emperors would covet. If a villain can afford to buy these things, then they are indeed not to be underestimated. System, can you check Yiziu's specific situation? Ding, okay. Yiziu template. Name, Yiziu, reborn emperor. Gender, male. Age, 21. Actual age, 4,444. Physique, ancient sacred body. Combat strength. Early stage of the four extremes, capable of fighting early stage of dragon transformation. Power, the Yi family, a nobody in the lower realms. Main cultivation method. The scripture of the 10,000 saints emperor created in a previous life. Body refining technique. The myriad paths body refining manual. Luck value, 30 million, 30 million. Luck level gold. Current location, outskirts of the Netherworld's Beast Mountains. Ifold. After reviewing Yiziu's specific stats, Ao Yuan gained a certain understanding of this reborn emperor who had possessed another body. Yiziu is still stuck in the four extremes secret realm. My current cultivation level is at the peak of the venerable realm, so dealing with Yiziu isn't a problem, but killing him completely will be very difficult, Ao Yuan calmly analyzed. However, it's not difficult to mess with Yiziu's mentality. Emperors are generally quite concerned about their image. If you can remain indifferent if you rob them once, can you remain indifferent if you rob them several times and ruin their plans several times? After adjusting his mindset, Ao Yuan slowly walked out of the secluded palace. Your Highness, the maidservant hurriedly came forward. Ao Yuan nodded and flew straight towards the main hall, where the clan leader was located. As soon as they arrived at the main hall, a kind and deep voice rang out, Yuaner, come in. Ao Yuan opened the door, walked up to his father, the clan chief, and said bluntly, Father, I want to go down to the mortal realm to gain some enlightenment. Clan chief Ao Gu put down his pen and smiled kindly. You're going to find that girl from the Jai family, aren't you? Ao Yuan calmly replied, I suppose so. Ao Gu nodded. That's good. You young people should spend more time together and get to know each other better. Yingsheng, you will follow the imperial prince to the mortal realm. The maidservant responsible for grinding the ink knelt on one knee, saying, Yes, clan chief. After explaining to their clan chief father, Ao Yuan and the white dragon girl used the Dragon Palace teleportation array to reach the Two Realms Mountain teleportation array. Through the Two Realms Mountain lower realm point, the two dragons successfully arrived in the lower realm. Yunshan sect, the #1 sect in the Great Kayan dynasty of the Northwest continent, is also the place where Yiziu annulled his engagement in the future. Who goes there? State your names at once. Several elders of the Yunshan sect quickly ascended, looking warily at Ao Yuan and his companion. Insolence, Wang Chang uttered two words softly. As she finished speaking, a powerful pressure emanated from her, sweeping towards the elders of the Yunshan sect like a mountain pressing down. The elders of Yunshan sect instantly felt immense pressure, their bodies involuntarily plummeting downwards and crashing heavily to the ground, unable to move. The elders of Yunshan sect turned pale, their eyes filled with terror. Cultivators from the upper realm, these two alien races are definitely cultivators from the upper realm. Fear gripped the hearts of the elders. They knew that the strength of the cultivators from the upper realms was far beyond their ability to contend with. All right, Yingsheng, you may step back now. Just then, a gentle voice came. Yes, upon hearing the order, Wang Chang bowed slightly and stepped aside. Find someone who can talk, Ao Yuan said calmly. As Ao Yuan finished speaking, a figure swiftly flew in from the distant sky. In the blink of an eye, the figure arrived in front of Ao Yuan and respectfully bowed, saying, I am Pan Feng, the Grand Elder of Yunshan sect. I greet you both. I wonder what brings you two lords to the mortal realm. If there's anything we can help with, please don't hesitate to ask. If you don't mind, we would be honored if you two esteemed guests were to grace our sect with your presence. Elder Pan Feng wore a fawning smile, hoping to gain the favor of the two mysterious figures. All right, Ao Yuan said indifferently. Seniors, this way, please. Elder Pan Feng quickly adopted the highest level of courtesy. Chapter 140, All resources belong to Yunshan sect. 2 days later, the Yunshan sect replaced the royal family of the Dacian dynasty and issued a new law that brought all resources under the control of the Yunshan sect. All sects and forces must pay taxes to the Yunshan sect. Hunting demonic beasts requires a hunting license. Mining spirit stones requires a mining license. Traveling requires a travel permit, and entering the city requires an ID card. The new laws were disseminated throughout the Great Kayan dynasty, causing various powerful forces to dare to express their anger but not to speak out, and they had no choice but to obtain the corresponding certificates from local government offices. In just a few days, guided by the heavenly mandate villain system, Ao Yuan enabled the Yunchen sect to complete a series of reforms throughout the Great Kayan dynasty. At this moment, Yi Ziu, who has been reborn for 2.5 years, is leisurely fooling around in the monster mountain range. Having the ancient sacred body, he needs a lot of resources to cultivate, but he simply doesn't have enough resources to support his cultivation. Therefore, Yi Ziu had no choice but to risk entering the monster mountain range to cultivate using its endless resources. The 3-year agreement was Yi Ziu's promise to the original owner of this body. He had to defeat Aoyang Na, the young sect master of Yunchen sect, with absolute superiority, wash away the shame of the Yi family, and resolve the original owner's obsession. Boom! With a loud bang, Yi Ziu's fist slammed into a low-level demonic beast, instantly killing it. Looking at the fallen monster corpse in front of him, Yi Ziu couldn't help but feel a complex mix of emotions. Red Demon Lizard, I never thought I, Yi Ziu, would one day hunt such a low-level monster. Yi Ziu smiled wryly. Once upon a time, Yi Ziu was the mighty emperor of 10,000 fires who dominated the Central Plains. But now, he had to deal with these low-level demonic beasts, which made him feel somewhat ironic and helpless. If this gets out, those kids will laugh themselves to death. Yi Ziu chuckled self-deprecatingly. Yi Ziu took out a simple, self-made dagger and began to precisely cut the Red Demon Lizard. He skillfully peeled off the monster's skin and extracted the useful parts, such as the inner core and tendons. The ancient sacred body is rumored to be a useless body cursed by heaven and earth, but Yi Ziu refuses to believe it. Yi Ziu firmly believes there are no useless physiques in this world, only useless cultivators. So what if the ancient sacred body is cursed? Does being cursed mean he won't cultivate? Does it mean he won't seek revenge? He is the great emperor of this era. A mere curse is nothing to him. He chooses to walk the path that others cannot, and he will walk it to the very top. This is Yi Ziu's pride as an emperor. Yi Ziu, are you done cutting? A pleasant voice rang out. Yi Ziu, a man of few words, said, soon. Jai Ruoxi was a mysterious woman he met 3 days ago, though he didn't know why she had entered the monster mountain range alone. But since this woman had saved him once before, he couldn't very well send this pampered young lady away who couldn't even cook. Jai Ruoxi, in a good mood, admired the quiet surroundings from afar, a faint smile on her lips. This is her 20th day in the lower realm. There are no Jai family members here, and naturally there are no annoying voices or lectures. She can do whatever she wants freely, and no one can restrain her. The only thing that bothered her was that her cultivation was ambushed and sealed by a damned dragon transformation demon beast. This prevented her from exerting her original strength, and she couldn't even leave this place. As for that guy named Yi Ziu, Jai Ruoxi didn't think highly of him. The ancient sacred body was a naturally useless body, cursed by heaven and earth, and he couldn't go far at all. In the Yunchen Sect Master Yun Potion reported to Ao Yuan with a fawning expression. Young Master Ao, I have completed all the tasks you assigned me. This contains information on document registration from various locations, as well as all the information about the Yi family in Wuji City and Wulong Town. Yun Potion respectfully handed over a jade slip. Ao Yuan took the jade slip and said indifferently, fine, you may leave. Yes, Yun Potion stood up, bowed, and then respectfully withdrew. Ao Yuan used his divine sense to enter the jade slip and quickly learned all the information about the Yi family. The Yi family is one of the 3 major families in Wulong Town. The head of the family, Yi Huangsu, is Yi Ziu's biological father and a mere ant in the early stage of the spirit transformation realm. Yi Ziu's mother is Luo Wangqing, the Holy Maiden of the Purple Mansion Holy Land, and also the daughter of the Lord of the Purple Mansion Holy Land. More than 12 years ago, the Purple Mansion Holy Land's expedition team was attacked, and the Holy Maiden went missing. I don't know what kind of dramatic events happened during that time, but when they finally found her, she already had a child, and it was with a country bumpkin in the spirit transformation realm. Later, the Lord of the Purple Mansion Holy Land personally intervened, wanting to destroy the Yi family. Luo Wangqing threatened to kill herself, and in the end, the Lord of the Purple Mansion Holy Land had no choice but to bring Luo Wangqing back. This matter is a rare taboo in the Northwest continent. Very few forces know the truth, and those who do know the truth dare not speak of it. Yunchen sect only learned the inside story because they discovered and reported the Holy Maiden's whereabouts back then. After reviewing the intelligence, Ao Yuan immediately ordered, Wang Chang, go and bring Luo Wangqing here. Yes, Your Highness. Wang Chang respectfully accepted the order and then her figure flashed, tearing through space and disappearing in the blink of an eye. Just a few seconds later, Luo Wongking, who had been imprisoned in the forbidden area of the Purple Mansion Holy Land, appeared in front of Ao Yuan. Luo Wongking looked at Ao Yuan sitting on the bed in horror, her heart filled with fear. "Who are you people? Why did you capture me?" Ao Yuan's lips curled into a cold smile. He stared indifferently at Luo Wongking kneeling on the ground and slowly said, "Madam Luo, I've heard that you have a son named Yi Ziu. Is that right?" Upon hearing the name Yi Ziu, Luo Wongking's face turned deathly pale, her body trembled uncontrollably, and her eyes were filled with terror as she stammered. "What? What do you want to do?" Ao Yuan's expression was cold, and his tone was calm but carried a hint of threat. He said indifferently, "Nothing special, it's just that your precious son has offended me, so I want to get a satisfactory explanation from Madame Luo." Seeing Ao Yuan's cold gaze, Luo Wongking felt a chill run down her spine. Dragons are inherently lewd, and this dragon cultivator must be after her for some lewd purpose. But her son was in the other party's hands, so she had no choice but to. Thinking of this, Luo Wongking shed 2 lines of clear tears. "I can promise you, but you must promise to let my son go." After saying that, Luo Wongking began to undress. Slap! Wang Cheng slapped Luo Wongking across the face. "How dare you? Who gave you permission to offend the emperor's eyes?" Although Wang Cheng held back her strength, Luo Wongking, who was unprepared, was still slapped away and sent flying, crashing heavily into a pillar. Half of her face was swollen like a pig's head, and a trace of blood spilled from the corner of her mouth. Wang Cheng looked at Luo Wongking coldly. If this woman weren't useful to the emperor, she would have been dead long ago. A lowly scum from the lower realm dares to lay a finger on the emperor's son's vital essence. He truly has no sense of mortality. Ao Yuan watched all this calmly, without stopping Wang Cheng's unauthorized actions. "Yingsheng, hand her over to Yun Potion. Tell him to keep a close eye on her and not let her run away," Ao Yuan said nonchalantly. "Yes, Your Highness," Wang Cheng replied respectfully. Chapter 140. One Emperor Shengzong ruled the country by law. 3 months later, Yi Ziu and Jai Ruoxi walked out of the Monster Mountain Range side by side. When Yi Ziu reached the entrance to the Monster Mountain Range, he was surprised to find that a new checkpoint had appeared there at some point. The checkpoint was guarded by a group of heavily armored soldiers who held long spears and had serious expressions, giving off an aura of authority. "Halt! Identification!" A soldier stopped a middle-aged, burly man who was about to enter the Monster Mountain Range. The middle-aged man seemed to have been prepared. He calmly took out some small notebooks of different colors from his storage bag and handed them to the soldier. The soldier took the documents and examined them carefully. After a while, the soldier nodded in satisfaction. "Okay, you can go in now, be careful." After saying that, he returned the documents to the middle-aged man and indicated that he could pass through the checkpoint. Seeing this, Jai Ruoxi looked at Yi Ziu with a puzzled expression. "Yi Ziu, do you need to verify identities to hunt monsters here?" Yi Ziu shook his head. He didn't know why this had happened at the entrance to the Monster Mountain Range. It hadn't happened when he came 6 months ago. "I don't know, maybe it's a scheme devised by some royal family member to make money," Yi Ziu guessed calmly. "HMPH, those nobles are truly despicable. They even charge money to enter the territory of demonic beasts," Jai Ruoxi said angrily. He thought to himself with disdain, "The lower realm is indeed the lower realm. They are all barbarians who are not fully civilized." "Let's go, Ruoxi, let's go ask what's going on," Yi Ziu suggested with a smile. For the past 6 months, he has been cultivating in the Monster Mountain Range, completely unaware of any outside information. With only 2 months left until the 3-year agreement with Yang Na, he needs to understand the changes happening in the outside world and prepare for the Shangyun Mountain sect. Jai Ruoxi nodded and then walked towards the checkpoint with Yi Ziu. When they reached the checkpoint, a soldier stopped them and said in a friendly tone, "Gentlemen, please show your identification." Jai Ruoxi looked blank. "Identification? What is that? What's it for?" She had just heard the soldier mention the word identification, but she didn't know its specific purpose. "Without proper documentation, you should pay a gathering tax equivalent to 50% of your harvest from the Monster Mountain Range," the soldier declared sternly, stating the new law of the Great Kayan Dynasty. 50%? Why don't you just rob us?" Jai Ruoxi shouted angrily. "Madam, please don't insult our profession. You are hunting illegally, and the court, in its mercy, has only imposed a fine." The soldier solemnly explained the law to her. "You guys are lucky. In 2 months, illegal hunting will result in confiscation of the catch and a 3-year prison sentence. A passing rogue cultivator gloated. Serves them right for not getting the permits before. Some people are simply ignorant of the law. The dynasty previously issued a notice instructing all cultivators and commoners to obtain relevant certificates free of charge from the relevant departments. But some people did not listen. Now that they have been caught, they are trying to act unreasonably and refuse to cooperate. They are truly a disgrace to us cultivators. I've seen plenty of people like this. They deliberately sneak into the Monster Mountain range to poach, pretending to be ignorant when they know the truth. Unfortunately, the court treats everyone equally. As long as they don't have the relevant permits, they will have 50% of their earnings confiscated within 6 months of the new law being implemented. The imperial court is merciful, giving these cultivators 6 months to repent. If you ask me, these people should be thrown into prison immediately, and all their illegal gains should be confiscated to demonstrate the majesty of the imperial court. Don't say that. After all, some cultivators are in seclusion, so it's understandable that they might be behind on information. That's true, that Sir is indeed very thoughtful. Hearing the words of the rogue cultivator beside him, Yiziu finally understood what was going on with these soldiers. It turned out that the bigwigs at the top were using reforms to amass wealth. That, sir, he truly has impressive skills. Yiziu couldn't help but sigh inwardly. This method can only be implemented in the lower realm. If it were implemented in the upper realm, the person who gives the order at noon would be crushed. Gentlemen, if you don't want to pay taxes, you can leave through other places. However, if you step into a trap on those desolate roads, then it will have nothing to do with the imperial court, the soldier kindly reminded them. Yes, we'll give it to you. How much do you want? Jai Ruoxi quickly agreed on Yi's behalf. These cultivators from the lower realms actually dared to say she was uncivilized. Who do they think they are? You've taken 50% of the total loot from the Monster Mountain range. The soldier held up 5 fingers. Of course, as long as it's about 50% of your total harvest, you can decide what to hand over, the soldier added. Those with licenses will have 10% of their illegal gains confiscated, while those without licenses will have 50% confiscated. 6 months after the new law takes effect, those without licenses will have all their illegal gains confiscated, plus a 3-year prison sentence. Of course, one can also spend spirit stones to reduce or exempt oneself from punishment. Jai Ruoxi angrily threw out 5 level 4 demon beast inner cores, plus a 2nd-tier spiritual herb. Is this enough? Open your storage bags and take out all your loot. We need to inspect it in front of everyone, the soldier said, following procedure. Yiziu stepped forward with a serious expression, looking directly at the guards with neither arrogance nor servility, and said in a deep voice, "Brother, your request is going too far. Storage bags are the privacy of every cultivator. How can you allow others to search them so easily?" His gaze was firm and powerful, and his voice resounded throughout the area. Yiziu's words were addressed not only to the soldiers, but also to all the cultivators present. Yiziu knew that the items in a storage bag were often the accumulations and precious things on a cultivator's path of cultivation. They were the most important things for every cultivator, and no cultivator would be willing to show their storage bag to others. However, the soldiers remained unmoved in the face of Yiziu's questioning. One of them responded sternly, "Kid, please don't question our professionalism. With so many witnesses here, we are acting entirely according to procedure and will never take anything from you. If you disagree, you can choose to leave the Monster Mountain range from elsewhere. After all, this mountain range is so vast that the imperial court cannot possibly station personnel in every location. Get out of the way. What valuable things could a little brat who hasn't even grown his first hair possibly have? If you don't want to walk, then don't block the way." A bloodthirsty hunter, who had just come out from the outermost edge of the Monster Mountain range, sneered loudly. The blood-moving realm hunter bypassed Yiziu, a fawning smile on his face, and quickly walked up to the guards, gently placing his prey on the ground. Then he respectfully handed over his level 1 hunting certificate. "Sir, this is my haul for today. Please take a look," the blood-moving realm hunter said with a beaming smile, his voice revealing a hint of humility. The soldier took the identification document and carefully checked the information on it to ensure that everything was accurate. The soldier nodded slightly in agreement, then coldly said, "1/10 of the income tax, you cut it yourself." With that, he ignored the hunter. "Yes, sir." The blood-moving hunter cleanly chopped off a wild boar's leg, respectfully placed it down, and then carried the rest of the large, fat boar away. Seeing this, Yiziu's face darkened slightly, How dare a mere blood-moving realm ant mock him? Jai Ruoxi angrily took out the spoils she had obtained from the monster mountain range these past few days from her spatial ring. Look, do the math yourselves and see if what I just took out is even half of these. The soldiers exchanged glances, their voices softening slightly. Sorry, Fairy, we're just following procedure. You can leave the fine there and then proceed. HMPH. Jai Ruoxi raised her head and put down the fine in annoyance. Yiziu, hurry up, I'll wait for you outside. Hearing Jai Ruoxi's words, Yiziu gave a wry smile, took out a large handful of demon beast cores, spirit meat, animal hides, and various animal bones from his storage bag, and finally threw away the animal hides, animal bones, and a few of the lowest quality demon beast cores that were of no value to him, and walked out of the checkpoint without looking back. Chapter 142. Everything is developing in a direction unfavorable to Yiziu. Ding, the host scheme has caused the chosen one, Yiziu, to lose money. Yiziu is feeling frustrated and has lost 1,000 luck points. The host has gained 10,000 villain points. After more than 3 months in the lower realm, Aoyuan finally earned his first villain points, which is cause for celebration. The emperor truly lives up to his name. He's incredibly stingy, Aoyuan thought to himself. Seeing that it was almost time, Aoyuan decided to put his new plan into action. Wying Chang, have Yun Potion bring Aoyang Na to see me. Yes, your highness, Bai Longying replied and instantly left the room. Aoyuan was well aware that Yun Potion had great ambitions. Before Aoyuan arrived, Yun Potion had been planning to take over the royal family of the Great Kaiyan dynasty and become its de facto ruler. Although the current Great Kaiyan dynasty is nominally controlled by the Yunshin sect, the puppet who actually carries out a series of reforms on behalf of Aoyuan is still the Great Kaiyan royal ancestor. With the 3-year agreement approaching, Aoyuan decided to give Yun Potion some tangible benefits as well. Soon, Yun Potion arrived at Aoyuan's villa with his disciple Aoyang Na. My lord, upon seeing Aoyuan, Yun Potion immediately knelt on one knee to pay his respects. Although Aoyang Na did not know Aoyuan's identity, seeing her master kneeling down so respectfully, she did not dare to be negligent and immediately knelt down obediently to the side, so nervous that she did not even dare to make a sound. Aoyuan nodded slightly, his gaze calmly turning to the nervous Aoyang Na beside him, and asked, Are you Yun Potion's disciple and the young sect master of Yunshin sect? Upon hearing this, Aoyang Na hurriedly and respectfully replied, Replying to Senior, I am indeed the sect leader's last disciple. Aoyuan nodded slightly and commented indifferently, Not bad. Hearing Aoyuan's affirmation, Aoyang Na was overjoyed and quickly bowed to express her gratitude. Thank you for your praise, sir. However, Aoyuan's next words made Aoyang Na's heart skip a beat. Aoyuan looked at Aoyang Na and slowly asked, I heard you have a fiancé named Yiziu. Aoyang Na was secretly shocked, not expecting that this official knew about this matter. Aoyang Na took a deep breath, trying to remain calm, and respectfully replied. Replying to Senior, I do have a fiancé named Yiziu, but I personally went to the Yi family 3 years ago to annul the engagement. Break off the engagement. You were the one who came to humiliate the Yi family, but then you were goaded by Yiziu and made a 3-year agreement. Aoyuan directly stated the truth. Upon hearing this, Aoyang Na felt a pang of sorrow in her heart, and her eyes reddened, but she still stubbornly said, Senior, I will definitely win the competition 2 months from now, and let the whole world know that I, Aoyang Na, will never marry that good-for-nothing. However, Aoyuan's next words poured cold water on Aoyang Na's enthusiasm. Did you know that Yiziu entered the 4 Extremes Secret Realm 3 months ago? What, the 4 Extremes Secret Realm? Aoyang Na was shocked. Her eyes widened as she stared in disbelief at the mysterious young senior before her. Aoyang Na never expected that Yiziu, who had a useless body, would be able to enter the 4 Extremes Secret Realm, and in just 2.5 years. You should know that she has the endless resources of Yunshin sect, the teachings of many elders of Yunshin sect, and the careful guidance of her master Yun Potion. She has been cultivating diligently since childhood, and it took her 15 years to successfully enter the 4 Extremes Secret Realm a month ago. Yiziu only took 2.5 years to achieve this. How could she accept that? Despite being filled with shock and resentment, Aoyang Na had no choice but to believe the words of this mysterious senior. Seeing that Aoyang Na's competitive spirit had been provoked, Aoyuan took out a bottle of pills from his spatial storage ring. This is a top-grade 4 Extremes Dragon Transformation Pill. It can fully stimulate a cultivator's physical potential, allowing the cultivator to complete the 4 Extremes cultivation in a very short time and successfully enter the dragon transformation stage. Upon hearing this, Aoyangna's eyes lit up instantly. She stared intently at the jade bottle in Aoyuan's hand, her eyes filled with longing. Aoyuan did not immediately hand over the pill to her, but continued. However, this pill also has side effects. After taking it, one's cultivation will not progress for 2 years, but it will not damage the user's talent or potential. Crossing the 4 extreme secret realm in 2 years is hardly a side effect for someone from the lower realm. Some people spend their entire lives trying to overcome the hurdle of the 4 extreme secret realm. For those in the lower realms, obtaining such an elixir is an immense stroke of luck. Please, Senior, bestow upon me the elixir, Aoyangna pleaded respectfully. Aoyuan waved his hand gently, and the 4 extremes dragon transformation pill landed in front of Aoyangna. Thank you for bestowing the pill, Senior. Aoyangna quickly bowed in gratitude. It's all right. Aoyuan waved his hand, not taking such a useless thing to heart. Thank you, Senior. Aoyangna bowed again in gratitude. Aoyuan nodded and said indifferently, You may leave. Yes, Aoyangna bowed slightly, put away the pills, and then left the courtyard. Clouds break through the sky. Your subordinate is here, Yun Potion replied hurriedly. Aoyuan nodded and took out another first-grade pill. This is a top-grade 9 transformation dragon pill. It can accelerate cultivation and complete the transformation into a dragon without any side effects. Yun Potion was overjoyed and immediately knelt down to express his gratitude. Thank you, Senior, for bestowing this pill. The Dragon Transformation Secret Realm has 9 transformations, known as the 9 levels of Dragon Transformation. Yun Potion is currently at the 7th level of Dragon Transformation. With the help of the 9 transformation Dragon Pill, his breakthrough to the Venerable Realm is just around the corner. Upon obtaining such a divine pill, Yun Potion's joy was palpable. What have I been cultivating for all these years? It's all for becoming a Venerable One, then igniting the divine fire and ascending to the upper realm. Now a great figure from the upper realm places a pill in front of him and tells him that this pill can quickly transform him into a dragon and achieve the great perfection. He tells him to work hard, correctly comprehend the universe, and step into the realm of the Venerable. Venerable One, the pinnacle of cultivators in the lower realm. As long as Yun Potion becomes a Venerable One, Yunshan sect will become a new holy land, an indispensable force in the lower realm, and dominate the entire western continent. Go down, Aoyuan waved his hand. Yes, Yun Potion quickly bowed and withdrew. Your Highness, why do you expend so much effort reforming this lower realm dynasty? Wang Chang asked curiously, gently massaging Aoyuan's shoulders. More than 2 months ago, Wang Chang, this silly great sage, was eaten by Aoyuan. After spending 2 months together, Wang Chang became much bolder when she was with the Prince Aoyuan, and sometimes she even dared to joke with him. Aoyuan didn't mind. Since merging with the future memories given by the system, Aoyuan's state of mind had changed a lot, especially regarding matters of yin and yang. Aoyuan chose to follow his heart. Consuming Wang Chang can be considered maximizing one's yuan yang, while also obtaining the great sage level yuan yin of this simple-minded great sage, allowing one's cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds overnight. If Aoyuan hadn't had Wang Chang set up 6 levels of cultivation, he would have already rushed into the Tao of Severance. Blood Transformation, Spirit Gathering, Spirit Transformation, 4 Extremes, Dragon Transformation, Venerable One, Divine Fire, Tao Severing. Half Saint, Saint, Saint King, Great Saint. Quasi Emperor, Great Emperor. This is the division of the cultivation system in Aoyuan's world. Besides the mainstream system, there are alternative paths to enlightenment, such as Supreme Being, Great Accomplished Holy Body, Great Accomplished Hegemonic Body, and Physical Sainthood. The specific level is unknown. It mainly depends on actual combat strength. For example, some Supreme Beings have weak combat power and can only go toe-to-toe with Quasi-Emperors, while some Supreme Beings can go toe-to-toe with Supreme Emperors. For example, some Great Accomplished Saint bodies are destroyed by Quasi-Emperors, while some Great Accomplished Saint bodies can challenge Emperors. However, physical sainthood is a mystery. Ancient Dragon Clan books have recorded that those who achieve physical sainthood can fight against true immortals. However, no invincible individuals who achieved physical sainthood appeared in later generations, and the concept of the ultimate physical body was replaced by the strongest holy body, the ancient holy body, born in the most recent era, the ancient era. Achieving physical sainthood, no one knows what kind of physique it is. Records show that only one super strong member of the Dragon Clan has achieved it, but that super strong member rose from humble beginnings and the history is too distant. Even the Dragon Clan itself does not know the specific cultivation method. No one would believe it if I told them that I had achieved sainthood in the physical body and defeated a true immortal. This is so magical. 2 months later, Aoyang Na successfully entered the first level of dragon transformation. With the implementation of a series of new dynastic laws, the entire Great Kayan dynasty was completely transformed. Wild secret realms in various places have been officially nationalized by the Great Kayan dynasty. To enter, one must purchase an admission ticket, and 30% of the profits must be handed over. Various sects have also reformed the secret realms within their own territories. The secret realm allows free cultivators, rogue cultivators, who are not hostile to each other to enter, but they need to purchase an admission ticket. 40% of their profits are handed over. The admission ticket is not expensive, but it is only a qualification to enter. Like the Dynasty Secret Realm, admission tickets are limited in purchase. These new regulations have greatly excited independent cultivators, rogue cultivators. In the past, secret realms were almost never open to independent cultivators, rogue cultivators. Now that the reforms are complete, anyone can enter as long as they have no grudges against them. The only cost is to pay a little spirit stone to buy an entry spot, and at most, they have to hand over 40% of their profits upon exiting. It is an enormous benefit. Moreover, the secret realm is fully equipped with major merchants, professional security services, secret realm hospitals, pill pavilions, and other facilities, all waiting for cultivators to spend their money. Especially the Yunshan Chamber of Commerce. They've gone to all the major monster nature reserves, just waiting for cultivators to buy equipment. For cultivators in the Great Kayan dynasty, everything was moving towards a civilized cultivation environment. But for the reborn Emperor Yiziu, these reforms seem to be targeting him. All unregistered spirit mines, land, and resources within the territory of the Great Kayan dynasty belong to the imperial court and the Yunshan sect. Any force that attempts to mine resources must obtain approval and registration from the Yunshan sect. Otherwise, it constitutes illegal mining, illegal collection, or illegal poaching. These regulations shocked Yiziu for 1,000 years. His great-great-great-grandfather, these ridiculous regulations were practically saying that Yiziu was the private property of the Yunshan sect. Yiziu was furious when he found out. So in the less than 3 years he'd been gone, the outside world had become the Cloud Heaven sect. That's outrageous. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. 1 Otilettery 31 Otilettery 31. Chapter 143. The 3-year agreement has arrived. The 3-year agreement has been reached. Aoyang Na I Yiziu am here. Yiziu thought to himself. Yiziu gazed resolutely at the Yunshan sect in the distance. For 3 years, he worked hard to cultivate, constantly improving his strength and honing his foundation, all in order to help the original owner resolve his last obsession. Yiziu's father, Yi Huangsu, patted Yiziu on the shoulder and encouraged him with affection. Zier, don't be nervous. You are not the same person you were before. Believe in yourself, you can do it. Seeing that his son's cultivation level had surpassed his own, Yi Huangsu was very gratified. 3 years ago, Aoyang Na brought the elders of Yunshan sect to the Yi family to publicly annul their engagement. The family elders all watched coldly. While Yi Huangsu was struggling internally, Yiziu, the useless young master of the Yi family, rushed into the Yi family's council hall. Arguing with reason, he uttered the bold statement. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river. Never underestimate a young man's potential. In short, the entire Yi family was stunned by Yiziu. The 3-year agreement was a verbal agreement Yiziu made with the young sect leader of the Yunshan sect at that time. Since that day, Yiziu has become a different person. He not only changed his previous decadent attitude, but also cultivated at an astonishing speed and even learned to refine pills. After inquiring, Yi Huangsu learned that his son had become the disciple of a mysterious expert who taught him both alchemy and cultivation. 3 months after the annulment of the engagement ended, Yiziu bid farewell to Yi Huangsu, saying that he was going to go out to cultivate with his master. Yi Huangsu was very pleased and kept saying, "Good, good." More than 2 years later, when Yi Huangsu saw his son Yiziu again, Yiziu's cultivation had surpassed Yi Huangsu's and reached the 4 extreme secret realm. "Don't worry, father, I will definitely defeat Aoyang Na and vindicate the Yi family," Yiziu confidently assured him. Yiziu, a great emperor reborn, could easily defeat a junior of the same level in the lower realm. Yi Huangsu nodded with relief, his heart filled with emotion, wonking, "Do you see? This is our son. Brother Yiziu, you can definitely do it. Go for it." Yi Zinner shouted with anticipation, her eyes sparkling with admiration. Yi Ziu smiled and replied, Zinner, don't worry, your brother will definitely win this match. Looking at his adorable cousin, Yi Ziu couldn't help but smile sincerely. Jai Ruoxi, who was not far away, turned her head away, a strange displeasure suddenly welling up in her heart. She couldn't explain why she felt this way, but she just felt uncomfortable. Yi Ziu smiled wryly, realizing he was utterly powerless to understand a woman's thoughts. At this moment, Tang Chuan, whose hair was gray, urged, Young Yi, it's almost time. We should go up the mountain. Yi Ziu nodded calmly and said in a low, firm voice, All right, let's go. With Yi Ziu's command, a group of people surged towards Yunqian sect like a tidal wave. Inside the Yunqian sect, Aoyang Ne had made comprehensive preparations. After a month of intensive training, she gained a deeper understanding and control over the power of the first level of dragon transformation, and could skillfully use various martial arts techniques to their fullest potential. Yun Potion had also ordered his disciples to retrieve a series of precious magical artifacts and spiritual weapons from the sect's treasury for Aoyang Ne's use. A set of low-grade spiritual artifact-level inner armor, a top-grade magic weapon wind and cloud sword, a pair of high-grade magic weapon-level auxiliary boots, and a hairpin that accelerates spiritual energy recovery. Aoyang Ne is currently wearing a low-grade spiritual weapon-level inner armor, wielding a top-grade magic weapon, the wind and cloud sword, wearing high-grade magic weapon-level auxiliary boots, and having a hairpin in her hair to accelerate spiritual energy recovery. She is armed to the teeth. Looking at Aoyang Ne in the center of the arena, the cultivators who came to watch the battle discussed among themselves. Is it really necessary to take this so seriously when dealing with a country bumpkin from a remote mountain village? You don't understand. This is called professionalism in the Yunqian sect, a scholar kindly explained. Brother, what is the meaning of this? Another free cultivator asked. The scholar shook his head and continued to explain. If you are so cautious in dealing with an unknown person, how could you be any less careful in other matters? If you take every matter seriously, how can your sect not prosper? After speaking, the scholar gave the monk who had asked the question time to think. Oh, so that's how it is, no wonder, no wonder. The intelligent cultivator instantly understood. Even a young sect leader is this good. No wonder the Cloud Mountain sect is so powerful, a sect cultivator remarked. Who can argue with that? Our young sect leader is arrogant and domineering. Compared to his time at Yunqian sect, the difference is stark, another sect disciple said with heartache. Brother, I know you're suffering. Our young sect leader is too, another sect disciple echoed. My lord, please take a seat. Yun Potion led Ao Yuan to the martial arts pavilion with a broad smile. This pavilion is called Guanwu Pavilion. Construction began 5 months ago, and the craftsmen worked day and night to finish it half a month ago. The entire building is magnificent and unique in style, giving people a solemn and dignified feeling. Stepping inside the Guanwu Tower, you'll find a spacious and bright hall with exquisite and ornate decorations. Ao Yuan followed Yun Potion up the spiritual energy elevator to the 5th floor. The room was elegantly furnished with comfortable sofas and coffee tables, and valuable calligraphy and paintings hung on the walls on both sides. Looking down, one could see the entire arena, offering an excellent view. The pavilion was also equipped with a simple anti-peeping array, so that people inside could clearly see outside, but people outside could not see inside. Is Your Excellency satisfied with this martial arts tower? Yun Potion asked with a flattering expression. Not bad. Ao Yuan nodded slightly, giving such an evaluation in a calm tone. The location and height of the pavilion were indeed well designed, but the materials used and the array formations were very crude, far below his expectations. Overall, this pavilion can only be considered barely acceptable. It is hardly outstanding. Thank you for your recognition, Your Excellency. Upon hearing Ao Yuan's evaluation, Yun Potion felt relieved and immediately knelt down to express his gratitude. Yun Potion's anxious heart finally settled down, and a hint of joy appeared on his face. Although the official simply said, "It's all right," for Yun Potion this was already a great affirmation. Ao Yuan waved his hand and said, "You may leave." Yes, Yun Potion bowed again, and then respectfully withdrew. Meanwhile, amidst the anticipation of countless viewers from all over the world, Yi Ziu, another protagonist of the day, arrived at the arena with a group of people, led by a welcoming elder from the Yunqian sect. Upon arriving at the competition venue, Yi Ziu was taken aback by the sheer number of spectators in the stands. At first glance, the audience was densely packed, numbering at least 100,000. This Cloud Heaven sect is really greedy, selling so many tickets. Do they really think they can win? Yiziu sneered inwardly. Fine, in the end you'll be the ones who make a fool of yourselves anyway. No matter how many spirit stones you earn, your reputation will be ruined in the end. I hope you can handle it. Yiziu smiled helplessly. Yiziu naturally wouldn't mind if someone wanted to make money by making a fool of themselves. On the contrary, with so many people witnessing this, the price Yunchen sect will pay for trying to renege on their promise. When he wins the competition, Aoyang Na, the young sect leader of Yunchen sect, will become his slave. I believe Yunchen sect will look quite awful then. Chapter 144 Failed Attempt to Show Off. One defeat after another. Everyone please be quiet, Pan Feng, the grand elder of Yunchen sect, shouted. The entire arena fell silent instantly, and all the cultivators turned their gazes toward Pan Feng, the grand elder of the Yunchen sect and a 5-star general of the great Kayan dynasty. Today is the day everyone knows the 3-year agreement comes to an end, and I won't say any more. Elder Pan Feng paused, then announced loudly, Now, please welcome the 2 parties involved in the 3-year agreement to the stage. Bravo, the audience cheered. Amidst deafening cheers, a gaunt man in black confidently stepped onto the martial arts stage. Both sides state your names and cultivation levels. Elder Pan Feng, the referee, announced according to procedure. Yiziu of the Yi family, cultivation level, level 4 secret realm. Yiziu clasped his hands and announced his family name. Ouyang Na of Yunchen sect, cultivation level, dragon transformation level 1. Ouyang Na returned the greeting with clasped hands. Now, please both sides reiterate the contents of the 3-year agreement. Referee Pan Feng, the elder, stirred the audience's emotions. Upon hearing the elder's words, Yiziu's eyes showed a hint of surprise. He never expected that the grand elder of Yunchen sect would actually make them reveal the details of the bet in front of more than 100,000 spectators. Even if I lose, I, Ouyang Na, am willing to serve Yiziu as his slave for the rest of my life. Ouyang Na stated her vow expressionlessly. I lost, and I, Yiziu, will accept whatever punishment the Yunchen sect may give me. I will have no regrets, and I will never seek revenge. Yiziu retorted defiantly, stating his previous bet in a deep voice, even adding a few more words. Upon hearing the details of the bet, the audience began to discuss it excitedly. Holy crap, is Ouyang Na really going to take such a big gamble? Is this kind of bet necessary? Will the Yunchen sect agree to this bet? Will this bet really be honored in the end? What kind of nonsense is Yiziu spouting? How dare he even mention such a bet? Let the Yunchen sect do as they please. That sounds nice, but with so many people here, and the Yunchen sect being the righteous leader of the great Kayan dynasty, how could they possibly make any excessive demands? This Yiziu is so cunning. He uses morality to blackmail the Yunchen sect. Even if he loses, the Yunchen sect won't make excessive demands because of their own magnanimity. Even if he wins, he makes their young sect leader a slave. It's truly a cold and heartless world. A grown man with 800 schemes in his mind. The Yi family is probably a case of the upper beam being crooked, and the lower beam being crooked too. As they talked, the audience's words quietly turned into mockery and attacks against Yiziu. Hearing these harsh words, Yiziu's expression darkened. The emperor cannot be insulted. If it weren't for his current insufficient cultivation, he would have already wiped out those ants who spoke such foul words. Aren't we going to start yet? Yiziu urged impatiently. Elder Pan Feng glared at Yiziu, stepped back outside the arena and shouted loudly, On your marks, get ready. The duel begins. As soon as Elder Pan Feng finished speaking, the Wind and Cloud sword was instantly drawn. Wind and Cloud Extreme Meteor Strike. Yiziu quickly dodged backward, clenched his fist, seized Ouyang Na's opening and threw a punch. Unfortunately, Ouyang Na had already prepared a countermeasure. With a turn of her sword and a swift movement, a sharp sword light rushed towards Yiziu. Yiziu smiled, kicked his left leg to the right, and easily dodged Ouyang Na's sword strike. Inside the Guanwu Tower, Jai Ruoxi stared intently at Ao Yuan with her beautiful eyes. Beside Jai Ruoxi lay a voluptuous, veiled woman. Her body trembled slightly, and her breathing was disordered and weak, as if she had been seriously injured. In their exchange, Jai Ruoxi was the first to give in, breaking the deadlock by asking, Ao Yuan, what exactly do you want to do? What are you doing? Ao Yuan chuckled, then changed the subject sharply, his eyes gleaming as he questioned. Why don't you explain what you're up to with that native named Yiziu? Prince Ao Yuan, Yiziu and I are just ordinary friends. You can check for yourself if you don't believe me, Jai Ruoxi said angrily. The time she spent with Yiziu was the most relaxing time of her life. but she only treated Yi Ziu as a friend and did not do anything out of line. "Oh, just a friend. Then you wouldn't mind if I killed him, would you?" Ao Yuan looked at Jai Ryuoxi with a half-smile. "Prince Ao Yuan, you are a prince of the Dragon Clan. Don't you think it's beneath your dignity to argue with people from the lower realms?" "Identity? A lowly ant from the lower realm has an identity." Ao Yuan looked at Jai Ryuoxi with sharp eyes. Jai Ryuoxi opened her mouth, but still couldn't think of anything to refute Ao Yuan's words. Let alone people from the lower realms, even in the upper realms, ants are still ants. No one from the great emperor's lineage, the great sect of immortality, or the immortal forces would care about a tiny ant. "Come here," Ao Yuan shouted sternly. Jai Ryuoxi was only in her dragon form when Ao Yuan struck her, causing her to suffer internal injuries and turn pale. Jai Ryuoxi stared intently at Ao Yuan, standing stubbornly in place. She would not give in. Ao Yuan stretched out his right hand, and dragon energy surged. Jai Ryuoxi was like a rag doll, held in Ao Yuan's hand as if he were taking something from a distance. Her snow-white neck was completely unable to break free from Ao Yuan's hold. "The Taiyin body? I've heard that this physique is one of the most sought-after dual cultivation vessels among your human race, appearing only once every 10,000 years. Ao Yuan uttered a statement, or perhaps a question. Upon hearing this, Jai Ryuoxi immediately struggled, but to no avail. In order to resist the arranged marriage by her family, Jai Ryuoxi had been neglecting her cultivation since childhood, but she never expected that her past neglect would leave her powerless to resist now. Dragons are inherently lustful. This is a consensus across the 5 regions and 4 seas. When Ao Yuan uttered the words furnace, Jai Ryuoxi understood what Ao Yuan wanted to do. Faced with an absolute power gap, Jai Ryuoxi's struggles were completely futile. Instead, she resembled a playful little wildcat, which was quite adorable. Wang Chang, understanding the situation, dragged the half-dead Jai Ryuoxi, her protector, away from the pavilion. As she left, she also added several more restrictions to the Imperial Prince, ensuring that no one but her could see, perceive, or sense what was happening inside the pavilion. In the fighting arena below the attic, Yi Ziu and Ouyang Na clashed fiercely. As the battle progressed, Yi Ziu became increasingly alarmed, and the situation gradually turned against him. Ouyang Na held a top-grade magic weapon-level longsword, its blade gleaming with a cold light. Every swing of the sword carried a sharp sword aura, forcing Yi Ziu to remain constantly vigilant. The sturdy defensive force field formed by the low-grade spiritual weapon-level inner armor on Ouyang Na's body directly neutralized most of Yi Ziu's attacks, leaving Yi Ziu helpless. In addition, Yi Ziu also noticed that Ouyang Na was wearing a pair of boots that could increase speed, and had a hairpin in her hair that could increase the efficiency of spiritual energy recovery. With this series of equipment, Ouyang Na has both offensive and defensive capabilities, as well as high speed. At the same time, her spiritual energy recovery efficiency is extremely high, and she can still use various spiritual skills with ease even after fighting for a long time. Faced with such a strong equipment advantage from the opponent, Yi Ziu secretly groaned inwardly. Despite Yi Ziu's efforts, Ouyang Na's attacks came like a relentless tide, leaving him overwhelmed. In this fair duel, Yi Ziu was clearly at a disadvantage, in a difficult situation, and his defeat was becoming increasingly likely. Suddenly, Yi Ziu felt a sharp pain in his heart, as if something very important to him had completely disappeared. The ultimate storm, a brutal clash of winds and clouds. Ouyang Na seized Yi Ziu's weakness and launched a group attack spirit skill. Yi Ziu tried to dodge, but he couldn't evade it at all. The ultimate strike, with the help of group attacks to disrupt him, Ouyang Na landed her final blow on Yi Ziu head-on. Boom! Yi Ziu was instantly blasted off the arena. The battle off the field was lost. They lost the battle on the field too. Ding, Yi Ziu, the Chosen One, has failed in his 3-year challenge. The great Emperor Yi Ziu feels deeply humiliated and begins to doubt his own destiny. Yi Ziu's luck value drops by 50,000, and the host gains 500,000 villain points. Ding, Yi Ziu, the Chosen One, has lost his first opportunity, the yin body of Taiyin. Yi Ziu's luck value has decreased by 100,000, and the host has gained 1,000,000 villain points. Ding, Yi Ziu, the Chosen One, has lost the first female lead, Jai Ryuoxi, and a major helper in the early stages of the lower realm. Yi Ziu's luck value has decreased by 10,000, and the host has gained 100,000 villain points. Ding, Yi Ziu, the Chosen One, suffered a crushing defeat in his 3-year promise, failing to fulfill his commitment to the original owner, the original Yi Ziu. The original owner's obsession has intensified. Yiziu's compatibility with the body has decreased by 0.01%. Yiziu's luck has been reduced by 20,000, and the host has gained 200,000 villain points. Ding, Yiziu, the Chosen One, suffered a crushing defeat in his 3-year challenge, becoming a laughingstock and a cautionary tale for the righteous path. Yiziu's luck value has been reduced by 20,000, and the host has gained 200,000 villain points. 5 emotionless system announcers rang out, announcing that Yiziu, the Chosen One, had his luck value reduced by 200,000, while Aoyuan's villain value instantly increased by 200,000. Host's villain value, 2,010,000. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Gujarati, Uhulenus, letter A302. Chapter 145, Defeat Him. Did you see that? Your little lover lost. Aoyuan's sinister voice rang in Jai Ruoxi's ears. Jai Ruoxi closed her eyes wearily, her eyes slightly red. At this moment, she had no interest in caring about her useless body in the lower realm. Down in the attic, Aoyangna stood looking down at Yiziu, saying with utter disdain, "Yiziu, you've lost." Yiziu raised his head expressionlessly and said bluntly, "You took the 4 Extremes Dragon Transformation Pill, didn't you?" "The 4 Extremes Dragon Transformation Pill? I truly underestimated you. Tell me, how do you intend to punish me?" Yiziu looked at Aoyangna with neither servility nor arrogance. When Aoyangna revealed her cultivation level, several kinds of pills flashed through Yiziu's mind. After a fierce battle, Yiziu finally confirmed that the pill Aoyangna used was the 4 Extremes Dragon Transformation Pill. The Level 4 Dragon Transformation Pill allows cultivators in the 4 Extremes Secret Realm to quickly enter the Dragon Transformation Realm, but the cost is that their cultivation will not progress for the next 2 years. It will not damage their talent. Upon hearing Yiziu mention the name of that miraculous pill, Aoyangna's pupils constricted subconsciously. The 4 Extremes Dragon Transformation Pill is a pill that doesn't even exist in the lower realms. I never expected that this good-for-nothing Yiziu would actually know about its existence. Seeing Aoyangna's subconscious reaction, Yiziu confirmed his suspicions. People from the upper realm, the Yunshin sect has people from the upper realm behind it. The changes in the Great Kayan dynasty were indeed caused by people from the upper realm. However, there were still a few things Yiziu couldn't understand. Why was this upper realm force targeting him? Enemies from a past life? That's unlikely. If his enemies from his past life knew about his rebirth, the one who would come would be the great emperor with imperial weapons. If it's not those guys from my past life, then who could it be? Surely it's not some idle young lady from the upper realm making fun of me. 4 Extremes Dragon Transformation Pill. What kind of pill is that? Has anyone heard of it? I don't know. I've been in the pill-making industry for decades, and I've never heard of such a pill being produced by the Alchemist Association, replied a cultivator who sold pills. That's strange. How did Yiziu know about this pill that even the Alchemist Association doesn't have? A meticulous cultivator noticed the key point. I think this bastard is trying to cheat, to name a pill that no one in the world has ever heard of, and then accuse the Yunshin sect of cheating. What a convenient excuse. That excuse is probably untenable, a member of the family retorted. This competition doesn't say that taking pills is prohibited. The Yunshin sect is rich, so it's not unusual for them to take some pills. Brother, you don't understand. Yunshin sect is a major sect, and Aoyangna is the young sect leader of Yunshin sect. If she takes pills before the competition, Yunshin sect will be in a position of being in the wrong. If Yunshin sect makes too harsh demands at this time, its reputation will inevitably be affected. Winning unfairly, bullying the weak, and abusing power, with this string of accusations, even the Yunshin sect won't be happy. Another cultivator chimed in. Isn't this just moral blackmail? A naive young man from a wealthy family said indignantly. Yiziu is truly cunning. Cripple him? Suddenly, a voice transmission exploded in Aoyangna's mind. Aoyangna understood that this was the request of that person, and she had to comply. Aoyangna raised her head, her eyes indifferent, and said, Yiziu, you should cripple your cultivation. What? Yiziu stared at Aoyangna in astonishment. He should cripple his own cultivation. Aoyangna actually wants him to cripple his own cultivation. Is that something a human being should say? Yiziu, didn't you say I could make any request? My request is that you cripple your cultivation in public right now, Aoyangna calmly repeated. The surrounding audience looked horrified. Cultivation is the most fundamental thing for a cultivator to establish themselves and secure their livelihood. In some ways, Cultivation is even more important than one's parents. Destroying one's cultivation is tantamount to cutting off their future, and also depriving them of the ability to protect themselves. No one would agree to something like this. Ziur, don't agree to her, please don't agree. Yiziu's biological father shouted anxiously. His son Yiziu had finally managed to cultivate, and he absolutely refused to let the Yunchen sect ask his son to abandon his cultivation. Young Master Yi, don't agree to such an unreasonable request. Tang Chuan, who needed Yiziu to refine pills to heal his injuries, was also getting anxious. Brother Yiziu, you mustn't agree to this wicked woman's request. Yiziner shouted loudly, her face flushed. Yiziu, please don't do anything foolish. An elder of the Yi family shouted anxiously. Yiziu stared at Ouyang Ne with a grim expression. His fists clenched, and for the first time, killing intent erupted in his heart. Yiziu, are you going to go back on your word? Elder Pan Feng stood beside Ouyang Ne with a stern expression. Yiziu clenched his fists tightly, constantly thinking of a solution. It wouldn't be difficult for him to escape, but he couldn't guarantee the safety of Yi Huangsu and the others, especially since Yi Huangsu was his current father. Yiziu wouldn't abandon these people unless absolutely necessary. Fulfilling the original owner's last wish was a promise he made when he obtained this body, and it was also his pride as an emperor. If he failed to do so, his Dao heart would be incomplete, making it difficult for him to achieve Dao. Yiziu, wait a little longer. For a moment, the game reached a stalemate. Are you even a man? Have you no guts to say something? I think he just wants to break his promise, but he's afraid the Grand Elder of Yunchen sect will cripple him. How can you say that? This is the most fundamental thing for cultivators. It's understandable that they want to end up like this. HMPH, refusal. If you knew this would happen, why did you make such a boastful statement in the first place? When you were showing off, why didn't you think about the possibility of losing? I think this scoundrel is just a coward. He doesn't dare to waste his cultivation, but he still cares about his reputation. He's hypocritical. They can't keep their promises, yet they say they'll accept whatever punishment they're given. They'll never regret it. They'll never seek revenge. But in the end, they don't even have the courage to kneel down and beg for mercy. That's right. If you really can't accept it, even kneeling down and begging for mercy is better than standing still. I don't know if he was born of a mother but not raised by one. He's so young, yet he has no integrity. He's a disgrace to the cultivators of my great Kayan dynasty. I don't think the Yi family is any good either. I won't take any more business from Longjin. If you don't answer, then I won't answer either. They don't even have the most basic integrity. Doing business with them is like asking a tiger for its skin. You never know when you might get ripped off. Countless harsh words fell into the ears of Yiziu and his group. Yiziu was fine. After all, he was an emperor, and his mental fortitude was truly remarkable. Yi Huangsu was so angry that his face turned red, and Yi Ziner, who was standing next to him, was too ashamed to look at the others. Tang Chuan looked for Yun Potion's location, and found that Yun Potion was not there. Iron King, let's join forces later to stop the Cloud Mountain sect elder for young friend Yi and create a way out for him, Tang Chuan suggested via telepathy. How confident are you? Iron King asked telepathically. I brought Tang family hidden weapons, and with your help, even if Yun Potion arrives, I'm at least 80% confident I can escape unscathed, Tang Chuan quickly replied. What about the Yi family? Tai Wang continued to ask. Yiziu is Yi Huangsu's son after all. I don't think he would refuse. Tang Chuan sighed and continued to spread the word. Yunchen sect is a reputable sect after all. Now that it is aligned with the actual controller of the Dacian dynasty, even if the Yi family falls into their hands, at most they will suffer some physical pain during their house arrest, but there won't be any major problems. All right, after thinking for a moment, Tai Wang finally agreed to Tang Chuan's suggestion. He needed Yiziu to concoct elixirs to revive his wife. He couldn't allow Yiziu's cultivation to be crippled. Watch my signal, Tang Chuan telepathically told Tai Wang. All right, Iron King replied telepathically. Next, Tang Chuan repeated the same tactic, explaining the pros and cons to Yiziu's father, Yi Huangsu, and asking Yi Huangsu to run away with his men when they made their move. Yi Huangsu did not object. Yiziu, make your move. So many people are watching. You're not planning to back out, are you? Ouyang Ne urged coldly. Yiziu remained motionless, his internal secret technique beginning to brew. Yiziu, run! Tang Chuan suddenly sprang into action, several poison needles attacking Elder Pan Feng and Ouyang Ne with lightning speed. Chapter 146. A flick of a finger shatters a passionate dream. Not good. Elder Pan Feng's expression changed drastically. He quickly grabbed Ouyang Ne beside him, and then retreated rapidly. Ouyang Ne was startled by the sudden attack. Before she could react, a powerful gust of wind rushed towards her. Iron King is carefree and unrestrained, a lone wolf who lives on the edge of a knife, with the cultivation level of the 5th level of the Dragon Transformation Realm. Elder Pan Feng met the attack head-on with his fist. Fist to fist, Iron King was instantly knocked back dozens of steps, while Elder Pan Feng only retreated 5 steps. Elders form the formation, the first elder roared in a deep voice. The elders of Yunshan sect all took to the air. Blue wood entanglement, Tang Chuan roared. Giant vines instantly sprouted from Tang Chuan's body, and in a short while, the vines, which had anticipated this, instantly entangled most of the Yunshan sect elders. Insolence, one of the elders roared in anger. The vines on his body snapped instantly. Heavenly explosion, poison flower needle. Tang Chuan seamlessly transitioned into another attack on the Yunshan sect elder who had broken free of the vines. You audacious scoundrel, prepare to die. The winds and clouds reached their peak, and the fallen return. Yun Potion suddenly appeared out of nowhere. His speed was unbelievable, as if he had instantly traversed space and rushed directly towards Tang Chuan. Tang Chuan's heart tightened, and the hairs on his body stood on end as a strong sense of impending death surged into his mind. He knew that this attack would be a matter of life and death, and if he could not withstand it, the consequences would be unimaginable. What a miserable situation! Tang Chuan thought to himself with a sneer, then turned and ran. You audacious scoundrel, don't run away if you have the guts. Fight our sect leader. The trapped elders, who had been ambushed by Tang Chuan, cursed loudly. Tang Chuan's fighting spirit greatly diminished, and he exerted all his strength to fly wildly towards the outside of Yunshan sect. This move left the 100,000 viewers wide-eyed in disbelief. Kick the sect. That's it. The Tang family is truly a disgrace to our great Kayan cultivation world. Covering Eyes JPG. He doesn't cultivate proper Taoist practices, but instead engages in all sorts of low-class tricks. He's hard to judge. Those lowly creatures were all beaten to a pulp by Sect Master Yun, ha. The audience discussed the matter with great interest, while Tang Chuan, the person involved, wandered around aimlessly. Boom! Suddenly, a figure shattered the sword energy that pierced the sky, sending dust and smoke billowing everywhere. Yun Potion slowly stopped. Friend, do you also want to cause trouble in my Yunshan sect? I am Yi Ziu. As the smoke cleared, a familiar figure appeared before everyone's eyes. It was none other than Yi Ziu. Yi Ziu, Yun Potion was somewhat shocked. Yi Ziu had just been defeated by his beloved disciple, yet now he had blocked one of his killing moves. You old dog, Yun Potion, how about we stop here? Yi Ziu demanded without any politeness. He hadn't used his secret technique before because he wanted to see what level the geniuses of the lower realm were at. Unexpectedly, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his heart and carelessly revealed a flaw, which is why he was blasted out of the arena by that little wench, Ouyang Ne. A frustrating loss. Yi Ziu is now using secret techniques, and even burning his blood energy to prove his strength to the world. He withstood the famous killing move of Yun Potion, the sect leader of Yunshan sect, with his bare body, and suppressed Yun Potion with a single punch. Such a record is enough to prove his strength. Given this scene, most people would probably think that his previous loss was deliberately let Ouyang Ne win. With a single punch that subdued Yun Potion, how could he not defeat a mere Ouyang Ne? His heroic spirit of fighting against the strongest man in the great Kayan dynasty, for his friend will naturally spread far and wide, making him famous. Furthermore, his actions can be seen as fulfilling his promise to the original owner, and presumably the original owner's obsession will dissipate after this incident. Completely resolve the hidden dangers of this body. A win-win situation. Secret technique. Your secret technique is quite good. Hand it over and I, the sect master, may treat you leniently. Yun Potion looked at Yi Ziu with an icy voice. Yi Ziu's secret technique was secondary. Yun Potion's main goal was to capture Yi Ziu, make a name for himself in front of that important person, and let that person see his value. You are not worthy of my secret techniques. Yi Ziu looked down at Yun Potion with the air of a superior, as if he were an ant. Oh, Yun Potion smiled. Then let's see who's the best. The ultimate storm, annihilation. The winds and clouds reach their peak, and the heavens are lifted. The winds and clouds reach their peak. The swallows return. In a short while, Yun Potion unleashed 3 moves of the Yunshan sect's ultimate technique. Ha, Yi Ziu laughed wildly. Well done. Yi Ziu neither dodged nor avoided, but strode forward, his fist techniques wide and sweeping. the most common kind of turtle fist. Boom, bang, boom. Yi Xiu's fist techniques were wide and powerful, and he used his fists to shatter Yun Potion's sword light technique and repel Yun Potion, who rushed forward. The ancient sacred body is terrifying beyond belief. Holy crap, Yi Xiu is incredibly powerful, one of the spectators exclaimed in amazement. Could Yi Xiu possess some kind of special sacred body? Some people began to speculate. A sacred body? Even if it is a sacred body, it can't be this terrifying, another cultivator retorted. Indeed, at such a young age, even a successor of a holy land would probably be unable to confront a veteran dragon transformation expert head-on, someone else chimed in. It needs to be corrected that 3 years ago, this boy was just an ordinary person who had not even reached the blood transformation realm. His actual cultivation time was at most only 3 years. My God, Yi Xiu's talent is simply terrifying. To have gained such strength in just 3 years, what kind of monster is he? Everyone was shocked. Hearing the world's amazement and seeing the world's shock, Yi Xiu, caught in the vortex of battle, grew stronger with each fight, and his fist and leg techniques became increasingly powerful and swift. Seeing Yi Xiu growing stronger with each battle, Yun Potion's expression turned serious, and his attacks became even more ferocious. The winds and clouds reached their peak, the heavens collapse. The ultimate storm, a brutal clash of winds and clouds. Triple wave sword technique. Yun Potion felt the pressure and recklessly unleashed his spiritual techniques on Yi Xiu. Heavenly music, taking advantage of Yi Xiu's speed being controlled. Yun Potion unleashed his most powerful attack. The powerful sword intent instantly stirred up the wind and clouds, and even the space itself could not withstand it. A terrifying killing intent instantly enveloped the entire Yunshan sect. It was so intense that all the audience members couldn't breathe. No, Yi Zinner screamed. Zior, Yi Huangsu cried out, tears streaming down his face. Yi Xiu, Iron King cried out in despair, looking up at the sky. A torrent of sword intent descended in an instant. Boom! The world lost its color. The 100,000 spectators didn't dare to breathe, and the entire space fell into a deathly silence. Is it over? After an unknown amount of time, a voice from a spectator broke the silence. No one answered. The world is still reeling from that earth-shattering sword strike. Cough, cough, suddenly 2 coughs. Yi Xiu stood up again. Yi Xiu stood up from the ruins. Yi Xiu, covered in blood, got up again. Yun Potion, I'm not dead yet. Yi Xiu's powerful voice echoed through the valley. He is Yi Xiu, he is the great emperor. He is the unparalleled figure who dominates the central plains. How could a mere lower realm, a tiny Yunshan sect, and a mere Yun Potion possibly stop his advance? In this life, he has friends who truly care for him, a cousin who is genuinely good to him, and a father who truly loves him. For them, for Yuan Yi Xiu, for himself, and for the millions of people who support him, he cannot fall, nor will he fall. And that silly, simple-minded Jai Ruoxi, how could his life just end like this? Clouds break through the sky. Yi Xiu uttered a vow that struck straight to the soul. He, Yi Xiu, the great Emperor Yi Xiu, is also a mortal Yi Xiu. Today, he will use his 4 extremes body and his ancient sacred body to let the world know what it means to be invincible. It's time to end this. A light, airy voice came from all directions. The next moment, Yi Xiu collapsed. There was a small hole in my lower abdomen, but not much blood came out. This is the Danshan in the human body, which is the foundation of human cultivation. Now it's broken. Yi Xiu lay on the ground, looking at the towering figure in the sky that seemed like an immortal. As powerful as an emperor, he could only helplessly shed 2 tears of blood. The ancient dragon clan of the void, very good. So that's how it is. So the person behind the Cloud Mountain sect is actually the overlord of the eastern wilderness, the Dragon Palace. He hated it. It's over. I'm really unwilling to accept this. Yi Xiu closed his eyes with a bitter smile. In the end, it all comes down to death, and the annihilation of one's spiritual essence. Yun Potion, throw this troublemaker in jail and retry him the next day, Ao Yuan ordered indifferently. Yes, sir. Yun Potion knelt on one knee, respectfully accepting the order. As Ao Yuan finished speaking, the sudden commotion in the void vanished instantly. Luck, Ao Yuan murmured to himself. Just as the system said, Yi Xiu is still not dead. If Ao Yuan had made a move just now, the turbulent currents in the void would have erupted without warning, and then he would have vanished into thin air along with Yi Xiu. Take Yi Xiu to some unexplored secret realm, or to some pure and kind race, or even to a powerful force that has discovered internal strife, etc. The subsequent plot will definitely involve a beautiful and kind female rescuing Yi Xiu, taking good care of him, then encountering a crisis. Yi Xiu reverting to his heroic self, and then willingly offering himself in return. Ding, the host, publicly defeated Yi Xiu, the chosen one, causing Yi Xiu to feel despair and powerlessness for the first time. Yi Xiu's first attempt to enter the Cloud Mountain sect failed. His attempt to show off and slap faces failed. Yi Xiu's luck value decreased by 100,000, and the host gained 1,000,000 villain points. Ding, Yi Xiu, the chosen one, has had his cultivation crippled and is imprisoned. His early opportunities were chaotic, and he has fallen behind all other spirits in the Great Conquest. Yi Xiu's luck value has plummeted by 30,000, and the host has gained 300,000 villain points. Ding, Yi Xiu, the chosen one, suffered a crushing defeat in front of his family and followers. His prestige has declined. Yi Xiu's luck value has decreased by 1,000, and the host has gained 10,000 villain points. Only 131,000 villains are worth it. Truly worthy of being called an emperor, his Dao heart skin is so solid, thick. Ao Yuan sighed. I only lost this much luck after being crippled. It seems I have no choice but to try to win him over psychologically. Ao Yuan thought to himself. There are too many opportunities in the great struggle for the world, and it is difficult to block them. Even if they are blocked, Yi Xiu, as the great emperor, can still rise rapidly on his own. Shadow Isle above the northern plains, flowing sand river beneath the central plains, sacred ruins deep in the eastern wilderness, paradise in the 10,000 mountains of the southern ridge, and the endless sea of sand beneath the western desert. There are countless extraordinary places like this in the world. Even in this lower realm, it is known that there is an entrance to the 9 netherworlds and an ancient portal to the Sea of No Worries hidden within, not to mention the unknown things. In this great age, the Chosen One is truly a treasure-hunting rat. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Symbol 335. Chapter 147. Want to save Yi Xiu? Simple, just pay up. After Yi Xiu lost the ability to resist, the remaining rebels were arrested one by one, including Yi family members who came to watch the commotion. The next morning, Yun Potion arrived early with a report, requesting an audience. My lord, is this a list of forces colluding with Yi Xiu? Yun Potion respectfully handed over the list of forces colluding with Yi Xiu. Ao Yuan took the list, which included many powerful figures. The Tang family, the Yi family, Lingfeng Valley, Hexalus Auction House, Zhao Family Town. There are 13 factions in total, large and small. My lord, how should we deal with these forces? Yun Potion asked cautiously. According to the new law, those who support Yi Xiu will have their homes confiscated, the men will be enslaved and exiled, and the women will be sent to the brothels. Ao Yuan made the decision coldly. Yes, sir. Upon receiving the instructions, Yun Potion quickly arranged for his men to take action. Your Highness, what should we do with Jai Ruoxi's protector? Wang Chang whispered in Ao Yuan's ear. Wang Chang's teasing caused Ao Yuan's suppressed anger to surge instantly. Ao Yuan pulled Wang Chang into his arms. Looking at Wang Chang's perfect face, Ao Yuan laughed and said, Wang Chang, you're getting bolder and bolder. Wang Chang stared intently at Ao Yuan with a smile, without answering. After their lovemaking, Ao Yuan whispered in Wang Chang's ear the outcome of the punishment for Jai Ruoxi's protectors. Extracting souls to create puppets. Wang Chang carefully noted down the requirements of the Imperial Prince Ao Yuan. After changing her clothes, she teleported to the room where Jai Ruoxi and Jai Zioling were imprisoned. Jai Ruoxi lay on the bed with empty eyes, while Jai Zioling, whose cultivation had been sealed, stood by her side, filled with self-reproach. What do you want to do? Jai Zioling stood up warily. She didn't know the true background of this dragon woman, only that her cultivation was above hers. Wang Chang looked at the half-saint woman with indifferent eyes. She had searched Jai Zioling's soul before and knew Jai Zioling's identity. Jai Zioling is Jai Ruoxi's playmate and nanny, arranged by Jai Ruoxi's mother. She is 597 years old and has a semi-saint cultivation level achieved through the accumulation of elixirs. His cultivation level was suppressed to the great perfection of venerable by the laws of the lower realm, but he was more than capable of protecting Jai Ruoxi there. Unfortunately, Jai Zioling was facing off against Wang Chang, the great sage of the Dragon Clan, who possessed a treasure that granted immunity from the laws of magic. Before she could even see Wang Chang's face clearly, she was slapped to death and watched helplessly as her young mistress, Jai Ruoxi, fell into the hands of the Dragon Clan's imperial prince, Ao Yuan. Wang Chang didn't speak to Jai Zioling. With a gentle tug of her jade hand, Jai Zioling's curvaceous body was uncontrollably thrown into Wang Chang's hand. Senior, I am the maid of Jai Ruoxi, the princess of the Jai family. My young lady is engaged to a noble prince. Please calm down and give me a chance to explain, Jai Zioling shouted in a panic. It doesn't matter if she dies, but Miss Jai Ruoxi must not be harmed. I know Jai Ruoxi, Wang Chang said with a soft smile. I know him, Jai Zioling was shocked. Why did the Dragon Clan's imperial prince issue this order? Jai Zioling had many questions in her mind. Wang Chang didn't explain to Jai Zioling. She decisively extracted Jai Zioling's soul and sealed it into the teacup on the table. Seeing this, Jai Ruoxi, who was lying on the bed, finally stopped hanging up. She was emotional and shouted angrily at Wang Chang, "Why did you kill my Aunt Ling?" Slap! Wang Chang slapped him across the face. A noticeable handprint appeared on Jai Ruoxi's fair and delicate chin. Yingsheng held back. Wang Chang was not a maid arranged by Ao Gu, the patriarch of the Dragon Clan, for his son. Instead, she was the Empress Ao Yuan, was chosen by Ao Gu from within the clan, and one of Ao Yuan's future empresses. From the moment Ao Yuan was born from the dragon nest, Wang Chang was selected by the Dragon Elders Council and sent to Ao Yuan's mother for training. Later, she went to Ao Yuan's side to learn how to handle Dragon Clan politics. How could the Dragon Clan allow the Jai family's imperial daughter to obtain the primordial yang of the Dragon Clan's imperial son? Before descending to the mortal realm, Dragon Emperor Ao Gu secretly instructed Wang Chang to capture Ao Yuan and achieve enlightenment. As for Jai Ruoxi, if she obediently marries into the Dragon Clan, she will naturally have the status of an empress, and she will not lack cultivation resources. However, the Dragon Clan will never allow Jai Ruoxi to interfere in its affairs. The Jai family was aware of this, and the Jai family emperor was very pleased. The purpose of the marriage alliance between the Jai family and the Dragon Clan was to obtain the Dragon Clan emperor's blessing upon Jai Ryu, so as to protect the Jai family from being destroyed by other emperors' lineages during the Great World Struggle. For this, the Jai family emperor also provided a very generous amount of resources. In exchange for benefits, the Dragon Clan also provided the Jai family with a lot of resources and promised the Jai family's prodigies 3 opportunities to enter the Dragon Pool, helping the Jai family cultivate the seeds of an emperor. In the great struggles of the world, many imperial lineages choose to unite and form alliances through marriage, as this is the most reliable form of cooperation. Wang Chang glanced indifferently at Jai Ruoxi, then, carrying Jai Zioling's body and soul, tore through space and left. Jai Ruoxi stared blankly at this scene, not understanding why Ao Yuan would do such a thing. She did nothing wrong, so why did Ao Yuan treat her like this? The Emperor's Prince, Wang Chang called out jokingly. Is everything done? Ao Yuan asked with a smile. Wang Chang handed over the cup containing Jai Zioling's soul, deliberately complaining. All you ever do is order people around. Ao Yuan's smile froze, and he comforted her with an apologetic smile. All right, I'll give Sister Yingsheng a break right away so she can take good care of herself. This Yingsheng is actually quite cute. HMPH, Wang Chang turned her head away haughtily. She felt incredibly proud. It's so much fun to tease my little husband every now and then. Long ago, Wang Chang had obtained permission from her mother not to tell Ao Yuan about her true relationship with him. She then asked her father, Emperor Ao Gu, to send her to be Ao Yuan's maid, just to tease her little husband, Ao Yuan. 2 months ago, Wang Chang was taken down by Ao Yuan, which was of course intentional on her own. Otherwise, how could Ao Yuan have succeeded so smoothly? It should be noted that Wang Chang herself is a top genius of the Dragon Clan. She has reached the mid-stage of the Great Sage realm in just over 2,666 years since her birth. During this period, Wang Chang also had to learn a lot of knowledge and skills that were essential for emperors and empresses. In total, Wang Chang's cultivation time was only a little over 1,000 years. A dragon is 1 year old every 100 years, so Wang Chang is considered very young among the dragons. Let me go, I'm innocent. What right do you have to arrest me? An elderly woman from the Yi family struggled frantically. The soldier rushed up and shoved a large object into his hand, yelling, "What's all the noise about? You'll find out what crimes you've committed when you get to the capital." After being given a severe beating, the old woman of the Yi family immediately quieted down, and the other members of the Yi family obediently put on shackles and leg irons and entered the detention vehicle. Yi Ziu, it must be Yi Ziu. It must be that little bastard Yi Ziu who dragged us down, a middle-aged woman angrily guessed. Yes, it must be that little bastard Yi Ziu. He was lawless in Wulong town. He must have offended some big shot to drag my Yi family down with him, Yi Ziu's uncle said indignantly. What's all the noise about? Be quiet, a soldier warned impatiently. Upon seeing the menacing spirit condensation realm elite soldiers, the Yi family members immediately fell silent. After all, they didn't want to get into trouble. Inside the dungeon of the Yunshin sect, Yi Zinner tirelessly pounded on her cell, shouting repeatedly, "Why are you arresting me? What right do you have to arrest me?" The temporary prison guards, munching on sunflower seeds, pointed and whispered about Yi Zinner and the others as if they were monkeys, occasionally sharing other gossip to relieve their boredom. Yi Huangsu was locked up on the other side. Unlike Yi Zinner, who was lively and energetic, he sat quietly on the ground with his hair gray. Quiet, a powerful voice suddenly rang out. The jailer and Yi Zinner were startled, and the dungeon fell silent instantly. Immediately afterwards, Yun Potion's obsequious voice came again. "My lord, please come this way." The dungeon was very clean and tidy, without a speck of dust, clearly an arrangement by Yun Potion. Amid everyone's curiosity, Yun Potion appeared in the dungeon with a distinguished alien lord. Yi Zinner recognized him at a glance. He shattered Yi Ziu's big bad guy with a single finger. Although 5 days had passed, Yi Zinner still remembered it very clearly. Contrary to her usual behavior, Yi Zinner didn't say anything harsh to this big bad guy, but quietly looked at this alien creature that looked a lot like a dragon from legend. Ao Yuan glanced at Yun Potion, who immediately understood. He waved for the temporary jailers to leave the dungeon, then bowed to Ao Yuan and took his leave. After everyone left, Ao Yuan walked up to Yi Zinner. Yi Zinner immediately knelt down. "My lord, please spare brother Yi Ziu's life. Whatever you want, I will grant it to you." Seeing Yi Zinner's actions, Ao Yuan was somewhat surprised, but he quickly understood. Ordinary lower-class humans have an innate fear of other races, but many humans both fear and worship dragons. Yi Zinner's behavior is actually quite normal. "You want to save Yi Ziu?" Ao Yuan asked indifferently. Yes, please forgive brother Yi Ziu this time, sir. I will compensate for the losses suffered by Yunshin sect," Yi Zinner said, trembling. Ao Yuan smiled and kindly suggested, "There is a provision in the dynasty's laws that allows for reduced sentences or exemption from punishment by spending spirit stones. If you want to save Yi Ziu, you need to gather the spirit stones before his execution in the autumn. The implication is, want to save Yi Ziu? Easy, get out." Upon hearing that Yi Ziu could be saved, Yi Zinner was overjoyed, without considering how many spirit stones it would take to spare Yi Ziu from the death penalty. Chapter 148, Yi Zinner enters the music bureau. Yi Ziu successfully escapes from prison. "Great, divine dragon, how many spirit stones are needed to waive the fee for brother Yi Ziu?" Yi Zinner asked, mustering her courage. Yi Zinner's voice trembled slightly, and her eyes were full of nervousness. Ao Yuan thought for a moment, then quoted a price that wasn't too high, 130,000 spirit stones. Ao Yuan spoke calmly, as if it were just an ordinary number. 130,000. Yi Zinner's eyes widened. She hadn't expected it to be so much. However, Yi Zinner was not intimidated by the huge compensation. She nodded solemnly and said, "Lord Divine Dragon, may I write a letter to have my family send spirit stones over?" 13,000 spirit stones is indeed a considerable sum for ordinary people. But the Yi family, as a small family with some strength, can still afford to spend that amount of spirit stones if they tighten their belts. Ao Yuan shook his head and kindly reminded him. The Yi family was seized the day before yesterday, and their property has been auctioned off to repair and compensate Yunshin sect for its losses. You won't get any spirit stones by writing a letter. Upon hearing this news, Yi Zinner's face turned pale, tears welled up in her eyes, and she was so anxious that she was about to cry. "Lord Divine Dragon, could you please give me some time? I will definitely gather the spirit stones to absolve brother Yi Ziu of his punishment." Her voice was filled with pleading and determination, captivating all who heard it. Ao Yuan deliberately put on a thoughtful expression and finally suggested, "You can go to the Jia Fangxi, a government-run entertainment venue, where you can gather enough spirit stones in a short time." The Imperial Music Bureau. How could Yi Zinner not know what the Imperial Music Bureau was? If she went in, how could she face her brother Yi Ziu in the future? But if she didn't go, her brother Yi Ziu would be executed in the autumn. To go or not to go, this is an incredibly difficult choice. In the distance, Yi Huangsu silently lowered his head. He clearly heard the conversation between this alien lord and Yi Zinner, but between Yi Zinner and his son Yi Ziu, he chose his son Yi Ziu. Yi Zinner is not a member of the Yi family. She was found by Yi Huangsu when he went out. At that time, Yi Ziu's mother, Luo Wangqing, was still alive. After discussing it, the two decided to adopt the baby girl. Yi Zinner, it's all my fault for wronging you. Just consider it repaying the Yi family's kindness. I'll definitely find you a good family to marry into. Yi Huangsu kept blaming himself in his heart. Beep, special female lead detected, Yi Zinner. Yi Zinner, possessing the 9 Yin Supreme Body and the 9 Netherworld Supreme Reincarnation Body, she underwent reincarnation after consuming the elixir of immortality, the reincarnation flower. Currently in her 9th reincarnation, having completed 9 lifetimes, she will break through the vastness of existence, evolving into the 9 Netherworld Reincarnation Sacred Body, and directly attaining the status of a Supreme Emperor. The Supreme Being of the 9 Netherworlds, the great Emperor of the Pinnacle, truly deserves to be called the Chosen One. Every woman around him is extraordinary. It seems the plan needs to be changed, Ao Yuan thought to himself. Originally, Ao Yuan planned to send Yi Zinner to the brothel to undermine Yi Ziu's Dao heart. But now that he has learned of Yi Zinner's other identity, his plan has changed. The Dao fruit of a supreme emperor, if word got out, even the great emperors would go crazy. Moreover, Yi Zinner can also be used as a furnace or cauldron. If used properly, it is not impossible to use Yi Zinner to comprehend the true meaning of reincarnation. Yi Zinner, come with me. Ao Yuan's indifferent voice rang out, seemingly carrying an irresistible force. Oh, Yi Zinner was slightly taken aback, then nodded dejectedly. Her eyes were dull and lifeless, as if she had lost all hope and vitality. She knew that her fate was sealed and could not be changed. I'm sorry, brother Yi Ziu. Tears slowly streamed down Yi Zinner's face. She tried her best to control her emotions, but she couldn't help but cry. The crystal-clear tears slid down her cheeks, dripping onto the ground and splashing up tiny flowers. Ao Yuan clearly sensed this, but he neither offered comfort nor interfered further. Whether it was Jai Ruoxi, the princess of the Jai family, or Yi Zinner, the supreme ruler of the 9 netherworlds, in Ao Yuan's eyes, they were both potential furnaces. When they lose their effectiveness, Ao Yuan will strike with his sword, especially against the 9 netherworld supreme. As a peerless figure who has lived 3 lifetimes, her mind is not so simple. How could she not take revenge on Ao Yuan after he schemed against her like that? Ao Yuan is not Yi Ziu. He has a golden halo that makes you stupid, no matter if you are an emperor or a supreme being. In the future trajectory, Yi Ziu used his great perfection holy body to kill the Jai family emperor with a flurry of punches. Then, several supreme beings came out together, wanting to take the opportunity to devour Yi Ziu's blood essence and life force. As a result, the 9 Nether Emperor emerged from the 9 Netherlands, and with the talent of a supreme emperor, annihilated several supreme beings, becoming famous throughout the 5 domains. From then on, everyone knew that the great accomplished sacred body was protected by the supreme emperor, the 9 Nether Emperor. Thinking of all this, Ao Yuan was even more worried about Yi Zinner leaving his sight. Upon returning to the upper realm, Ao Yuan immediately requested the help of the clan's supreme emperor to eliminate Yi Zinner, this potential threat. There are no fewer than 20 supreme emperors hidden deep within their clan's territory, but most of them are in a state of self-imposed slumber, with only one maintaining constant vitality and taking turns on duty. The dragon race has a long lifespan. Even the lifespan of a dragon emperor is 100 times that of a human emperor. Over countless eras, the number of dragon emperors far exceeds that of ordinary races. Besides the dragon clan, there are also the Vermilion Bird clan of Nanaming in the southern ridge, the Phoenix clan of the Undying Mountain in the southern frontier of the eastern wilderness, the Divine Beast Alliance of the extreme Iceland in the northern plains, the Killen clan of the Reclusive Land in the central plains. Many ancient clans have accumulated numerous great emperors. Let us wait together for the immortal path to be revived, and for us to conquer the immortal realm. Deep within the dungeon of the Yunshan sect, Yi Ziu sat cross-legged on the cold ground with his eyes closed, without a trace of spiritual energy emanating from him, like a still statue. Has this good-for-nothing lost his mind too? He's already crippled, yet he's meditating, thinking he can still cultivate. A temporary jailer in charge of guarding the dungeon stood at the entrance, watching Yi Ziu's figure, and couldn't help but complain. That goes without saying. It's obvious he suffered too much trauma and went insane. Another guard chimed in. Who told him to show off and cause trouble at the Yunshin sect? Now he's a laughingstock. The third jailer laughed gleefully. I thought it was some hidden dragon emerging from the abyss, but it turns out to be a tiny bug that can't even withstand a finger's weight, ha ha ha. The fourth jailer laughed so hard he almost fell over. Showing off always comes at a price. The fifth jailer sighed, shaking his head. As the old saying goes, those who show off will be struck by lightning. That must be what they're talking about. The sixth jailer suddenly blurted out a refined-sounding remark. Ha ha ha, showing off will get you struck by lightning. I didn't expect you to be a cultured man, brother. The first jailer laughed and patted the sixth jailer on the shoulder. Not at all, I just enjoy reading ancient texts. Come, come, let's drink. Let's drink. The sixth jailer waved his hand modestly, then picked up his wine cup and drank it all in one gulp. Today, we won't leave until we're drunk. The other prison guards raised their glasses and joined in the drinking. Despite these harsh taunts, Yiziu remained unmoved, as if he were a dead man. Unbeknownst to everyone, a vortex of spiritual energy was slowly forming in Yiziu's danchan and growing stronger. The ancient dragon clan of the void, sparing my life is your biggest mistake. I, Yiziu, swear I will not rest until I avenge this. Yiziu secretly vowed in his heart. As an emperor, Yiziu has 100 ways to recover his cultivation level. This is the foundation of his status as an emperor. Being crippled is nothing to stop Yiziu's rise to power. As long as he doesn't die, he will definitely rise again and return to his peak. This is the confidence he has as an emperor. The heavenly heart mark. I wonder how much time has passed in the upper realm, whether the heavenly heart mark has reformed after my death, or whether it has been refined by a new Taoist. Yiziu sighed helplessly. The heavenly heart mark is a special object nurtured by heaven and earth, and it is the key to becoming a great emperor. Every million years, 10 heavenly heart marks will be born in each heavenly realm. 10,000 years after the emperor's unexpected death, the heavenly mark will return to the world. In addition, some extraordinary places in the world will also give birth to the heavenly heart mark, but the time of birth is not fixed. Sometimes it can be born after millions of years, and sometimes it will not be born after millions or even tens of millions of years. Its main characteristic is its capriciousness. However, the extraordinary places where heavenly heart marks can be born are all occupied by super races. The remaining unclaimed places are basically either places where heavenly heart marks have never been born, or places with harsh environments or insufficient resources, making them unmanageable. Why am I thinking about all this nonsense? Even without the heavenly heart imprint, my great completion sacred body can still fight against great emperors. I refuse to believe I can't get a heavenly heart imprint and see what happens. Yiziu smiled wryly, clearing his mind of distractions, and continued to accumulate spiritual energy. As an emperor, I naturally have many secret techniques for preserving my life, but for a mortal body, the price is indeed too high. But this is the only way. If we don't leave now, who knows if that silly ancient dragon of the Taixu clan will suddenly have someone chop me up. Yiziu shook his head. Father, I will definitely come back to save you. Yiziu vowed in his heart. Accumulate spiritual energy. Secret technique, great transformation, return to escape. With a whoosh, Yiziu was gone. At the same time, an old man from the Heavenly Mystery Pavilion in Zhangzhou stepped out of the Heavenly Mystery Heart. The secret of heaven points to the east. The old man of heavenly secrets uttered 2 words. The east, isn't that the dragon clan's territory? Are we going there to our deaths? A prodigy from the Central Plains said dejectedly. The dragon clans Taixu ancient dragon clans Ao Yuan, the Phoenix clan's 9-colored divine Phoenix consort, the human clan's Ma family's Ma Hua, the Damatian dynasty's angel clan's 6-winged angel Kale. This era in the eastern wilderness is teeming with monstrous talents. If we went there, wouldn't we be beaten to death by these people united? A Central Plains prodigy said helplessly. What's the point of making any money this way? Anyway, I'm not going. I'll just stay in Zhangzhou and rot away. If you don't go, I won't go either. They wouldn't dare come anyway, said a listless cultivator. The powerful figures from Central Continent, hidden in the void, exchanged bewildered glances. Tianhua, what do you think of this? A voice transmission came. How can you judge it? The Eastern Wilderness Dragon Clan has dominated for countless eons, and the power of the Central Plains alone is insufficient. Tianhua is right. Moreover, there is the Phoenix Clan in the Eastern Wilderness, and those ancient divine races have mutual aid alliances. The human forces in the other 4 heavenly domains are in special positions and obviously will not interfere. If an imperial war is really started, it will be detrimental to our central continent. Alas, sighed an emperor, the Central Plains is a battleground on all sides. Although the human race occupies the Central Plains, its foundation is still no match for those ancient divine races, especially in terms of lifespan, where they are at a great disadvantage. Moreover, a huge hidden danger lurks in Zhangzhou, the Qilin clan. The place of seclusion has been searched by the people of Zhangzhou for tens of millions of years without success. Even if they are found, the human race may not be able to do anything to them. Difficult. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 149. The cultivation method for achieving sainthood through physical body. Reporting to you, sir. Something terrible has happened. Yun Potion rushed over anxiously to apologize. His forehead was covered in sweat and his expression was tense and fearful. Don't rush, speak slowly. Ao Yuan looked calmly at Yun Potion. Yun Potion gasped for breath, trying to calm himself down. He took a deep breath and said, "My lord Yi Ziu." He escaped. After saying this, Yun Potion lowered his head and knelt there quietly, as if silently awaiting the punishment to come. Yun Potion knew in his heart that what he had done was no small matter. His failure to supervise properly was a very serious problem. Ao Yuan knew that Yi Ziu couldn't be kept in the dungeon, so he didn't make things difficult for Yun Potion. "All right, I understand. Just have someone issue the arrest warrant according to procedure." After saying that, Ao Yuan waved his hand, indicating that Yun Potion could leave. Hearing this, Yun Potion felt relieved and secretly rejoiced that he had not been severely punished. Yun Potion quickly bowed respectfully, then turned and left. Although he escaped this time, Yun Potion knew in his heart that he must be more careful in the future and never make the same stupid mistake again. After Yun Potion withdrew, Wang Chang teleported to Ao Yuan's side and said lightly, "Young master, do you need your sister to personally catch that ant for you?" Ao Yuan waved his hand. "No need. Yi Ziu's escape was inevitable. After all, he's an emperor, so it's normal for him to have more methods. Even if Wang Chang sets up a restriction, it will only imprison Yi Ziu for a while longer, and Yi Ziu will eventually escape. If escaping becomes too difficult, Yi Ziu might gain even greater opportunities, or perhaps even escape to a remote and mysterious realm. System, is there any magic tool that can locate Yi Ziu? Beep, real-time holographic location map. 1,210,000 villain points. Capable of locating the location of the person the host wants to locate 24/7, unrestricted by boundaries or other factors. 1,210,000, that's a bit pricey. Ao Yuan couldn't help but sigh. Yi Ziu's luck value converted into villain value is only 100 million at most. Every penny spent is a penny less. It's a non-renewable resource. How can he not feel sorry for it? Host, you get what you pay for. This real-time holographic map marks all the terrain, locations, and entrances to all the major secret realms in this world. It's only 1 million, which is really not expensive. Host, you don't need to worry. Luck isn't solely derived from Yi Ziu. Those great emperors and prodigies also possess luck. Killing them will also grant you corresponding luck. So in other words, all cultivators possess some degree of luck. Ao Yuan confirmed again. This is it too. Upon receiving a positive response from the system, Ao Yuan immediately breathed a sigh of relief. If there are other ways to obtain it, then 1 million villain points is indeed not much. System, purchase a real-time holographic positioning map. Ding, 1,210,000 villain points deducted from the host. Congratulations, host, you have gained real-time holographic positioning capabilities. Well done. The next second, something resembling a map appeared deep within Ao Yuan's sea of consciousness. The central part of the map consists of 5 major celestial regions: the eastern wilderness, the western desert, the southern ridge, the northern plains, and the central continent. Surrounding these 5 regions are 4 unique oceans: the Sea of Void, the Sea of Endless, the Sea of Chaos, and the Sea of Mystery. The eastern wilderness is further divided into 4 major regions: the Eastern Sea, Eastern Land, the western regions, the southern frontier, and the Arctic. The East Sea is the home of the Dragon Clan, and further east lies the Void Sea, one of the 4 heavenly seas. The lower realm where Ao Yuan is currently located is situated beneath the 2 realms mountain in the East Sea. In addition to the 5 celestial domains and 4 celestial seas, the map also marks countless secret realms and wondrous places of heaven and earth, as well as some fragmented tectonic worlds. With 1 million villain points, this map is definitely worth it. After briefly browsing the map, Ao Yuan used his divine sense to lock onto the location of Yi Ziu, the Chosen One. The map scale rapidly expanded, and in an instant, the detailed location around the small golden dot marking Yi Ziu appeared before Ao Yuan. It was still the Monster Mountain Range, but not far from a small village on the outermost edge of the Monster Mountain Range, at the border between the Great Kayan Dynasty and the Great Kun Dynasty. Located 3,000 kilometers from Yunchen Sect, it's not too far away, and the location is just right. It allows one to escape the Great Kayan Dynasty at any time while also arriving at Yunchen Sect in a reasonable amount of time. After estimating the distance, Ao Yuan immediately used the live streaming function. The next second, the image of Yi Ziu lying on the bed appeared in front of Ao Yuan. The bed was old, and Yi Ziu's room also had a vintage feel, probably built by a mortal who lived in seclusion in the mountains. Yi Ziu was still unconscious. His face was completely bloodless, and it was clear that he had suffered a great backlash. Squeak! Just then the door to the room opened. A plain-looking girl, whose appearance was slightly less striking than Yi Zinner's, carried in a wooden bucket and began to wipe Yi Ziu's face. Seeing this, Ao Yuan exited the holographic live stream and began browsing the system's marketplace. Heavenly Overlord Body, 5 million villain values. Ancient Sacred Body, 7 million villain values. The Holy Body of 10,000 Flames, 6 million villain values. Sky-Piercing Battle Body, 3 million villain values. Calamity Poison Body, 4 million villain values. Supreme Bone, random, 9 million villain points. Fiery Golden Eyes, 8 million villain values. Ancient Double Pupils, 10 million villain values. Three-Eyed Azure Wave Pupil, 3 million villain values. Sharp Eyes, 20 million villain points. Golden Eyes of Truth, 8 billion villain points. Battle Saint Technique, 5 billion villain values. Grand Celestial Immortal Technique, 1 billion villain points. 8-9 Arcane Arts, 1 billion villain points. Devouring Heaven Demon Art, 30 million villain points. Heavenly Manifestation of Freedom, 10 billion villain values. Dragonless Heart Sutra, 10 billion villain values. Devouring Demon Jar, Ultimate Imperial Weapon, 60 million villain points. Extreme Dao Bellyband, Extreme Dao Imperial Weapon, 80 million villain points. Divine Magnetic Treasure Mirror, Ultimate Imperial Weapon, 70 million villain points. Purifying Lotus Demon Flame, 60 million villain points. Red Lotus Karmic Fire, 10 million villain values. Nanaming Li Huo, 10 million villain values. After seeing these items, Ao Yuan was deeply moved, and his emotions remained unsettled for a long time. This is way too expensive. Host, the system can provide a loan of 10 billion, 100 billion villain value, with an interest rate of only 1/10 millionth per day. Just as Ao Yuan was feeling disappointed, Chen Zhou proposed a loan plan. Considering the repayment issue, Chen Zhou deliberately lowered the interest rate, waiting for Ao Yuan to take out the loan. After thinking it over, Ao Yuan finally decided to take out a loan. For those seeking to achieve physical immortality, there is a cultivation technique that directly leads to this goal, the 8-9 Arcane Technique. The 8-9 Arcane Arts is one of the supreme Taoist arts of the Chan sect, encompassing all things and possessing infinite supernatural powers of movement. Once mastered, one can acquire top-tier skills such as the golden light across the earth, the law of heaven and earth, and the 72 transformations. When the 8-9 arcane arts are cultivated to the 9th level, one can possess an indestructible body. As long as the Nuan Palace remains intact, the primordial spirit will remain forever, and the body will be indestructible through countless eons. Upon seeing these descriptions, Ao Yuan developed a strong interest in this cultivation technique. Although it is difficult to become an emperor by following other people's paths, it also depends on what kind of emperor. This technique completely transcends this world, with infinite wonders. Those who cultivate it to the highest level can prove the Tao of the great Luo immortal emperor. To achieve immortality, one must first learn the techniques before innovating. As the saying goes, only by standing on the shoulders of giants can one see far. It's one thing to forge your own path, but if you don't learn from the experiences of those who came before you, then you're just messing around and wasting your time. System process my loan. Ding, loan application successfully processed. Congratulations, host, your loan application has been approved. Villain value, 2,110,000, 1,021,000 can be used. Purchase the 8-9 arcane arts. Ding, villain points successfully used. Congratulations, host. You have obtained an immortal emperor-level cultivation technique. 8-9 Arcane Arts. Villain value. 1 billion plus 2110000. You guys figure it out yourselves. Letter FF9F. The instant the purchase was successful, a multitude of mental cultivation techniques and mantras appeared deep within Ao Yuan's soul, dazzlingly bright. Chapter 150, The Arrival of Prodigies from the Upper Realm. A great struggle begins. 3 years later, Yi Xiu's cultivation has already recovered, and he successfully entered the first level of the Dragon Transformation Realm yesterday. Boom! With a loud bang, Yi Xiu punched and shattered a 5th-level Dragon Transformation Demon Beast. The demonic beast's body instantly exploded, blood and flesh flying everywhere. Yi Xiu forced a smile and muttered to himself, as expected of the legendary strongest holy body of the human race, to be able to casually kill a 5th-level Dragon Transformation demonic beast right after entering the Dragon Transformation stage, truly formidable. He felt the surging power within him, and a surge of ambition welled up within him. This powerful feeling filled him with anticipation for the future. If I can find a high-quality beast fire, even if I'm at the peak of my Dragon Transformation, I can still suppress and kill it. Yi Xiu stared resolutely at the vast magical beast mountain range. 2.5 years ago, Yi Xiu, having recovered from his injuries, left the Great Kaiyan Empire and traveled along the outer edge of the monster mountain range to the Great Kun Dynasty. For reasons unknown, the Great Kaiyan Dynasty suddenly announced a period of isolation 2 years ago, prohibiting cultivators from entering and leaving at will, and even restricting merchant caravans to trading only in border towns and with the Great Kaiyan Trade Office. Yi Xiu was also unable to find out any information. Zinner, father, and everyone else, please wait for me for a few more years. Once I reach the venerable level, I will definitely come back to save you. Yi Xiu silently vowed, looking towards the direction of the Great Kaiyan Dynasty. The Venerable One is the highest realm permitted by the laws of the lower realm. Once a cultivator in the lower realm ignites their divine fire and enters the divine fire realm, they will be guided to the upper realm. Cultivators descending from the upper realm, unless they are great emperors, will have their cultivation suppressed to below the divine fire realm by the laws of heaven and earth, unless they possess a treasure that exempts them from the laws. 3 years ago, he was crushed by that ancient dragon, mainly because the difference in their cultivation levels was too great, and he was also ambushed, which is why he was crushed by a single finger. If he had been a dragon at that time, the ancient dragon of the void would not have succeeded in its sneak attack, and he would not have been crippled and forced to start over. Great void ancient dragon, you had better bring a protector with you. Otherwise, when I become a venerable, it will be the day you die a bloody death in the mortal realm. In a newly built palace in the capital of the Great Kaiyan Dynasty, Ao Yuan was leisurely basking in the sun. After 3 years of arduous training day and night, Ao Yuan naturally entered the late stage of the Dao-slaying realm, and his physical body was tempered to the extreme. Under Ao Yuan's leadership, the Great Kaiyan Dynasty also greatly increased its combat power. 3 years is roughly the time it takes for the geniuses of various races in the upper realm to descend to the lower realm. Ao Yuan murmured to himself, gazing at the sun in the sky. Just then a beautiful maid walked gracefully to Ao Yuan's side. She bowed slightly and whispered, "My lord, General Pan Feng requests an audience." Ao Yuan didn't even glance at the maid and slowly ordered in a cold voice, "Bring him in." "Yes," the maid bowed, then turned and quickly walked out of the backyard. A short while later, a tall and imposing figure appeared in the backyard. The newcomer was none other than Pan Feng, a 5-star general of the Great Kaiyan Dynasty. He was dressed in black armor, wearing a golden helmet with a long sword at his waist, exuding an imposing aura. His face was resolute, and his eyes were bright and piercing, revealing an air of decisiveness and ruthlessness. Upon seeing Ao Yuan, Pan Feng knelt on one knee, bowed to him, and reported with utmost respect, "My lord, the Divine Machine Battalion, the Mysterious Realm Army, and the Iron Pagoda have all fully met the training requirements." Ao Yuan nodded slightly, a look of satisfaction on his face. These 3 armies of cultivators are the elite forces of the newly formed Great Kaiyan Dynasty. After 3 years of special training and honing, they have finally become an invincible force. Ao Yuan tossed out a jade slip. "According to the location inside, bring back the people who came down from the upper realm." "Yes, sir." General Pan Feng saluted and accepted the order. "All right, you can leave now." Ao Yuan waved his hand, signaling Pan Feng to step down. Pan Feng bowed respectfully and withdrew. After Pan Feng left, Ao Yuan returned to Yi Zinner's room and began his cultivation for the day. Meanwhile, at the summit of Lianji Mountain, tens of thousands of prodigies had gathered. These prodigies come from different forces, families, and sects. Some of them chatted and discussed their trip to the lower realm. Some closed their eyes to rest and adjust their state, and others simply sat down to cultivate and improve their strength. Just then, an old man dressed in a gray robe appeared before the crowd. He cleared his throat, preparing to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, the teleportation array to the lower realm is about to open. Now, I'd like to say a few words. However, before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by another little old man. The little old man leaped up and kicked the old man who had spoken away, complaining, "Stop spouting nonsense." Then he stepped forward and said loudly to the crowd, "All right, children, a great sage's legacy has appeared in the mortal realm. Go down there and see what you can do." After saying that, he immediately activated the teleportation array. In an instant, a dazzling light shone within the formation, and tens of thousands of cultivators vanished in an instant. "Wait, I haven't even gone into battle yet." A miserable cultivator who had gone out to buy pills cried out in anguish. But the formation had already been closed, and he had lost his chance to descend to the lower realm. "Serves you right for being late," the old man muttered, then tore through space and left. The great sage, who had been kicked away, slowly got up, glanced at the waiting for husband's stone cultivator outside the formation, and then tore through space and left. No one will pity a monk who arrives late. There's only one teleportation array to the lower realm. If you want to go, you'll have to pay for it yourself. Within moments, the geniuses of the upper realm appeared randomly in various places in the lower realm. "Aunt, where is this place?" "Hey, you over there, where is this?" "Amitabha Buddha, this humble monk is Sanzeng from the east. May I ask where this is?" The bald man who called himself Sanzeng asked politely. "Amitabha, master, this is Yelai Township. There's a small town not far ahead. Today happens to be the annual temple fair. Are you going to visit the temple fair, master?" The female nun replied with a smile. "Indeed." Sanzeng clasped his hands together and performed a Buddhist salute to the female cultivator. "Fellow Taoist, please wait." A Taoist-looking fellow called out to a cultivator from the lower realm. Upon hearing this, the middle-aged cultivator suddenly felt a chill run down his spine, but he still chose to stop. "May I ask what brings you here, friend?" The middle-aged cultivator asked cautiously. "Amitabha Buddha, I Zhang Jiao wish to purchase a map from you." Zhang Jiao smiled, his eyes revealing a benevolent aura. The middle-aged cultivator breathed a sigh of relief. He had thought he would encounter some trouble, but it turned out that the other party only wanted to buy a map. But the middle-aged cultivator did not let his guard down. He did not know who this Zhang Jiao was, nor did he know whether he really just wanted to buy a map. However, the middle-aged monk carefully took out a tattered map from his robes and handed it to Zhang Jiao. Zhang Jiao took the map, examined it carefully, and then nodded in satisfaction. Then he took out a crystal-clear stone from his pocket and handed it to the middle-aged cultivator. "Thank you for your generosity, fellow Taoist. Consider this piece of spirit jade as an exchange," Zhang Jiao said with a smile. The middle-aged cultivator accepted the spirit jade, secretly delighted, thinking that he had really struck gold this time. He quickly thanked Zhang Jiao and expressed his willingness to provide him with further assistance. Zhang Jiao waved his hand, indicating that there was no need to be so polite, then turned and left. Some cultivators chose to rob cultivators in the lower realms, while others politely inquired and bought from them, and still others chose to directly search their souls. Of course, some unlucky souls who came to the great Kayan dynasty were different from other people in the upper realm. These unlucky souls were beaten to their knees by the army that had been prepared long ago as soon as they arrived in the lower realm. "Let me go, you audacious scoundrels from the lower realms." Slap! General Pan Feng stepped forward and slapped him hard across the face. "Illegal immigrants acting so arrogantly. Men, teach him a lesson." What do you want?" The ordinary rogue cultivator from the upper realm looked in terror at the elite special forces soldiers with their sinister smiles. "P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Thai letter E34, letter 3D6, Thai letter E34, Japanese letter." Chapter 151, Ticket Token. "Hey, have you heard? The Great Kayan Dynasty is going to open up to the outside world." "The Great Kayan Dynasty is open to the outside world? Why is that? Could something have happened at the Cloud Palace?" a burly man asked in confusion. The male cultivator who knew the news shook his head and explained smugly. "It's not some major event. It's just that a mysterious secret realm seems to have appeared in the Great Kayan dynasty. I see. The emergence of the secret realm, coupled with the recent descent of a large number of powerful beings from the upper realms, forced the Cloud Palace Holy Land to open its doors to the public due to pressure from all sides. A scholar like male cultivator confidently stated his guess. A young male cultivator immediately retorted, I don't think so. As far as I know, there were some geniuses from the upper realm who descended to the lower realm in the Great Kayan dynasty, but they were all captured alive by the Great Kayan dynasty. Is this news reliable? A beautiful female cultivator asked curiously. Of course, the young male cultivator assured confidently. I obtained this information from reliable sources, so it's absolutely correct. It is said that those prodigies from the upper realm were elites from various powerful forces. But as soon as they descended to the lower realm, they were captured and imprisoned by the Great Kayan dynasty. Even powerful figures who descended to the neighboring territory to seek justice from the Great Kayan dynasty were captured by the Great Kayan dynasty. Those around him looked surprised and found the news hard to believe. They began to discuss and speculate about the strength and methods of the Great Kayan dynasty that enabled it to wipe out all the geniuses of the upper realm. So the strength of the Great Kayan dynasty shouldn't be underestimated, a cultivator remarked. Yes, it seems we need to be careful on our trip to the Great Kayan dynasty. There might be even more surprises waiting for us there, another cultivator chimed in. Surprise, more like shock. It seems the Great Kayan secret realm is not for me. An old cultivator sighed, slowly rising and silently choosing to give up and leave. The group ignored the timid old man and continued discussing their trip to the Great Kayan secret realm. The beautiful female cultivator looked thoughtfully into the distance, seemingly contemplating something important. Not far away, Yi Ziu, now in a different appearance, quietly eavesdropped on the conversation of these cultivators. The Great Kayan dynasty, the ancient dragon clan of Taixu, the Yunshan sect. A killing intent flashed in Yi Ziu's eyes. 3 years. After 3 years of arduous training, Yi Ziu reached the second level of the dragon transformation realm. With the help of various secret techniques, Yi Ziu was confident that he could kill even a venerable. At the southernmost edge of the Great Kayan dynasty, well-trained armies of cultivators guard the entrance to the secret realm at the southernmost edge of the Great Kayan dynasty. Not far from the secret realm, some scattered prosperous buildings rose from the ground, and there were many local cultivators of the Great Kayan dynasty around them. Brother, what level of secret realm is this? Why is the defense so tight? A newly arrived foreign cultivator asked, handing over a few spirit stones. The monk who was called out waved his hand slightly, indicating that he would pay more. The foreign cultivator reluctantly took out some spirit stones from his storage bag, and the cultivator who had been called over became enthusiastic. This secret realm is codenamed 1018. It is said to be a great saint-level secret realm, and it will open in about 3 days. The Great Sage's secret realm? The foreign cultivator looked at the cultivator from the Great Kayan dynasty with a face full of doubt. Seeing the change in the other party's expression, the Dacian cultivator continued to explain. Brother, the level of the secret realm is determined by the Holy Palace, referring to the Cloud Palace, the renamed Cloud Mountain sect. It is said that those geniuses from the upper realm descended to the lower realm because of this opportunity. A cultivator from the upper realm? The foreign cultivator's face darkened with worry. If cultivators from the upper realms enter, what's the point of playing this game? They'll just go in and become monsters for the upper realms to farm. Brother, you're worrying for nothing. The Dacian cultivator waved his hand. You're an outsider, you don't know the laws of our Dacian dynasty. Laws? The foreign cultivator was even more shocked. However, the foreign cultivator quickly recovered and handed over a small packet of spirit stones, flattering him. Brother, I'm a king from the divine Kun kingdom. I know very little about the Great Kayan dynasty. May I ask if you could enlighten me? The Great Kayan cultivator accepted the reward, beaming as he patted the foreign cultivator on the shoulder. No problem, no problem. Fellow Taoist, let me tell you, our Great Kayan dynasty is different from other dynasties. We advocate civilized cultivation, and any secret realm is open to free cultivators. However, as a management fee, the Holy Palace will charge some entrance fees, which is not much. Just 100 spirit stones plus resources equivalent to 30% of the secret realm's profits. Of course, the proportion of foreign cultivators like you will definitely be higher. When you come out, you need to hand over resources equivalent to half of the total revenue from the secret realm. You can decide what resources to use, or you can use spirit stones instead. Don't complain about the price. Cultivators from the upper realm pay 70%. Compared to people from the upper realm, the Holy Palace is already being very considerate of us. After speaking, the great Kayan cultivator stood quietly to the side, observing the changes in the foreign cultivator's expression, awaiting a reply. At the same time, in the flat boat palace hidden above the clouds, Ao Yuan slowly opened his eyes. After more than 3 years of working day and night, Ao Yuan's strength has steadily reached the peak of the Dao slaying stage, with 1 foot already in the half-saint realm. When Ao Yuan returns to the Dragon Palace, that will be the time for him to become a saint. This cultivation speed is considered extremely fast among the dragon race. It should be noted that Ao Yuan has only been born in the dragon nest for a little over 1,200 years. Half of that time was spent learning about the affairs of various dragon races and their respective cultivation practices. The actual time he has spent cultivating is only a few hundred years. System, check the debt situation. Remaining villain value, 100,011,160,000 plus 2,110,000. Upon seeing the debt reaching nearly 100 billion, Ao Yuan couldn't help but frown slightly. However, Ao Yuan wasn't too surprised. 10,000 yuan a day in interest, more than 10 million yuan in 3 years, was indeed within the expected range. Looks like I need to pay off my villain points quickly, Ao Yuan sighed. Then he walked out of the seclusion room. Attention all cultivators. The secret realm will open in 2.5 days. Those who have not yet purchased tickets, please hurry to the ticket booth to buy them. Attention all cultivators. The secret realm will open in 2.5 days. Those who have not yet purchased tickets, please hurry to the ticket booth to buy them. Attention all cultivators. The secret realm will open in 2.5 days. Those who have not yet purchased tickets, please hurry to the ticket booth to buy them. The announcements blared from the loudspeaker, repeating themselves over and over. The monks who hadn't bought tickets repeatedly asked the ticket office, then ran to queue up as fast as they could. Everything seemed orderly, because those unruly monks were executed on the spot. Damn it, Yiziu clenched his fists. In order to enter the secret realm, Yiziu resolutely and reluctantly joined the queue. Now is not the time to start a conflict, he will endure it. Time flew by, and soon it was Yiziu's turn after his disguise. Name, identification. The female monk selling tickets asked with a smile, holding up a form. Yiziu, the Ziu in all things cease, a foreign cultivator without identification. Yiziu looked at the ticket seller with neither servility nor arrogance. The female cultivator selling tickets nodded, filled in the name Yiziu on the form, and then took out a token marked 13444. She smiled and explained, "Fellow Taoist Yi, your order is batch 13, number 444. You are in the 13th batch to enter the secret realm. Please do not lose the token, as you will need to register after you come out. Since you are not a cultivator from the great Kayan dynasty, the entrance fee is 250 spirit stones." Without the slightest hesitation, Yiziu obediently took out a bag of stolen spirit stones from his storage bag. The spirit stones emitted a faint fluctuation of spiritual energy, and there were exactly 250 of them. Yiziu handed the spirit stone to the ticket seller, and then accepted the ticket token from him. The ticket token felt cold to the touch, engraved with intricate runes and patterns, clearly a special kind of credential. Yiziu silently put it into his pocket, his face remaining expressionless. Chapter 152, The Secret Realm Opens. Amitabha Buddha tilde. Suddenly, a melodious Buddhist chant came from the east, as if it had transcended the barriers of time and space, resounding throughout the world. His voice was like heavenly music, containing supreme majesty. This Buddhist voice belongs to the Tripitaka Master of the East. Upon hearing this voice, a prodigy from the upper realm was so excited that his heart raced, and a look of reverence appeared on his face. I never expected that even the great Master Sanzang would descend to the mortal realm. This is wonderful. The great Master Sanzang has descended to the mortal realm. Let's see how these lower-level cultivators dare to act so recklessly. The surrounding cultivators from the upper realms were also deeply moved, filled with awe and reverence for this great Buddhist master. The great Master Sanzang is a disciple of the Buddhist sect of the immortal lineage in the East, a disciple of the smiling Buddha Emperor, possessing unparalleled Buddhist cultivation, and is a top genius among humankind. Excellent, with Master Sanzang here, let's see how arrogant these cultivators from the lower realms can be. A mocking smile flashed across the lips of an unfortunate cultivator from the upper realm who had been suppressed in the great Kayan dynasty. his eyes gleaming with triumph. The great master Sanzang was a prodigy from the upper realm. Seeing the people of the lower realm bullying them like this, he would surely help them fight against the enemies of the lower realm. The great master Sanzang will surely uphold justice for us. Another cultivator from the upper realm echoed, placing great hope in the great master Sanzang and believing he could handle the matter fairly. With the great master Sanzang here, this secret realm must belong to the geniuses of our upper realm. Another upper realm cultivator raised his eyebrows and said confidently. He firmly believed that the great master Sanzang would protect their rights and allow them to successfully obtain the treasures in the secret realm. That's right, these ants from the lower realm dare to force us to hand over our opportunities. When the great master Sanzang arrives, he will surely stand up for us. More cultivators from the upper realm echoed this sentiment, expressing their trust and expectations for the great master Sanzang. In an instant, the morale of the cultivators from the upper realm soared, and they awaited the arrival of the great master Sanzang with great confidence. Some cultivators from the great Kayan dynasty looked worried. They didn't know who this Tripitaka master was, but according to the descriptions of these people from the upper realm, this Tripitaka master must be a very extraordinary person. However, the cultivators of the great Kayan dynasty were not afraid. The great master Sanzang was a genius from the upper realm, and their dragon emperor was also a figure from the upper realm. With the dragon emperor present, no matter how famous this so-called great master Sanzang is, he must obediently abide by the rules if he wants to enter the secret realm. May Buddha have mercy. This humble monk Sanzang begs you to appear before me, fellow Taoist. As the words fell, a calm and peaceful gaze emanated from the venerable Sanzang, staring intently in the direction of the secret realm. The voice of the great master Sanzang seemed to carry a special power, spreading throughout the entire space. Unlike other cultivators from the lower realms, the great master Sanzang did not rush to take action after arriving in the great Kayan dynasty. Instead, the Tripitaka master first visited and learned about the beginning and end of the great changes in the great Kayan dynasty and the major events that occurred during that period. After several days of visits, inquiries, and observations, Sanzang learned that the true ruler of the great Kayan dynasty was also a cultivator from the upper realm, and not even a human. Through these days of investigation, Sanzang roughly guessed that the mastermind behind the great Kayan dynasty was a Dragon Clan cultivator, but he was still unsure which specific clan within the Dragon Clan it was. The entire place fell silent. All the cultivators followed the gaze of the great master Sanzang, eager to see who this ruler of the great Kayan dynasty was. There is one exception, Yi Ziu. Yi Ziu knew who the true ruler of the great Kayan was, so he wasn't as curious as the other cultivators. Instead, he secretly observed the people from the upper realm around him. Yi Ziu's method of spying was very subtle, and no cultivator noticed it. Besides the bald man, Yi Ziu also detected the aura of another peak venerable. That person was a Taoist priest, hidden among ordinary cultivators. Not bad, Yi Ziu rarely gave such a positive assessment. Although these two were suppressed to the peak of the venerable realm by the laws of heaven and earth, their actual combat strength far exceeded that of a venerable realm expert, making them strong competitors for his trip to the secret realm. However, Yi Ziu did not take the two people seriously. The great sage secret realm was restricted, and only cultivators at or below the dragon transformation realm were allowed to enter. These two people's cultivation level was suppressed to the venerable level when they arrived in the lower realm. When they enter the secret realm, they will have to use a special secret method to suppress their cultivation level again. If they really fight, their combat power will be at most at the venerable level, which is not worth worrying about. Void Ancient Dragon, you'd better not encounter me in the secret realm. A killing intent flashed in Yi Ziu's eyes. Buddhist disciples, a calm voice broke the silence. Everyone looked up, and the upper realm cultivators' pupils dilated instantly. Ancient Void Dragon, why would the Ancient Void Dragon clan appear here? The cultivators from the upper realm were greatly alarmed. The great master Sanzang was also startled. Ordinary cultivators might not know Ao Yuan's identity, but he knew it very well. Ao Yuan, the Dragon Clan's imperial son, is an unparalleled prodigy of the Dragon Clan in this era, and one of the strongest young talents in the eastern wilderness. So it's Prince Ao Yuan, Sanzang forced a smile. I never expected that the imperial prince would also come to the mortal realm for training. It's a pleasure to meet you. Sanzang politely bowed to Ao Yuan as a peer. Then, changing the subject, he laughed and said, I just don't know. Why the Emperor's son deliberately targets and makes things difficult for us, who are also from the upper realm. Upon hearing Sanzang's words, all the cultivators from the upper realms were invigorated and turned their gazes toward the Buddhist disciple, but none of them uttered a single word. "Come in if you want, get out if you don't," Ao Yuan said without any politeness, his eyes full of contempt. Upon hearing this, Sanzang's heart instantly darkened. He never expected Ao Yuan to be so disrespectful to him, embarrassing him in front of so many people. Sanzang took a deep breath, trying his best to control his anger and remain calm. "The Emperor's actions may alienate the people," Sanzang said coldly, his tone carrying a hint of threat. Ao Yuan looked at Sanzang as if he were a fool. He wasn't human, so what did he need a human's heart for? Could it be that humans would selflessly fight for the dragons? "That's hilarious." Ao Yuan wore a kind smile and looked calmly at Sanzang. "If you want to help them, you can do so by paying the income tax for the secret realm on their behalf." Sanzang tried to suppress Ao Yuan with the concept of righteousness, but Ao Yuan was not having any of it. Hearing Ao Yuan shift the blame onto him, Sanzang felt displeased. Sanzang forced a smile and said in a low voice, "Your Highness is joking. I left in a hurry and was short of money. I really didn't bring that many resources with me." Ao Yuan's lips curled up slightly, revealing a mocking smile. "It's okay if you don't have enough resources. How about this? You sign a contract of servitude and then slowly pay off your debts. This imperial prince is not in a hurry." Upon hearing this, the venerable master Sanzang's heart darkened once more, and he cursed Ao Yuan inwardly for his aggressive behavior. He originally thought Ao Yuan would give him a way out, but he didn't expect the other party to be so disrespectful, and even after he had backed down, he was still aggressive. In the distance, Yi Ziu lowered his head, his heart churning with overwhelming killing intent. "Ao Yuan," Yi Ziu clenched his fists. Seeing the two familiar figures behind Ao Yuan, Yi Ziu felt extremely angry. As the great emperor, how could Yi Ziu not see that Jai Ruoxi and Yi Zinner had both lost their virginity? "Ao Yuan, I will surely kill you," Yi Ziu roared in his heart. The Buddhist disciple remained silent and did not respond to Ao Yuan's words. He wouldn't even give away 70% of his own profits, so how could he possibly give them to those good-for-nothings? He is a Buddhist disciple, not a spendthrift, and certainly not an idiot. Seeing the Buddhist disciple remain silent, Ao Yuan's gaze swept over everyone. "The secret realm will open in a few hours. Those who want to enter the secret realm come out and pay the secret realm income tax. Those who don't want to pay, you can get out now." The cultivators slowly lowered their heads. No one dared to object. Ao Yuan, the imperial son, and the Dragon Palace were entities they could not afford to offend. Rather than the so-called secret realm income tax, they still wanted to go in and seek opportunities. "At worst, I can digest more in there before coming out. The time has come. Those who wish to enter the secret realm line up and come in batches," Pan Feng announced solemnly. Upon hearing this, the cultivators in the first batch excitedly walked to their designated positions. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One by one, the cultivators flew into the secret realm in an orderly fashion. Chapter 153, Inheritance Order. Boom, 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 tilde. Flames surged all around, and water vapor instantly rose from Yi Zinner's body, who had the lowest cultivation level. Jai Ruoxi, the furnace cauldron beside her, was also covered in fragrant sweat, and her little face couldn't help but look distressed. Ao Yuan casually unleashed 2 streams of dragon energy to shield the two from the endless heatwave. Wang Chang remained hidden in the void within a 10-foot radius of Ao Yuan, without revealing herself. The great sage's secret realm is said to have restrictions, but these are practically useless to the Dragon Clan, a dominant race. They can enter at will. Not to mention this small sacred realm, even the complete laws of heaven and earth in the lower realm. The Dragon Clan's ancestors researched and developed magical treasures that exempted them from the laws. Ordinary cultivators from powerful emperors are inevitably affected by the laws of heaven and earth when they descend to the mortal realm, but the dragon race can completely avoid these laws, allowing the great sage to fully unleash his power in the mortal realm. This is the foundation of a top-tier hegemonic power. "Your Highness, may we leave here first?" Yi Zinner asked in a soft, melodious voice. Jai Ruoxi turned her face away, remaining as taciturn as ever, not wanting to speak to Ao Yuan. Although she had already cultivated with Ao Yuan 666 times, Jai Ruoxi was still unwilling to bow her head. Even though Ao Yuan had placed a slave mark on her, she was unwilling to submit to him. Ao Yuan nodded and slowly said, "Let's go." The lava river is a place where there are no treasures that Ao Yuan would be interested in, so there's no point in staying any longer. Knowing where Yi Ziu would go in the future, Ao Yuan quickly moved forward with the two burdens in tow. On the other side, in the green grassland, some cultivators were randomly teleported here, some in groups of 3 or 5 and some alone. Yi Ziu was also teleported to this place. The green grassland, the southernmost point of the secret realm, Yi Ziu murmured to himself. 2 years ago, Yi Ziu obtained a token by chance. By breaking the restrictions, Yi Ziu learned of the existence of the great sage secret realm. As luck would have it, this secret realm was built by one of the Yi family's ancestors. Because of the Yi family's bloodline, Yi Ziu was able to break the token's restriction without triggering the self-destruction restriction of the inheritance token. Unfortunately, this token was left by the Yi family's ancestors to a destined person, and it did not contain any means of attack. Otherwise, he would have sought justice for the Yi family at Yunchen sect this morning. However, it didn't matter that he had no means of attack. Through the inheritance token, Yi Ziu already knew the secret realm left by his ancestor like the back of his hand. Once Yi Ziu reaches the central palace of the secret realm, he is confident that he can control the entire secret realm and use the hidden traps within to ambush and kill his enemies. May Buddha have mercy, this humble monk will now deliver you from suffering. The Buddhist monk Sanzang clasped his hands together, chanting incantations, and his body radiated a strong Buddhist light. Suddenly, a huge golden dragon burst out from behind him, baring its fangs and claws as it charged toward the group of cultivators in front of it. "Bald monk, I'll haunt you even as a ghost," a cultivator shouted in terror, but it was too late to dodge. The golden dragon instantly devoured them, followed by a dazzling flash of light, and dozens of cultivators instantly died and turned to ashes. Amitabha, why bother? The Tripitaka master looked at the tragic scene before him, shook his head helplessly, and sighed. Everyone said that this thing was destined for Buddha, but they didn't believe it. Now look what happened, it's gone. Fellow Taoist, please wait. A familiar voice rang out, seemingly carrying a mysterious magic. The upper realm cultivator, who was about to step into the quicksand trap, felt a strange chill, and his body trembled involuntarily. Despite some hesitation, he decided to heed the voice and retract his 5-centimeter step. "Master Zhang, what brings you to my residence?" The young male cultivator asked respectfully, a hint of doubt and wariness in his eyes. "Fellow Taoist, I see your forehead is dark, which may be a matter of life and death. That's why I called you back," Zhang Jiao explained kindly, his tone full of concern and worry. Upon hearing this, the minor cultivator from the upper realm frowned slightly, wondering to himself, "What does this mean? Am I really in danger?" He stared intently at Zhang Jiao, trying to find the answer in the other's expression. However, Zhang Jiao was a prodigy of the Holy Han dynasty, and his control over micro-expressions was superb. The cultivator who was called over did not notice anything. "What does the celestial master mean? Why do you say my life is in danger?" The minor cultivator from the upper realm asked in confusion, his expression turning serious. Zhang Jiao didn't explain directly, but silently took out a stone and threw it forward under the puzzled gaze of the extra cultivator. The stone nimbly leaped over the extra cultivator, but at that moment, an astonishing scene unfolded. The stone, which was flying in the air, suddenly fell vertically and was instantly swallowed by quicksand. The extra cultivator who was called out broke out in a cold sweat, realizing that he had just almost been in a life-threatening situation. The 10,000 weak sands are a type of magical sand that possesses properties similar to the 3,000 weak waters, making it impossible for even a sage to cross them. If you encounter it, the only option is to take a detour. "Thank you, Celestial Master. Thank you, Celestial Master." The cultivator who was called to the aid quickly bowed in gratitude, feeling thankful that he had received timely help. Zhang Jiao waved his hand gently, indicating that there was no need to be so polite. Then he held up 3 fingers and said with a smile, "It's no big deal. 3 grade 5 spiritual herbs will suffice." The rescued cultivator's face immediately darkened, but he still had no choice but to take out 3 precious 5th grade spiritual herbs from his storage ring and respectfully hand them to Zhang Jiao. Similar incidents occurred throughout the secret realm. Many cultivators were only after money, but many more chose to eliminate the threat completely. 5 days later, a furious roar suddenly echoed from the sky. "Yi Ziu, you treacherous dog, hand over the inheritance token." The sound was like a thunderclap, causing the surrounding air to tremble slightly. Immediately afterward, several angry shouts rang out. "Yi Ziu, die! A celestial maiden scatters flowers." Spring Breeze Thorn. Accompanied by these angry shouts, a series of fierce attacks swept towards Yi Xiu like a storm. Yi Xiu's face, which was already full of black lines, instantly darkened even more, and the black lines on his face became more and more obvious, as if they were about to drip ink. Damn it, who is it? Who was that sixth brother who cultivates divination techniques and framed me for actually having the inheritance token? Yi Xiu cursed inwardly. The inheritance token was obtained by him from killing an evil cultivator. No one else knew about it except him. Only 5 days after entering the secret realm, everyone in the secret realm knew that he possessed the inheritance token. You'd better not let me find you otherwise. Heavenly Spear. 9 Heavens Flying Sword. Go, baby. A barrage of attacks rained down from the pursuers behind them, each strike brimming with immense power and carrying a fierce momentum as it hurtled towards them. Faced with this sudden attack, Yi Xiu remained calm, his hands moving swiftly as he unleashed several spells, easily neutralizing the attacks. Yi Xiu did not stop. Instead, he sped up and continued to flee into the distance. Just then, a deafening roar rang out. Great mighty heavenly dragon. With this roar, a huge golden dragon suddenly pounced from the right. Its body was enormous, its scales shimmered with dazzling light, and its eyes revealed majesty and domineering power. The golden dragon rushed towards Yi Xiu at an astonishing speed, as if it wanted to devour him whole. Yi Xiu inwardly cried out that something was wrong. He quickly stopped and put all his strength into defense, managing to withstand the great mighty heavenly dragon of the great master Sanzang. The powerful impact forced Yi Xiu back several steps, leaving him in tatters, but he was unharmed. You bald monk, what have you done to piss me off? Yi Xiu roared. Yi Xiu pushed off with both feet, and instantly appeared in front of the great master Sanzang. A bunch of wild punches. Does the benefactor know that even in Buddhism there are wrathful Vajras? Bang! Fist to fist, Sanzang retreated 5 steps, while Yi Xiu remained unmoved. The ancient sacred body. A hint of surprise flashed in Sanzang's eyes. Bald monk, if you want to fight, then fight. Stop with the nonsense. Yi Xiu looked at the discerning bald man in front of him with a calm expression. Good, good, good. The great master Sanzang said good 3 times in a row. I never thought that there was such a thing as the ancient sacred body that could be cultivated to such a level. It seems that I came to the right place this time. Yi Xiu, if you can defeat me, I will give up the inheritance token and stop hunting you down. Yi Xiu nodded and agreed. Okay. Open your golden body, 1 zhang tall. The great master Sanzang roared. Ancient sacred body activate. Yi Xiu's blood boiled instantly. This humble monk, the Tripitaka master, will bury the heavens, the earth, and all living beings. The Tripitaka master gestured for him to enter. This emperor. Yi Xiu suddenly realized something was wrong and quickly corrected himself. I am Yi Xiu, the Xiu of all things cease. The pursuers looked at each other in bewilderment. Should we continue fighting? Let's wait and see. That bald guy said he doesn't want the inheritance token. It's not like we said we didn't want it. All right, let's wait until they're both exhausted. Then we can fish for the fish and reap the benefits. Then who will receive the inheritance token? A wise cultivator asked. The cultivators fell into deep thought. The next second, a celestial maiden scatters flowers, reaching for the moon in the heavens. 1,000-year kill. The monkey is stealing peaches. Invincible golden body. Under the influence of the brain-degrading aura, the pursuers miraculously engaged in a chaotic battle. P.S. Okay, the author couldn't find a suitable job, idled away a week, and then came back. 1 letter 1D551. As is customary, please urge me to update and support me with your love. Chapter 154, Ancestors of the Yi Family. While Yi Xiu was fighting fiercely, Ao Yuan used violent means to break into the deepest part of the central palace. Just as Ao Yuan stepped into the core area of the central palace, suddenly, a huge phantom appeared out of thin air in front of him. This illusory figure was tens of feet tall, exuding endless majesty and oppression, as if it were the ruler of heaven and earth. Young man, why have you broken the rules? The deep and majestic voice of the phantom echoed throughout the space, inspiring awe in all who heard it. Ao Yuan looked up at the illusory figure, a hint of disdain flashing in his eyes. Rules? What rules can a dead man speak of? Presumptuous. A massive surge of soul energy crashed down on Ao Yuan and the other dragons and humans like a tidal wave. However, this imposing aura vanished into thin air 10 meters away from Ao Yuan. A beautiful figure appeared. Yi family ancestor Yi Ludi slowly withdrew his soul power, and his voice seemed to reveal a hint of loneliness. Great Sage. He was merely a mid-stage Great Sage. If he were at his peak, he wouldn't bother to waste a single word on such a junior. Unfortunately, his remaining soul power is now almost exhausted. He may appear powerful on the surface, but in reality, he is just all show and no substance. Wang Chang calmly said, "This coffin suppresses a strange entity from beyond the realm." The illusory figure nodded slightly in affirmation. "Exactly." Wang Chang nodded slightly, said nothing, and quietly retreated to Ao Yuan's side, holding a bright lamp in her hand, an ultimate imperial weapon. Seeing the woman in front of him take out an ultimate imperial weapon, the Yi family ancestor's eyes became even more desolate. If he had possessed an imperial weapon back then, he wouldn't have needed to perish together with that strange, peak-level saint from beyond the realm during that battle 100,000 years ago. It's all about timing and fate. A dignified half-step Kuei's emperor was ultimately forced into a bizarre situation, perishing with his enemy to suppress them. Yi Ziner looked puzzled. She had never heard of Weird or Great Sage. Although Jai Ruoxi knew about the strange invasion, she was still very shocked to hear that a strange entity was being suppressed here. Ao Yuan watched this scene calmly. He had known about the strange thing about this secret realm suppressing a saint-level being from the beginning, so he wasn't surprised. 1,000,000 years ago, the 5 regions and 4 seas were suddenly invaded by a strange force. However, the rifts that appeared at that time were not large, and the strangeness of the invasion was not strong. The major forces simply sent their disciples to deal with it. Until 600,000 years ago, many lower realms were destroyed, and hundreds of strange beings at the Emperor level suddenly appeared in the 5 great heavenly domains. The interdimensional Emperor War has begun. This great war lasted for over 500,000 years, destroying countless secret realms and severing all lineages. With the concerted efforts of the All-Race Alliance, this turmoil was finally resolved 100,000 years ago. To prevent similar incidents from happening again, the major powers in the upper realm have spent huge sums of money to build countless special teleportation arrays leading to the lower realm. The Two Realms Mountain, which is under the control of the Dragon Clan, is one of them. These teleportation arrays not only allow people from the upper realm to descend to the lower realm, but also have the function of monitoring the survival of the lower realm. As long as a lower realm is destroyed, the upper realm can receive the news immediately and then send people to investigate. In the future trajectory, Yi Zhu arrives at the deepest part of the main hall. Due to bloodline intuition, he accidentally awakens the Yi family ancestor. After a righteous and awe-inspiring speech, Yi Zhu successfully gains the recognition of the Yi family ancestor, Chloroplast. Just then, a sudden change occurred. The bizarre creature, which had been suppressed by the chloroplast for nearly 100,000 years, was unexpectedly awakened and even successfully occupied the chloroplast's remains. Then, the Yi family ancestor exposed his soul, but because too much time had passed, the chloroplast remnant soul imprint failed to completely kill the monster. The extremely weak and eerie creature tried to possess Yi Zhu's body, but ended up being enslaved by Yi Zhu instead. And so, Yi Zhu acquired a demigod-level fighter, becoming invincible in the lower realms. Now that Ao Yuan knows about these things, he certainly won't let Yi Zhu succeed. Thinking of this, Ao Yuan turned to look at Wang Chang and asked seriously, "Wang Chang, are you confident that you can use the imperial weapon to destroy this strange entity?" Wang Chang nodded slightly and said confidently, "As long as this strange thing is not at its peak, I can easily wipe it out completely. The Heavenly Heart Lamp, an ultimate imperial weapon, is one of the most powerful ultimate imperial weapons of the Dragon Clan. It combines offense and defense, possesses pure purifying power, and has a strong restraining effect on the bizarre. As long as the strange entity is contained within the Heavenly Heart Lamp, the imperial weapon will automatically awaken and easily extinguish it." Ao Yuan nodded. He was aware of the strange creature's current strength. It was a late-stage saint, slightly stronger than the current chloroplast remnant soul, but not by much. To be honest, this aura of luck is just unreasonable. Even the remnant soul of the great sage couldn't kill this guy, yet Yi Zhu was able to enslave him with a single move. "Don't worry, young friend. After being sealed by me for 100,000 years, this strange creature has lost almost all of its power. If we use an imperial weapon, we can definitely destroy it easily." Hearing the conversation between the two dragons, the chloroplast's attitude became much more amiable. With the help of an ultimate imperial weapon, his remnant soul body can live a few more years, secretly helping some of his descendants. In that case, we humbly request your assistance, Senior, so that we may eliminate this hidden danger for the sake of all living beings, Ao Yuan said with a smile. The strange creature was going to be killed, and Ao Yuan, the remnant soul of the chloroplast, also wanted to kill it as well. Upon hearing Ao Yuan's words, Chloroplast felt a chill run down his spine. Good, good, good. What a cunning ancient dragon clan. Even now, they still haven't forgot to scheme against this remnant soul of over 100,000 years old. So be it, so be it. Even with my remaining soul, let me do my last bit of effort for the Yi family's ancestral land. Sighed Chloroplast sighed. Young friend, I am the Jade Saint, originally named Chloroplast. I have no attachments in this world. If you happen to meet my descendant, I hope you can take care of me. Rest assured, Senior, if I encounter any of your descendants, I will certainly lend a hand to protect them, to fulfill your last wish. Ao Yuan solemnly agreed. The young women of the Yi family now all work in the Gyrophangxi, a government-run entertainment institution, and their living conditions are quite good. They don't need to farm. As for the young and middle-aged men of the Yi family, Ao Yuan also had Elder Pan Feng send them to the frontier to hone their skills from the bottom up and make them serve the country. For those who were physically weak, Ao Yuan arranged relatively easy odd jobs in the Gyrophangxi, a government-run entertainment institution, which can be described as very considerate. Yi Xiu has been possessed by the great emperor of the upper realm, and Ao Yuan is upholding justice and avenging him. Ao Yuan was extremely kind to the Yi family. Hearing Ao Yuan's assurance, Chloroplast nodded with relief. Little one from the White Dragon lineage, let's begin. Wang Cheng nodded, her whole body bursting with holy power, and the heavenly heart lamp in her hand instantly shone with a bright white light. The heavenly heart sacred flame unleashed its power, with half of its energy surrounding Ao Yuan, forming a thick layer of defense. The other half of the power was concentrated beside the chloroplast, ready to attack at any time. Both the strange creature suppressed in the coffin and the chloroplast in front of the coffin were within the attack range of the heavenly heart sacred flame. If any unusual activity occurs, Wang Chang will not hesitate to eliminate any threat. Under the powerful pressure of the saint, Yi Zinner and Jai Ruoxi turned pale and stood together, huddled together. Clearly, Wang Chang had no interest in their lives or deaths. Chloroplast glanced at the terrifying white flames beside him, flames he had never seen before, but he instinctively sensed a deadly danger emanating from them. It's as if even a trace of it would be burned to nothingness. Is this the true strength of the dragon race? It's incredible, Chloroplast exclaimed inwardly. Surrounded by green holy power, he began to lift the restrictions on the coffin. Wang Cheng watched this scene quietly, ready to use the Heavenly Heart Sacred Flame to attack at any time. The Heavenly Heart Sacred Flame was formed by a supreme being of the White Dragon clan using unparalleled methods to condense 99 Heavenly Heart imprints. It possesses the strongest destructive and purifying power in the world, and when unleashed at full power, it can easily incinerate even the most powerful emperors. It is the most powerful holy flame in the 5 regions and 4 seas, and can only be used by pure white dragons with pure hearts. It is one of the most supreme treasures of the dragon race. With the Heavenly Heart Lamp, Wang Chang was not afraid of any saint-level monsters at all. Even if the monster was at its peak, Wang Chang was confident that she could burn it to ashes. Even a great emperor wouldn't dare to directly confront the Heavenly Heart Sacred Flame, unless he or she didn't want their own imperial law. A sinister laugh echoed through the empty hall. "Yi Hai, today is your death day," Chloroplast roared. They rushed into the corpse in an instant, restricting the strange movement. "Chloroplast, you... Go!" Wang Chang instantly activated the Heavenly Heart Sacred Flame. In an instant, the eerie thing vanished into nothingness, along with the chloroplast's corpse, coffin, and remnant soul. Sold out instantly. The chloroplasts didn't even have time to react. Instantaneous. Chapter 155. The ancient sacred body was instantly killed. It's over." Yi Zinner's cute big eyes widened in surprise. "Weird, how can it be so weak?" Jai Ruoxi, standing to the side, had an inscrutable expression, and it was unclear what she was thinking. The Heavenly Heart Sacred Fire condensed into a ghostly face, but unfortunately it failed to scare the dragon, so it had to return to the Heavenly Heart Lamp in disappointment. A flash of white light, and the Heavenly Heart Lamp entered Wang Chang's hand, transforming into a white mark. "I never expected the Heavenly Heart Lamp to actually recognize a master," Ao Yuan thought to himself. Imperial weapons possess a spirit, and the heavenly heart lamp is even more so. It doesn't even give face to the great emperors of the clan, yet it unexpectedly recognizes Wang Chang as its master. Ao Yuan initially thought that the heavenly heart lamp was specially given to Wang Chang by his father to protect him. But now it seems that Wang Chang herself is not simple either. Am I being played? Ao Yuan quickly realized. Looking back on everything that happened, Wang Chang's behavior was completely naive and innocent. Now that I think about it, Wang Chang was actually faking it. If Ao Yuan wasn't mistaken, Wang Chang was probably the empress arranged for him by his clan. Okay, is this how you play it? What's wrong? Something on your mind? Wang Chang's sudden telepathic message interrupted Ao Yuan's thoughts. It's nothing, Ao Yuan replied, his voice tinged with emotion. Wang Chang was in a great mood but felt a little helpless. I've been found out. They walked in silence. Yi Ziner and Jai Ruoxi followed behind Ao Yuan like maids, while Wang Chang concealed her figure and walked side by side with Ao Yuan. Soon after, the two dragons and the two men arrived at the main hall, where the life essence was stored. Looking at the spirit-level life source liquid pool in front of him, Ao Yuan suddenly threw out two punches, slamming them into the restrictions surrounding the life source liquid pool. With two loud bangs, the barrier shattered instantly, turning into countless fragments. Without hesitation, Ao Yuan stepped into the pool of life source liquid, and his body began to involuntarily absorb the life source energy in the pool. He glanced back at Yi Ziner and Jai Ruoxi and commanded, "Come in." His voice carried an irresistible authority, leaving the two with no choice but to obey. The two exchanged a glance, removed their clothes, and obediently walked to Ao Yuan's side. Wang Chang glanced at it, raised her hand to close the palace gate, added a few more restrictions, then took out a chair and closed her eyes to rest. 3 days later, "Brother Yi, are you sure there really is an opportunity here?" The Buddhist monk Sanzang looked at Yi Ziu with doubt. Yi Ziu nodded and explained confidently, "That's right. There's a pool of spirit-grade life essence in this main hall, and it's very well preserved." "What spirit-level life source liquid?" Sanzang exclaimed in surprise. The life essence liquid is divided into 4 levels: mortal, spirit, saint, and emperor. It is of great benefit to cultivators and is a rare and precious opportunity. Even the Buddhist disciple Sanzang from the Buddhist sect greatly desired the life essence of the spirit level. Although Buddhism also has this item, it requires a large number of merit points to exchange for it. Even if he is a Buddhist disciple, he still needs a lot of merit points. There's a free pool available now. Even if we split it 30-70 with Yi Ziu, it's still a considerable gain. Excellent, truly excellent. Sanzang's eyes instantly lit up with enthusiasm. "Brother Yi, let's begin as soon as possible." "All right," Yi Ziu nodded slightly, then looked at the main hall in front of him, a glint of light flashing in his eyes. He made hand seals and cast spells towards the main hall. As he moved, the runes on the main hall flickered, and a powerful restrictive force emerged. However, Yi Ziu did not stop what he was doing and continued to cast spells, trying to break the restriction. Upon seeing the new restriction, Yi Ziu's expression instantly changed, and he exclaimed, "Not good." Hearing Yi Ziu's exclamation, Sanzang quickly asked, "What's wrong, Brother Yi?" Yi Ziu frowned and said in a deep voice, "This restriction is brand new. Someone beat us to it." "What?" Upon hearing this, Sanzang's face instantly turned gloomy. If someone discovers the pool of life giving liquid that they have been searching for so painstakingly, they certainly won't give up easily. Sanzang sighed inwardly, never expecting that someone would be faster than them. "Brother Sanzang, don't worry. Since the other side has set up a restriction, they probably don't want to hand over these life essence liquids to that evil dragon Ao Yuan. I'll break the restriction in a moment, and then you and I can join forces to make them share some of the spoils." Yi Ziu comforted him. "Excellent," Sanzang readily agreed to Yi Ziu's suggestion. Inside the hall, Wang Chang suddenly sent a telepathic message to Ao Yuan. "Someone is coming." Upon hearing Wang Chang's reminder, Ao Yuan stopped cultivating, gently patted Yi Ziner, who was still cultivating, in front of him, and ordered, "Someone we know has arrived. Get things sorted out." Outside the door, Yi Ziu was covered in sweat. Looking at the dense array of Great Saint-level restrictions, he felt like a skilled cook without ingredients. There was nothing Yi Ziu could do. His cultivation level was too low, and he was completely powerless against these restrictions. "Brother Yi, what should we do? These are all Great Sage-level restrictions. We are completely helpless." Sanzang's eyes showed a hint of despair. "It's all right. There are no Great Sages in the lower realm. These restrictions must have been set up by someone from the upper realm using talismans for guidance. As long as we find the source of the guidance, I can break it using talismans, Yi Ziu said solemnly. I never expected Brother Yi to know the method of using talismans for salvation. I admire you greatly, Sanzeng praised from the bottom of his heart. Yi Ziu waved his hand and said confidently, Brother Sanzeng, step back a little and watch how I break this restriction. He gestured for Sanzeng to stay away from the restriction so as not to be affected. After saying that, Yi Ziu took out several special talismans from his storage ring, cast a few strange spells with his hands, and muttered to himself. As Yi Ziu moved, the surrounding air seemed to become heavy. Go, Yi Ziu shouted softly, and the talisman in his hand flew out, turning into several streams of light that flew to different locations. The next second, the previously closed door slowly opened, making a dull sound. Yi Ziu was completely bewildered. The restriction hadn't even been dispelled yet, so how did the door open by itself? Brother Yi, I never expected you to be so amazing, Sanzeng praised with a face full of admiration. Yi Ziu gave a wry smile, but did not refuse Sanzeng's praise. Brother Yi, now that the restriction has been lifted, let's go in, the now brain-suppressed Sanzeng suggested. Yi Ziu nodded, silently activating his internal secret technique, ready to make a move at any moment. As the two entered the main hall, a familiar voice rang out. Long time no see, Yi Ziu. Yi Ziu was startled and quickly looked in the direction of the sound. A familiar face with bulging blood energy sat on a stone chair, and behind him were Yi Zinner and Jai Ruoxi with rosy complexions. Yi Ziu's eyes widened, and he was momentarily at a loss for words. He never expected to see them here. The two stood on either side of Ao Yuan. Yi Zinner's face was flushed, and she lowered her head as if she dared not meet Yi Ziu's gaze. Jai Ruoxi turned her head slightly to the side, her face also slightly red, as if she was also a little shy. Seeing this, Sanzeng couldn't help but ask in confusion, Brother Yi, Prince Ao Yuan, do you know each other? Of course I know her. This is Yi Ziu's sister, don't you think so, Yi Ziu? Ao Yuan pulled Yi Zinner into his arms, looking at Yi Ziu, whose fists were clenched with a half-smile. Ao Yuan, Yi Ziu's eyes were bloodshot. Yi Ziu noticed his sister Yi Zinner's unusual gait at the entrance to the secret realm. And now it seems that Ao Yuan, that bastard, really is a jerk towards his beloved sister. There was also Jai Ruoxi standing to the side. Yi Ziu didn't see Jai Ruoxi during the Battle of Yunshan Sect. At that time, he thought that Jai Ruoxi had abandoned him and fled alone. Now that he thinks about it, Jai Ruoxi had already fallen into Ao Yuan's clutches. Ao Yuan, die! Yi Ziu roared as he charged towards Ao Yuan. Dragon God's Claw. Boom! In an instant, Yi Ziu was embedded in the ground, his bones shattered. Brother Yi Ziu. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Chapter 156, Yi Ziu is crippled again. Cough, cough. Yi Ziu was seriously injured. His face was as pale as paper, and every breath seemed extremely difficult. At this moment, Yi Ziu was breathing heavily, coughing violently, as if he would run out of breath at any moment. Brother Yi Ziu, are you all right? Yi Zinner was extremely anxious. She staggered and almost crawled to Yi Ziu's side. Seeing her brother covered in blood and on the verge of death, Yi Zinner felt as if her heart had been stabbed by a knife, and tears welled up uncontrollably in her eyes. She reached out her trembling hand and gently stroked Yi Ziu's blood-soaked cheek, her voice choked with sobs. Brother Yi Ziu, you shouldn't scare me. No, I'm fine. Yi Ziu forced a bitter smile. Yi Ziu never expected that Ao Yuan would have a way to circumvent the restrictions of the secret realm. If Ao Yuan hadn't activated his secret technique in time, he would probably be dead by now if Ao Yuan hadn't struck him with that claw. Brother Yi Ziu, please don't say anything, okay? You're so badly injured. Yi Zinner cried, tears streaming down her face. Jai Ruoxi, standing in the distance, kept her head down, unable to look directly at the dying Yi Ziu. Her heart was filled with guilt and inexplicable emotions. Jai Ruoxi didn't understand why she felt a strange sadness. Yi Ziu was just an ordinary person from the lower realm, and a person with a universally acknowledged useless body. The Buddhist disciple stared at Ao Yuan in shock, a hint of retreat flashing in his eyes. Peak of the Tao severing realm? How is this possible? The Dragon Clan, a dominant race of heaven and earth, is known throughout the 5 regions and 4 seas for its slow cultivation. How could this Prince Ao Yuan, who has only been around for a little over 1,000 years, have cultivated to the peak of the Tao-slaying realm? The attack just now contained a holy aura, which is clearly a sign of entering sainthood. There are many special methods in the 5 regions and 4 seas for rapidly improving one's cultivation level. but the successors of major powers simply do not use those methods. Zinner, don't cry. I just suffered a minor injury. It's nothing serious, Yi Ziu said apologetically to comfort her. However, Yi Zin was not comforted by his words, and tears continued to flow. Just then, a figure suddenly appeared in front of them. Is that so? Ao Yuan's cold voice rang out, and he instantly teleported to Yi Ziu's side. Ao Yuan's eyes were filled with majesty and coldness, sending chills down one's spine. Upon seeing Ao Yuan, Yi Zinner immediately knelt down and pleaded in a trembling voice. Your Highness, please spare brother Yi Ziu. Her tears fell to the ground, splashing up in tiny droplets. Her eyes were filled with helplessness and sorrow, as if the whole world had lost its color. Your Highness, please spare brother Yi Ziu this time. As long as you spare brother Yi Ziu, Zinner is willing to do anything. Yi Zinner pleaded again, willing to pay any price to protect Yi Ziu. Zinner, don't beg him, don't beg this bastard. Yi Ziu glared angrily, his eyes bloodshot, his raging anger meeting Ao Yuan's gaze with neither arrogance nor servility. Yi Ziu's blood and qi surged wildly, and his shattered bones and meridians were rapidly recovering at an astonishing speed. Ao Yuan didn't waste any words, but walked past Yi Zinner and headed towards Yi Ziu. Snap! With a crisp sound, Yi Ziu's dantian shattered instantly. Yi Ziu's blood and energy stagnated, and the speed of cell repair rapidly declined and came to a standstill. Brother Yi Ziu! Yi Zinner's face turned pale instantly, tears welled up in her eyes, and she cried out in a broken voice. She couldn't believe what was happening before her eyes, and her heart ached so much that she couldn't breathe. Sanzeng could no longer contain his anger. He stepped forward, glared at Ao Yuan, and roared indignantly, Imperial Prince Ao Yuan, you've gone too far by crippling my cultivation. Sanzeng, being a Buddhist monk, had an innate aversion to non-Buddhist races like Ao Yuan. Now, seeing Ao Yuan cripple his friend, his anger erupted like a volcano. He clenched his fists tightly, exuding a powerful aura as if he were about to strike at any moment. You want to be my enemy? Ao Yuan looked at the Buddhist monk Sanzeng with great interest. The next second, a giant dragon claw attacked the Buddha's disciple. 12-foot golden body. Sanzeng immediately activated his full defense. Boom! In just a moment, the giant dragon claw shattered the golden body of the great master Sanzeng. Ding, host has successfully killed a world-level prodigy, gaining 500,000 villain points. The villain value has finally arrived, Ao Yuan thought with delight. The system categorizes different prodigies, and killing or defeating them will earn corresponding villain points. The most kills followed by defeats. The levels of prodigies who can obtain villain points are divided into 3 levels from low to high. Level 3, Level 2, Level 1, Realm level, Domain level, and Realm Domain level. Besides talent, the villain points gained are also related to the cultivation level of the targets killed. The higher the cultivation level, the more villain points are gained. Conversely, if one's cultivation level is low, even with exceptional talent, the villain points one can obtain will be reduced. After all, only those who grow up to be true geniuses are geniuses. Those who falter along the way are merely extras. System, why does a world-level genius like Sanzeng only have 500,000 villain points? Ding, the Buddhist monk Sanzeng was previously defeated by Yi Ziu, the chosen one of destiny, and became one of Yi Ziu's stepping stones. Most of his destiny value was absorbed by Yi Ziu. Can Yi Ziu absorb luck points? Beep, this is a unique ability of the chosen one. As long as they are not completely killed, they will grow stronger and stronger. Ao Yuan nodded, placing the utmost importance on Yi Ziu in his heart. If one's luck can increase, then one cannot let Yi Ziu out of one's sight. In the end, one should arrange a reasonable path of opportunity for Yi Ziu to confuse his luck aura. Ao Yuan, Yi Ziu stared intently at Ao Yuan. This is the second time he has been crippled, all because of Ao Yuan. Compared to Yi Zinner's experience, Yi Ziu was even angrier that Ao Yuan had crippled his cultivation twice. Your Highness, please spare brother Yi Ziu. Yi Zinner scrambled towards Ao Yuan, clinging tightly to his leg as if grasping at the last straw. Your Highness, now that brother Yi Ziu's dantian has been destroyed by you, he has lost all ability to resist. I beg you, for the sake of my 3 years of service to you, please have mercy on brother Yi Ziu this time. Yi Zinner was in tears, her voice trembling, filled with deep pleading. For the past 3 years, Yi Zinner has spared no effort and abandoned her dignity to serve Ao Yuan wholeheartedly in order to get Yun Palace to drop the arrest warrant for Yi Ziu. He was finally about to make it through, but then Yi Ziu saw him, got angry, and offended Ao Yuan. Yi Zinner was helpless, but Yi Ziu was, after all, her brother who had taken care of her for more than 10 years. Who else could save Yi Ziu besides her? Zinner, don't beg him. I won't allow you to beg him. Yi Ziu roared, his eyes bloodshot with rage. Although Yi Zinner is not his sister, he inherited the memories of the original Yi Ziu and had long since regarded this little girl Yi Zinner as his sister. Seeing Yi Zinner being humiliated by Ao Yuan because of him, and remembering how Zinner took care of him when he was first reborn 3 years ago, and the grievances she has suffered over the years, Yi Ziu felt as if his heart was being torn apart, and an inexplicable anger filled his entire body. There are both original Yi Zius and his own. Oh, spare him, it's not impossible, but... Ao Yuan smiled with interest. Upon hearing this, Yi Zinner's hope was rekindled, and she quickly kowtowed in gratitude. Thank you, Your Highness. Thank you, Your Highness. Zinner is willing to do anything. As long as the Emperor Prince can spare brother Yi Ziu's life, Zinner is willing to do anything, no matter what the request is. Yi Zinner is willing to pay any price to save Yi Ziu. She is willing to do anything to keep her brother Yi Ziu alive. Zinner, no, don't agree to him, don't agree to him, Yi Ziu cried out inconsolably. Unfortunately, Yi Zinner did not listen, because she had to save her brother Yi Ziu. Ding, the host empress has killed Yi Ziu's ancestor, Chloroplast, thus ruining the greatest opportunity for the chosen one, Yi Ziu, to descend to the mortal realm. Yi Ziu's luck value has plummeted by 800,000, and the host has gained 8 million villain points. Ding, the host has instantly killed Yi Ziu, the chosen one, and personally crippled his cultivation once again. Yi Ziu is deeply affected, and his mentality is slightly broken. Yi Ziu's luck value drops by 100,000. The host has gained 1 million villain points. Ding, the host has killed Sanzeng, Yi Ziu's #1 follower, and one of Yi Ziu's most important early-game allies. Yi Ziu's luck value has been reduced by 10,000, and the host has gained 100,000 villain points. Ding, Yi Ziu, the chosen one, has learned that his sister Yi Zinner has been humiliated because of him, causing him to suffer a mental breakdown and a severe blow to his spirit. Yi Ziu's luck value has plummeted by 600,000, and the host has gained 6 million villain points. Ding, Yi Ziu, the chosen one, learns that his savior Jai Ruoxi has been defiled by the host and feels guilty about her fate. Yi Ziu loses one of the greatest opportunities in his life, the yin essence of the Taiyin body. Yi Ziu's luck value drops by 100,000, and the host gains 1 million villain points. A series of system announcements rang out, revealing that Ao Yuan had gained a total of 28,200,000 villain points, but this was still a drop in the bucket compared to the debt he owed. Chapter 157, Yi Ziu, the Silent One. One day later, in the palace dungeon, in the bright and clean cell, a lonely figure sat forlornly on the floor. This person was none other than Yi Ziu. At this moment, Yi Ziu seemed to have lost all his vitality, his head hanging low. However, within his body, an extremely faint spiritual energy was quietly gathering. Although this spiritual energy is insignificant, it contains boundless hope and power. It flowed slowly through Yi Ziu's meridians, repairing his damaged meridians little by little. 3 days ago, Yi Ziu was defeated by Ao Yuan in one move, and was then brought to this place. The jailer changed Yi Ziu into new clothes, and even performed a sterilization operation on him. Yi Ziu had tried to resist, but ultimately failed, and could only watch helplessly as his second brother was destroyed by those despicable ants. Yi Ziu, long time no see. How does it feel to be here? Suddenly, a familiar voice broke the silence of the cell. Yi Ziu slowly raised his head, and the person in front of him was none other than his most hated enemy, Ao Yuan. Yi Ziu stared at Ao Yuan with murderous intent, wishing he could drink his blood and eat his flesh. Ao Yuan tossed out a specially made recording stone, saying, "Take a good look, there's something you want to see inside." Yi Ziu glanced at Ao Yuan with murderous intent, then slowly picked up the recording stone that had fallen to his feet, a strong sense of unease rising in his heart. After glancing at the recording stone in his hand, Yi Ziu ultimately decided to watch its contents. Unable to display his spiritual power, Yi Ziu chose to observe it externally. The scene that appeared was of several familiar figures, all of whom were women from the Yi family. The scene was somewhat indecent, but Yi Ziu didn't care. He wasn't the real Yi Ziu, so he didn't have much affection for these Yi family members. The things these people had done couldn't affect him at all. Time passed slowly, and Yi Ziu calmly finished watching the video, saying indifferently, "Ao Yuan, is this the only trick you can pull?" Ao Yuan looked at Yi Ziu with a half-smile. "Yi Ziu, no. You're not the original Yiziu, so you're indifferent to their fate, right? Upon hearing this, Yiziu felt a tightness in his chest, a sense of unease settling in his heart. He hadn't expected that Ao Yuan would see through his identity so easily, which made him feel somewhat flustered. Ao Yuan continued, Yiziu, stop pretending, you think I don't know. Yiziu forced himself to remain calm and retorted, Ao Yuan, what Yiziu? I am who I am. Do you think you can fool me with this kind of trick? Yiziu's expression remained unchanged, his eyes showing no sign of shock or panic, as if it were the real Yiziu. It must be said that the Emperor's acting skills and emotional control are truly remarkable. Yiziu, do you really think I would target someone from the lower realm repeatedly? Ao Yuan looked at Yiziu with a half-smile. Also, don't you really think the woman in the last video looks familiar? Familiar, Yiziu quickly tried to recall. Suddenly, a strong sense of resentment rose within Yiziu, and this resentment was directed at him. Ding, Yiziu is being rejected by the original Yiziu's obsession. His physical compatibility has decreased by 5%. Yiziu's luck value has plummeted by 1 million, and the host has gained 1 million villain points. Yiziu, no, I shouldn't call you Yiziu. You've possessed someone else's body, so what should I call you? Ao Yuan hesitated, then stopped. Yiziu was on tenterhooks, afraid that Ao Yuan would reveal his true identity the next second, the Great Emperor of 10,000 Fires. Although the Great Emperor is powerful, there is more than one Great Emperor in the 5 heavens and 4 domains. If his identity were to become known, those emperors who are usually elusive would definitely bring their imperial weapons to attack him, especially those 2 scoundrels, Shang Yuanqingyi and Feng Tianyu, who betrayed him back then. Back then, in order to help those 2 reach the Great Emperor level, he slaughtered all the quasi-emperors of various tribes in Jiangzhou, so that his brother Feng Tianyu and his beloved Shang Yuanqingyi could ascend to the Great Emperor level together. Unexpectedly, those 2 bastards secretly conspired to ambush him during his trip to the Forbidden Land, causing him to die with resentment. If his true identity were exposed, I dare not say what would happen in other realms, but the number of emperors in the Central Plains who would kill him would definitely not be less than 10. I don't know what you're talking about. Yiziu was determined to deny it to the death. Yiziu thought to himself, he was the great emperor of Jiangzhou, but now he was in the distant eastern land, eastern wilderness, far away from Jiangzhou. Even if Ao Yuan guessed that he was not the original Yiziu, he would never be able to guess his true identity. Even if we assume that the Dragon Emperor truly deduced that he was an emperor, then the one who would come to deal with him would be a true emperor-level being, not this mere junior. Thinking about this, Yiziu's heart gradually calmed down. Don't you know what I'm talking about? 3 years ago when I destroyed your Danshan, how did you escape from the dungeon? And how did you repair your Danshan? Ao Yuan stared at Yiziu with a cold gaze, his eyes flashing with icy light, as if he wanted to see right through Yiziu. Yiziu remained calm. I don't know what you're talking about. No matter what you say, I am the real Yiziu. Ao Yuan sneered and casually said, or is it that you have some powerful remnant soul on you? That's why you were able to escape successfully and quickly recover your strength. Yiziu still didn't reveal the slightest flaw. He coldly replied, think whatever you want, I am Yiziu. Ao Yuan stared intently at Yiziu, trying to find a clue in his expression. But Yiziu maintained a calm demeanor, making it impossible for Ao Yuan to discern anything unusual. Rebirth such a huge secret, how could he tell anyone, let alone an enemy? Yiziu, to tell you the truth, I've placed a restriction on this dungeon space. Your previous method won't get you out, Ao Yuan suddenly said, his tone tinged with smugness. Yiziu was shocked. He hadn't expected that Ao Yuan had known about his actions in the dungeon all along, and had even set up a restriction to prevent him from escaping. However, he did not panic. Instead, he calmly considered how to deal with the situation. Every restriction has a weak point. Once we find that weak point, it will be easy for him, the great emperor, to escape. As the saying goes, heaven never closes off all paths. How could Yiziu, a great emperor, be laughed at by a junior? To become an emperor, one must possess an invincible Taoist heart. Without the ambition to sweep across the world, how can one become an emperor? Seeing that Yiziu still acted as if he was immune to all consequences, Ao Yuan didn't say anything more. He had already gotten what he wanted. The cell was indeed surrounded by spatial restrictions, but Ao Yuan deliberately left a gap for Yiziu, which connected to a well-designed, dilapidated secret realm. Everything is interconnected. I hope Yiziu will like it. In the shadows, Yizinner painfully shed 2 lines of tears. The person in the dungeon wasn't Yiziu, nor was he her brother Yiziu. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Symbol 335, Chapter 158, Wilderness Survival. Several more days passed, and during these days, no one visited the dungeon anymore. Yiziu was so hungry that he lay on the ground. Damn it, I can't wait any longer. If I don't leave now, I'll probably starve to death in this tiny place. Yiziu thought bitterly. For several days in a row, he didn't even get to eat a fly or a mosquito, nor did he get to drink a drop of water. If he still had his cultivation, that would be fine, but the key is that he has no cultivation left at all, and his sacred body is on the verge of collapse. If he doesn't eat soon, he will break all records and become the first emperor in history to starve to death. Very well, let me see where the flaw in that restriction is. Yiziu sighed, a resolute glint in his eyes. Then Yiziu slowly closed his eyes, released his powerful spiritual sense, and began to carefully examine the surrounding spatial restrictions. Having been a great emperor in one lifetime, and having undergone 2 rebirths in this life, Yiziu's spiritual awareness far surpasses that of cultivators at the same level. Coupled with his experience as a great emperor in his previous life, Yiziu is extremely confident in his ability to create restrictions. Time passed second by second, and finally, Yiziu discovered an extremely hidden and stable loophole in the restriction. Ha, it's true that there's always a way out. I never expected that these restrictions, colliding with each other, would coincidentally create a stable loophole. Yiziu couldn't help but laugh, his heart filled with joy and hope. Aoyuan, it seems that fate is still on my side. Yiziu muttered to himself, his eyes shining with determination. Despite being in dire straits, he showed no fear or hesitation. Instead, he became even more determined in his beliefs. Aoyuan, I Yiziu hereby swear, no matter where you go, from the highest heavens to the deepest hell, I will kill you in this lifetime. Yiziu looked up at the sky and roared in his heart. Zinner, Ryuoxi, father, and all the members of the Yi family, I will definitely come back to save you. Yiziu silently vowed in his heart. As he made the promise, Yiziu felt the resentment deep within him lighten, as if it had vanished into thin air. However, Yiziu knew very well that the original owner's resentment had not disappeared, but was hidden deep within this body. To resolve it, he had to fulfill the vow he had just made. Otherwise, this body could not become an emperor. This is the drawback of the soul and body being mutually exclusive, which is mysteriously connected with cause and effect, and is extremely difficult to resolve. Therefore, throughout history, there has never been a great emperor who possessed another person's body. A resolute look appeared in Yiziu's eyes. He slowly raised his hands, which were as dry as tree bark, his fingers trembling slightly, and began to form hand seals in the void. Each hand gesture appeared laborious and difficult, but he persisted, muttering incantations in a low, hoarse voice, as if a call from the underworld. As he chanted the incantation, the surrounding air seemed to become heavy, and a mysterious power surged within him. His body was gradually enveloped in a faint light, which contained endless mysterious runes that shimmered with an eerie glow, as if telling ancient secrets. Yiziu's expression grew increasingly serious, and the hairs on his forehead stood on end, but not a single bead of sweat appeared. Yiziu closed his eyes and focused intently on performing this secret technique. At that moment, time seemed to freeze. The whole world fell silent, and only his incantation echoed in the air. Immediately afterward, a bluish-red light shone from Yiziu's body. The light grew stronger and stronger, then flickered wildly. The next second, whoosh. Yiziu's figure vanished instantly, leaving the dungeon empty. The remaining stains on the ground proved that something had once been there, but it was gone. At the same time, Wang-Cheng smiled. Yiziu has taken the bait. Just as her husband had said, this human named Yiziu still had a trump card up his sleeve. 2.5 days later, Yiziu's consciousness began to gradually return. He tried hard to open his eyelids, which felt as heavy as if they were being pressed down by lead. After a series of difficult attempts, his eyes finally trembled slightly and slowly opened a crack. Where is this? Yiziu's vision was blurred. There seemed to be light around him, but it was extremely faint, as if it would go out at any moment. Yiziu tried to concentrate and see his surroundings clearly, but his brain was like a sluggish machine, running extremely slowly. After an unknown amount of time, Yiziu gradually regained some sensation in his body. Yiziu felt his lips were a little wet, and subconsciously stuck out his tongue and licked them gently. Pooh, it's so salty. Squeak, squeak. The ordinary female monkey who was urinating was startled and fled in panic. Hearing the sound, Yi Ziu forced himself to sit up and saw the back of the mother monkey running into the jungle. Suddenly, a strong smell of urine entered Yi Ziu's nasal cavity. Yi Ziu let out a sharp roar. "You damned monkey, I'm going to kill you, kill you." Yi Ziu, in a fit of rage, barked furiously. Ding, Yi Ziu, the chosen one, has been humiliated by an ordinary female monkey. Yi Ziu's defenses have been breached. His luck value has decreased by 2,000, and the host has gained 20,000 villain points. Yi Ziu's remaining luck points, 25,846,000. 3 minutes later, Yi Ziu, whose emotions had calmed down slightly, began to look around at his surroundings. Dense forest altar. It seems I've been teleported to an extremely remote and dilapidated place. Yi Ziu couldn't help but smile wryly. Ordinary monkeys, scarce spiritual energy, what a terrible place. Yi Ziu shook his head helplessly. Such places are usually uninhabited, devoid of demonic beasts, and certainly lack any cultivation resources. Forget it, let's think of a solution first and focus on healing my injuries. Yi Ziu sighed. It's such a remote place. I believe even Ao Yuan couldn't find it, it's very safe. With no immediate fear of formidable opponents, Yi Ziu breathed a sigh of relief. Yi Ziu really has no way to deal with the ancient void dragon, who is at the peak of the Dao slaying realm. The difference in their cultivation levels is too great, and both are top-tier geniuses, so there is indeed no solution. Right now, I've lost all my cultivation, and my ancient sacred body is on the verge of collapse. I must find a way to recover as soon as possible, otherwise it will be difficult to survive here. Yi Ziu thought for a moment, but ultimately couldn't come up with a good solution. There's nothing I can do. The location is too remote, there's no spiritual energy at all, so how can I cultivate here? As for spiritual herbs, in a place devoid of even spiritual energy, even if low-grade spiritual herbs were to grow, they would be protected by powerful beasts. Moreover, he is currently severely injured and cannot defeat those beasts at all. Even if he finds them, he cannot snatch them. The only way right now is to rely on the holy body to repair itself, while also finding some usable herbs to speed up cultivation and make the most of every second. This is really tough, Yi Ziu said with a wry smile. Then he slowly got up and began searching the surroundings for food and water. Above the clouds, Ao Yuan quietly observed Yi Ziu's every move. The wilderness secret realm. This was an opportunity that Ao Yuan had specially prepared for Yi Ziu. This secret realm has almost no spiritual energy, and the few underground caves where one can cultivate are fraught with challenges and are far apart. You must proceed step by step through each level to receive the corresponding rewards. Only by passing all the tests will you obtain the location of the next level's inheritance site. Only through repeated practice can one slowly improve their cultivation level. In the final inheritance palace, Ao Yuan specially placed a mysterious grand prize for Yi Ziu, allowing him to experience starting over for free. The gaming experience is absolutely top-notch. Let's go, it's time to return to the upper realm, Ao Yuan said calmly. Go back, aren't we going to leave this person behind? Wang Cheng looked at Ao Yuan with a puzzled expression. Ao Yuan smiled slightly and explained in a calm tone. Don't worry, I have my own way of finding out this person's location and cultivation level, so there's no need to keep an eye on him all the time. Wang Cheng nodded, knowing that Ao Yuan had a way to find out the other party's location, and did not ask any further questions. Let's go, my beloved concubine. I have a vague feeling that I'm about to break through. Let's return to the clan as soon as possible. Okay, hearing Ao Yuan say there were signs of a breakthrough, Wang Cheng stopped worrying about Yi Ziu. Compared to Yi Ziu, her own husband's breakthrough was more important. Entering sainthood is one of the most important events on the path of cultivation, as it concerns future cultivation in the realm of sainthood and cannot be taken lightly. If Ao Yuan successfully enters the saint realm, his stamina will be more enduring, and she will be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort in cultivation. A win-win situation. After arranging Yi Ziu's cultivation process, Ao Yuan, along with Yi Zinner and Jai Ruoxi, two perfect cultivation vessels, returned to the upper realm with the two dragons and two people. Before leaving, Ao Yuan did not forget to leave behind a trace of power to carry out the hunt for prodigies. Ao Yuan hadn't forgotten about all those villains. Ding, the host's shadow power, Yi Ziu, has successfully killed the level 3 prodigy Wang Fuguier, gaining 1,000 villain points. Ding, the host's shadow power, Yi Ziu, has successfully killed Liu Mang, a level 3 prodigy, gaining 1,000 villain points. Ding, the host's shadow power, Yi Ziu, has successfully killed the level 2 prodigy Long Dandan, gaining 30,000 villain points. As the automated voice announcements began, Ao Yuan's villainous value slowly approached 0. P.S. Something came up today, so only one chapter. Chapter 159, Return to the Dragon Palace. You're back. As soon as they arrived in the East China Sea, a stunningly beautiful figure slowly appeared before them. A faint smile graced her beautiful face, and her eyes sparkled with wisdom and gentleness, as if she could see through everything. Greetings, mother. Ao Yuan quickly bowed, his face filled with reverence. Yingsheng greets the Empress Dowager. Yingsheng quickly followed suit and bowed. Her voice was clear and melodious, as pleasant as a nightingale singing in a valley. Empress Yin Yue nodded slightly and looked at Wang Cheng with a smile. Come, Wang Cheng, come to your mother's side and tell her about your trip to the mortal realm. Hearing her mother's call, Wang Cheng ran happily towards Yin Yue, her face beaming with excitement and joy. She held Yin Yue's hand tightly and began to softly recount the interesting things that happened between her and Ao Yuan in the mortal realm. However, Wang Shang's version was edited and beautified. Ao Yuan stood quietly to the side, listening as Wang Cheng helped him deceive his mother. In the distance, Jai Ruoxi lowered her head dejectedly. When she was in the Jai family, she had seen a portrait of Ao Yuan's mother. Ao Yuan's mother was a queen of the Silver Dragon lineage, a powerful being in the mid-stage of the Great Emperor realm, and almost everyone in the entire eastern wilderness knew about her. Seeing the scene before her, Jai Ruoxi felt a surge of inexplicable sadness. She was, after all, the Dragon Clan's publicly acknowledged fiancée. Unexpectedly, Empress Tianheng ignored her fiancé and instead chatted and laughed with a maid. How could they treat themselves like that? Jai Ruoxi felt incredibly disappointed. Yi Zinner, standing to the side, looked around nervously and excitedly. The upper realm, is this the upper realm? So this is the imperial prince's family, truly powerful. Thinking this, Yi Zinner felt a pang of disappointment. However, Yi Zinner's disappointment was no longer because of Yi Ziu, but because of herself. Ever since she learned that her real brother Yi Ziu had been possessed and harmed by a villain, Yi Zinner's attitude towards Yi Ziu completely changed. Yi Zinner hated Yi Ziu as much as she had treated him before. She wished she could immediately grind the murderer who killed her brother Yi Ziu to dust. Unfortunately, her cultivation level was low, and she had absolutely no foundation in cultivation. If it weren't for the Emperor's son giving her pills, she would still be stuck in the blood transformation realm. If she wanted revenge, she could only rely on Ao Yuan, and she could only rely on Ao Yuan. After figuring things out, Yi Zinner no longer hated Ao Yuan as much as she had at first. Although Ao Yuan wasn't a good person either, he could help her get revenge, and just for that reason, Yi Zinner's opinion of him changed a lot. While Yin Yue was chatting with her favorite and most satisfied daughter-in-law Wang Cheng, Dai Nian was carefully observing Jai Ruoxi and Yi Zinner not far away. Yin Yue witnessed every detail of Jai Ruoxi's emotional changes, from disappointment and resentment to anger, and then to indignation. As for the unfamiliar little girl next to her, Yin Yue saw two conflicting emotions oscillating back and forth. Yin Yue continued her investigation, and suddenly her expression changed slightly. Yin Yue discovered that there was something strange about the depths of this woman named Yi Zinner's soul, and she was unable to see through it. This discovery stirred a sense of vigilance in Yin Yue's heart. Yuaner, where did you meet this little girl? Yin Yue asked gently. Her gaze remained fixed on Yi Zinner. Wang Cheng quickly explained with a smile. Mother, you're talking about Yi Zinner, right? She's a woman from the lower realm. My husband thought she was quite good, so he took her in as his personal maid. Was it a chance encounter? Yin Yue wondered to herself. She didn't think about the question too much, but suddenly her expression changed and she became serious. Yuaner Changer, you two should go back and rest first, Yin Yue said lovingly to the two children. As for you, come with me. Yin Yue pointed at Yi Zinner, her voice carrying a hint of authority. After saying that, she waved to Yi Zinner, and a powerful suction force instantly pulled Yi Zinner to her side. Yi Zinner felt a wave of dizziness, and her body was involuntarily drawn towards it. Your Highness, Yi Zinner looked nervously at Ao Yuan. It's all right, Zinner, you go with my mother? Ao Yuan casually comforted her, pretending not to know anything. Hearing Ao Yuan's words, Yi Zinner's tense heart gradually relaxed. However, she had a bad feeling about it. After the Empress left, Wang Cheng teleported to Ao Yuan's side. Their fingers intertwined, and they exchanged a glance. Come on, let's go to my place. Wang Cheng's beautiful eyes were full of laughter. Ao Yuan nodded. Even after being born for so long, he still didn't know where Wang Cheng lived. Compared to his cold and simple palace, Wang Chang's palace must be much better decorated. The two dragons flew towards the heart of the dragon palace with their fingers intertwined. Jai Ryuoxi followed behind the two dragons with her head down, as if she were an eyesore as a maid. The Emperor's son. Hello, Sister Yingsheng. The Emperor's son. Greetings, Lady Yingsheng. Greetings, Your Highness. Along the way, all the dragons they encountered looked astonished and greeted them. Ao Yuan and Wang Chang also politely responded to the dragons. Before long, they arrived at Yingsheng's independent palace, Jingxiu Palace. The palace was magnificent, resplendent in gold and exquisitely beautiful, not much inferior to Ao Yuan's bedroom. Master, Baijin the White Snake excitedly greeted Wang Chang and bowed. Miss Prince, a beautiful female dragon also stepped forward and greeted the two. She is Yingsheng's personal servant and also the steward of Jingxiu Palace, and is extremely loyal to Yingsheng. Wang Chang nodded slightly and said indifferently, "Go prepare some spiritual food." His tone exuded a sense of authority and elegance that captivated everyone. "Yes, miss," the personal dragon servant replied respectfully, quickly bowing to Wang Chang and Ao Yuan before retreating to prepare the necessary spiritual food. Since it was still early, Yingsheng suggested going for a walk in the garden. Ao Yuan did not object, and the two dragons passed through the magnificent corridor and arrived at a tranquil and beautiful garden. In the back garden, all sorts of exotic and rare natural treasures compete for beauty, emitting a captivating fragrance. Colorful butterflies fluttered among the flowers, as if performing a wonderful dance for the two distinguished guests. Wang Chang and Ao Yuan strolled along the flower-lined path, enjoying the picturesque scenery and feeling exceptionally happy. They walked and talked about topics that interested them. Jai Ryuoxi, the furnace cauldron, was taken elsewhere by Baijin, and no one disturbed her. Meanwhile, at the shore of Dragon Emperor Lake, a group of emperors were summoned by Yin Yue. "Tianheng, what happened?" a great emperor asked telepathically. "Is it that suicidal lineage that's declared war again?" Another emperor, his blood surging, asked sternly. "Is that brat Ao Gu itching for a beating again? Let this old man loosen his muscles." "No, no one provoked us," Yin Yue replied telepathically. "Little Yu, why are you looking for us if nothing's wrong? I thought you'd been bullied," an ancient dragon emperor said dejectedly. "Great-grandpa, how could I dare to bully Yu? It's more like she's bullying me." Ao Gu was on the verge of tears. His cultivation level was one rank lower than Yin Yue's. How could he dare to rebel against the heavenly gang? "All right, quiet down. Stop talking nonsense and let Yin Yue speak." A supremely authoritative voice silenced the dragons. When the supreme ancient ancestor spoke, all the great emperors immediately shut their dragon mouths and waited for Tianheng to speak. Yin Yue bowed slightly to the ancient ancestor, and then placed the sleeping Yi Zinner in front of the emperors. "Ancestor, this woman was encountered by Yuaner in the lower realm. I found her soul to be somewhat strange, so I brought her here for you to enlighten me." "Oh, you can't see through it," the ancient ancestor sighed softly. Immediately, a tremendous imperial aura surged forth, a powerful imperial aura that spanned heaven and earth, flooding into Yi Zinner's sea of consciousness. The next second, a terrifying netherworld will erupted from the depths of Yi Zinner's soul. The moment the netherworld will appeared, she was dumbfounded. Dozens of great emperors, including late-stage great emperor experts, and even one peerless invincible being who made her emperor soul tremble. In an instant, the Nine Nether Emperor was suppressed on the spot. The Nine Netherworld Emperor stared intently at the imposing figure that suppressed her. Her imperial aura instantly sealed away. She was helpless. She hated it. His primordial yin was destroyed. His final incarnation was a failure. His great Emperor Dao fruit was stolen. "It's all about timing and fate. Send it to Zyro Yuan." The ancient ancestor's voice rang out. The great Emperor's Dao fruit, which was infinitely close to the pinnacle, was useless to him, but greatly helped Ao Yuan's cultivation. "Yes, ancestor," Ao Gu quickly bowed in gratitude. He was honestly quite interested in the Dao fruit that was infinitely close to that of a supreme emperor, and giving it to his son Ao Yuan was clearly the best way to maximize his benefits. The other emperors did not object. They all believed in the ancient ancestor's decision. Helping Ao Yuan obtain the opportunity to become an immortal was the greatest goal of the entire clan. "Jiang, go and guide Xiao Ouyuan in his cultivation," the ancient ancestor continued, issuing his decree. "Yes, ancestor," Zhu Wang replied hastily. Chapter 160, Entering Sainthood. After a series of events, Ao Yuan finally remembered the important matter of attaining sainthood. The so-called entering the realm of sainthood refers to the process by which cultivators who have reached the perfection of the Tao severing stage sever the path of mortals, elevate their own Tao principles, and enter the realm of saints. This special realm is called half-saint, meaning that one has transcended the boundaries of mortals but has not yet fully become a true saint. This process is extremely difficult. 99% of cultivators in the 5 regions and 4 seas may not be able to break through this barrier and successfully enter sainthood in their entire lives. Therefore, sages are also the mainstays of the major forces in the 5 heavenly domains and 4 heavenly seas. It is also a force that cannot be ignored in the upper realm. Thinking about the records about entering sainthood, Ao Yuan arrived at the entrance to the Sea of Sainthood. The Sea of Sainthood is a special secret realm opened up by the Dragon Clan specifically for their descendants. It is full of mysteries and contains endless holy energy, which can help young Dragon Clan members at the peak of the Tao slaying stage to perfectly enter sainthood. Moreover, it can greatly increase the success rate of entering